Chapter 961 Unprecedented Contest. Ha ha ha, I finally succeeded. Coming out of the underground cave, Fang Yuan's face was filled with joy. During this period, he had exerted all of his effort into deducing this immortal killer move. He had finally obtained some results today. This new killer move used Eat Strength Immortal GU, Pulling Mountain Immortal GU and Pulling Water Immortal GU as the cores. With 330,000 supplementary Mortal GU, he formed an extravagant combination that would stun another person. To activate this killer move, Fang Yuan had to focus wholeheartedly for 2 hours, activating this set of GU worms. Then, going through 3 days and nights without rest, he could gradually transform his living body into an immortal zombie body, or transform his immortal zombie body into a living body. Even though it was not as convenient as Nirvana Fire, Fang Yuan had reached his limits by getting such progress. Fang Yuan was very satisfied with this result. After all, Fang Yuan only had so many Strength Path Immortal GU. He could use all of them here thanks to the Light of Wisdom. Of course, it was because he had Nirvana Fire as the blueprint. If he did not have Nirvana Fire, or the set of GU worms to research that were lent by Blazing Heaven Demoness, Fang Yuan would not have been able to obtain a Strength Path version in such a short time. Also, Fang Yuan had Wisdom Path Grand Master attainment level. Because of all these reasons, a minor miracle was created. Next, I have to use those Strength Path Immortal Zombies and exert Strength GU to form my high-grade Life and Death Blessed Land, to revive. Fang Yuan sighed internally. After searching for so long, he had finally reached this stage. As for Luopo Valley, Tai Bai Yunsheng had repaired it not long ago. Fang Yuan gave it a try, cultivating inside Luopo Valley. It was indeed the sole cultivation sacred land that was on par with Danghun Mountain. Paired with Danghun Mountain's Guts GU, Fang Yuan's soul cultivation was advancing by leaps and bounds. But now, Fang Yuan knew that the most important thing was to revive. His soul cultivation could be placed aside now, he did not need to engage in it. Fang Yuan could almost not hold in his urge. But just as he was about to start, he received Blazing Heaven Demoness letter. The contents caused his revival plan to pause. Rank 8 Great Strength True Martial Immortal Zombie. When Fang Yuan saw this line, his heart pounded. The information that Blazing Heaven Demoness gave him was regarding the nameless mountain in southern border. This matter was too big now, it concerned an immortal GU house, it had spread throughout the entirety of Southern Border's GU immortal world. In Southern Border, there was a Zombie Alliance branch as well. Thus, as the leader of the Northern Plains Zombie Alliance branch, Blazing Heaven Demoness quickly got hold of the news. Blazing Heaven Demoness has great ambitions, she knows that I have fixed immortal travel, thus she observed the events over all 5 regions. As a higher-up of Zombie Alliance, she could collect information more easily than Fairy Li Shan. Fang Yuan felt his weakness in intelligence gathering once again. In his previous life, he had an organization and network, his developed blood path GU worm techniques could replace the use of most information path methods. But in this life, Fang Yuan used his previous life's memories together with intelligence mainly from people like Fairy Li Shan and Langya Land Spirit. As more and more unexpected surprises occurred, Fang Yuan was starting to feel that his previous life's memories were beginning to become unreliable. The truth of history was often hidden in deep fog. What Fang Yuan saw in his previous life was only what had been exposed and was seemingly true on the surface. Even for matters that he had experienced personally, they might not have been as simple as he thought. The reasons for the occurrence of many events were complicated. In my previous life, I had a tough time, I slowly climbed up from the bottom, my network and resources were accumulated slowly, thus I had no obvious weaknesses. But after rebirth, I have obtained opportunities one after another, my strength rose rapidly, or rather, explosively. Thus, in many aspects, I could not keep up. It seems that I have to use more information path methods to collect intelligence. For the time being, I can rely on outsiders like Blazing Heaven Demoness, but in the long run, I need to rely on myself. Fang Yuan contemplated. Lack of information meant losing many opportunities. Like just now, Fang Yuan did not know the situation, he was kept in the dark, he almost missed this fortuitous encounter completely. 3 days later, Fang Yuan went alone to southern border, approaching the nameless mountain. Blazing Heaven Demoness was still in Dark Flow Giant City, she had told Fang Yuan in the letter that she was busy refining GU and setting up the immortal GU formation, she could not leave. But when necessary, she would come to take action. As for He Lulan and Fairy Li Shan, they were in Northern Plains, using Luopo Valley to cultivate their souls and increase their foundation. They had an intense interest towards the Immortal GU house, but their northern plains aura made it difficult for them to roam southern border. Fang Yuan came here to obtain intelligence. Even though he had become a GU Immortal in northern plains, he had the concealment of vaguely familiar face, ordinary GU Immortals could not expose him. On the nameless mountain, once in a while, phantom images would reappear. Bai Ningbing was nowhere to be found. Fang Yuan watched it 3 times over and pondered over it before moving, getting close to the nameless mountain. As expected, like what Blazing Heaven Demoness said in the letter, this place was a forbidden zone for immortals. The deeper Fang Yuan went, the more he felt his limbs going weak. He felt that his immortal aperture was being pressured by a formless force. Fang Yuan had to stop in his tracks. He knew that if this continued, his immortal aperture would be destroyed before he took 50 or 60 steps. That would not do. He had to use his strength path immortal aperture to create the life and death immortal aperture. Fang Yuan had to retreat. At this time, he heard a tender laughter from behind him. Fang Yuan's pupils shrunk. He immediately turned around. Only to see a beautiful woman, dressed in pink and red. Her hair was tied up and her skin was white like snow. Her eyes were alluring and watery. She was standing nearby, looking at Fang Yuan. Fang Yuan did not dare to be careless. This woman was oozing with GU Immortal aura. She was a rank 6 GU Immortal. Seeing Fang Yuan's gaze, this beautiful woman introduced herself. I am Li Meihua, people call me Granny Meihua. Handsome lad, you look very unfamiliar, where do you cultivate? Fang Yuan smiled. He thought, so she is Granny Meihua. Even though Fang Yuan had never seen Granny Meihua personally, he had seen her granddaughter, that demonic path female GU master, Hu Mei'er. To care for beauty was natural for women. There was no relation between the age and appearance of GU Immortals. Right now, Fang Yuan wore a green robe and his sleeves were large and wide. The wind blew and his robe fluttered, moving like a war banner. In Fang Yuan's disguise, he had a rank 6 GU Immortal aura. He was tall and skinny, having a middle-aged appearance with a tall nose bridge, slim eyes, and his pupils radiated with faint traces of jade green light. He gave off an eerie aura, as if he was not to be trifled with. Even though he was not good-looking, he had quite a disposition. Granny Meihua, I have long since heard of you. I am Sheng Ying, I am just a simple wanderer. Fang Yuan replied. Sheng Ying, Li Meihua memorized this name. She could not remember such a person in southern border. However, she did not find it strange. Hearing Fang Yuan's introduction, she knew that he was a lone cultivator. Southern border had many mountains, countless experts were in seclusion. Many lone cultivators never showed themselves, nobody knew about them. But because of the Immortal GU house, GU Immortals one after another were attracted and had come over. Fang Yuan, who was disguised as Sheng Ying, was just one of them. These last days, Li Meihua had contacted many GU Immortals similar to Fang Yuan. Fang Yuan was slightly suspicious towards Li Meihua's warm attitude in approaching him. Fang Yuan was about to ask, when Li Meihua told him the reason. Fang Yuan realized at once. Li Meihua invited Fang Yuan to travel together. After thinking about it, he agreed. He followed Li Meihua and moved out, settling down at Headless Mountain which was 1,000 li away. When Fang Yuan got there were already many demonic path or lone immortals on the mountain. Seeing Fang Yuan, many cast curious gazes, while some has grim or ruthless expressions. Because they did not know Fang Yuan's background, no GU Immortals spoke to him yet. But Granny Meihua was quite popular. The moment she returned, someone smiled. Li Meihua, you brought another one. Ha ha ha, this time, we demonic and lone cultivators have gathered to negotiate with the righteous path. Granny Meihua has made the most contribution towards it. Oh no, I am flattered, I am just doing my best to help. Li Meihua smiled as she greeted and interacted with the people around here one after another. She managed the individual relationships with great ease. Let me introduce you, this is Brother Sheng Ying, he is a lone immortal. After talking to everyone, Li Meihua introduced Fang Yuan to them. So you are Brother Sheng. Immediately, a demonic path GU immortal cupped his fists. I am Zhang Yizi. I see that Sir cultivates transformation path. Oh, my name is Lan Tian Hong, I am also a lone cultivator. Fang Yuan showed a look of being poor at socializing, barely interacting with them. After some short talks, Headless Mountain returned to being peaceful like before Fang Yuan arrived. Li Meihua did not stay on the mountain for long. She had to return to the nameless mountain and wait for more people. She pointed at a mountain before leaving, telling Fang Yuan that Pine Tail Mountain is the base camp of the righteous path GU Immortals. Even without her pointing it out, the intense Gu immortal aura on that mountain had already informed Fang Yuan. After separating from Li Meihua, Fang Yuan stayed on Headless Mountain. He did not go out often, most of his time was spent in his cave. After all, Fang Yuan was disguised now, and vaguely familiar face was not an invincible disguise. He stayed and waited for more than 10 days. During this period, Headless Mountain and Pine Tail Mountain welcomed Gu immortals from both righteous and demonic paths. Most of them were rank 6, whenever a rank 7 Gu immortal came, a commotion would be created. Eventually, even rank 8 Gu immortals arrived, a total of 4. 1 demonic path, 1 lone cultivator, and 2 of the righteous path. It formed a balance of power on both sides. The rank 8 Gu immortals did not involve themselves. Every day, the Gu immortals on both sides recommended one person each to engage in a difficult negotiation. After 7 days and nights of negotiation, they finally came to an agreement. The righteous and demonic paths, dozens of Gu immortals set an agreement together. All around the Nameless Mountain, they were engaging in a grand contest that was rare even in 1,000 years. The winner of the contest would obtain the opportunity on the Nameless Mountain. As for the other Gu immortals, they were not to attack the victor for the next 3 years. Chapter 962, Xiao Shan, Xiao Mang. At the bottom of Falling Heavenly River, immortal zombie Bo Qing's eyes moved around, looking emotionlessly at Song Zixing and Yu Mu Chun. At this moment, Song Zixing and Yu Mu Chun's hearts were jumping, they were facing immense pressure, they were drenched in sweat. Bo Qing was known as a pseudo-immortal venerable. During his time, he was publicly recognized as the strongest person under rank 9 venerables in the 5 regions. Even though he had become an immortal zombie after the tribulation and his immortal aperture was completely destroyed, he still had ample rank 8 immortal essence on him, especially his sword path Dao marks, they were not destroyed. Thus, his battle strength was terrifying. The most crucial point were the Dao marks. The higher the Gu immortals' cultivation level, the more Dao marks they had. Even if 2 people were using the same immortal Gu, the difference in Dao marks would cause different outcomes when the immortal Gu's power was amplified. Consider Qin Bai Sheng, a soul path Gu immortal who also cultivated metal path. He did not have a single sword path Dao mark on him, but when he used 5-finger fist heart sword, he could fight Feng Ju Jie on equal grounds. Right now, none of Bo Qing's immortal Gu were damaged. Together with his vast number of sword path Dao marks, he could display unimaginable might, he could almost replicate the glory that he had when he was alive. Thus, Bai Kang Shui, 7-star child, and the others had no chance to resist him. Not to mention Song Zixing and Yu Mu Chun. The higher the rank of the Gu immortal, the greater the difference. Between rank 7 and 8, the difference in Dao marks was like heaven and earth. Between rank 6 and 7, there might be those who were evenly matched occasionally. But when rank 8 fought against rank 7, it was almost always a one-sided fight. When rank 9 fought rank 8, it would be as simple as stepping on an ant. Facing immortal zombie Bo Qing, Song Zixing and Yu Mu Chun had no way to retaliate. Am I going to die today? What will we do? What will we do? The 2 of them felt their bodies going cold, countless thoughts were churning in their minds. Looking at this situation, they had almost no hope. Bo Qing raised his finger, pointing at Song Zixing. A thin sword light flashed. Song Zixing did not even try to escape, he faced death with a bitter smile. Because he knew that in front of Bo Qing, escaping was completely futile. Bo Qing pointed at Yu Mu Chun. No, I am unresigned, I cannot die. Yu Mu Chun shouted loudly. In the moment between life and death, he took out an immortal Gu. Immortal zombie Bo Qing's movements froze. His face started to show a struggling expression. Yu Mu Chun's heart was pounding loudly, he started at Bo Qing's changing face anxiously. Immortal zombie Bo Qing's expression turned from impassive to confused, he showed pain, hatred, and sadness, he was like a traffic light that was rapidly changing in color. Eventually, his expression turned lively, there was some intelligence shining in his eyes, it was like a person with dementia suddenly recovering his senses. He looked at his hand, and looked around at the brutal bloody scene. In the end, he looked towards Yu Mu Chun, asking hesitantly, "You are?" Yu Mu Chun's body was full of cold sweat, he replied weakly like he had lost all his strength. "You are finally awake, Mo Yao, it seems that I made the right gamble. It was so close, so close." It turned out that the remnant soul inside immortal zombie Bo Qing's body was Mo Yao's remnant soul. Yu Mu Chun's immortal Gu awakened Mo Yao's remnant soul, it caused the heaven's will which was inside the immortal zombie's mind to be pushed out. Without the manipulation of heaven's will, immortal zombie Bo Qing stopped attacking. Yu Mu Chun took several deep breaths as he continued, "Remember our conversation back then, in order to revive Bo Qing. Bo Qing. Hearing her lover's name, Mo Yao's remnant soul shook. She manipulated the immortal zombie body, nodding as she interrupted Yu Mu Chun. Then what should I do now? Yu Mu Chun looked at Seven-Star Child and Song Zizing's corpses, sighing. If they were still alive, together with Yu Mu Chun, the three of them could use an immortal killer move and teleport all of the immortals to Central Continent's northeast area. Heavenly Lotus sect was in control of that area. But now that Seven-Star Child and Song Zixing were dead, Yu Mu Chun could only settle for dealing with Combat Immortal sect, giving up on attacking Heavenly Lotus sect. I hope that they can be stalled. Yu Mu Chun took a glance in Heavenly Court's direction, feeling deeply worried. Heavenly Court, Heaven Overseeing Tower. Heaven Overseeing Tower Lord's expression was dark, he was filled with anger. He looked at the image. Yu Mu Chun cooperated with Immortal Zombie Bo Qing and was going to attack one of the 10 great ancient sects of Central Continent, Combat Immortal sect. He could no longer watch idly. Even though he was a GU Immortal from Heavenly Lotus sect, Combat Immortal sect was still a sect underneath Heavenly Court. Right now, Immortal Zombie Bo Qing had awakened, Combat Immortal sect was in danger. Only Heavenly Court GU Immortals could save them. Heaven Overseeing Tower Lord flew out of Heaven Overseeing Tower, summoning Lian Zhusheng and Bai Chen Tian. An issue has occurred in Falling Heavenly River. Bai Kang Shui is dead, Bo Qing revived as an immortal zombie and is attacking Combat Immortal sect. We have to reinforce them now. The two immortals were extremely shocked. Heaven Overseeing Tower Lord's words contained information that was simply too hard to believe. Go. The two immortals were only stunned momentarily. Immediately after, they reacted and the three immortals used Heavenly Court's teleportation GU formation and appeared at Combat Immortal sect's base in a moment. Looking at the northwest direction, the sky was clear as a grand sword light flew over rapidly. A battle of rank 8s was right before their eyes. Southern border, Light Mountain. Light Mountain was more than 2.5 kilometers tall. The light path GU worms produced on the mountain were well known over the whole of southern border. This mountain had been in the control of a single force for the last 1,000 years. Shao Clan. Rumors had it that southern borders Shao Clan and western deserts Shao Clan were of the same origin. 1,000 years ago, there was an internal conflict within western deserts Shao Clan, resulting in the losing side leaving and moving to southern border. Southern borders Shao Clan was once a super force. But its final remaining GU Immortal, Shao Clan's Supreme Elder, had not appeared for the last 100 years. It caused Shao Clan to fall from a super force to a large-scale force. Shao Clan's current leader, Shao Shan, stood on a mountain slope. He looked at Shao Clan's main base partway up the mountain as he showed dejection and hatred in his eyes. A figure ran up the mountain rapidly, landing beside Shao Shan, paying respects to him. Xiao Zifeng greets Lord Clan leader. That Wu Wei, is he still causing trouble? Shao Shan asked in a low voice. Clan elder Xiao Zifeng lowered his head. Reporting to clan leader, Wu Wei is still screaming in the hall, requesting us to hand over the culprit that killed his son. The other elders are still holding the ground. Don't worry, clan leader. Xiao Shan snorted coldly. He gritted his fists. Wu Hui's son was the one with ill intentions, trying to target Xiao Kui'er. My daughter was just defending herself. This Wu Wei is actually using Wu clan to cause a ruckus in Xiao clan's discussion hall. Clan leader, all will be fine if we endure this. Wu Wei is not a problem, but Wu clan is very powerful, we cannot resist them. Xiao Zifeng quickly urged. Xiao Shan's clenched fists loosened, he sighed deeply, his face was full of fatigue and bitterness. He waved to Xiao Zifeng. Forget it, I will hide at the back of the mountain for the time being. Xiao Zifeng took his leave, vanishing into the forest below. Xiao Shan sighed at the sky again, his mind was filled with gloominess and anger, he could not calm himself. But at this moment, he suddenly heard a voice resounding in his mind. Come here, my descendant. Who is it? Xiao Shan was suspicious and uncertain. This voice spoke again. Come here, my descendant. This voice was very familiar to Xiao Shan. He followed the voice's direction, entering deep into the region at the back of the mountain, until he reached Shao Clan's forbidden area. This is Shao Clan's forbidden area. Even as the leader of Shao Clan, I have no authority to enter it. Xiao Shan stopped moving, he was very troubled. That voice rang in his mind again. My descendant, you inherited my bloodline, why are you so timid? I am Shao Clan's ancestor, a GU Immortal of Shao Clan, quickly come and receive my inheritance, the mission to strengthen our clan is yours to bear. Xiao Shan's eyes shined, his body was trembling in agitation. GU Immortal, Shao Clan's ancestor, were the rumors true? My Shao Clan has had a GU Immortal before. This voice is so familiar to me. I am a rank 5 peak stage GU master, other than GU immortals, who in this world can transmit their voices into my mind directly. But this is forbidden area in the clan. Anyone who steps into this place will be exiled from the clan, even as the leader, I am no exception. Xiao Shan thought of this and clenched his fists tightly. He was engaged in an intense internal struggle. No, I must get the ancestors' inheritance. Wu Wei has caused our Xiao clan to lose face. If Wu clan voices out their support of Wu Wei, will I be able to protect my daughter? Wu clan is so overbearing and forceful, rumors says that they have Wu clan's GU immortals backing them. If I can receive the inheritance and become a GU immortal, I will definitely be able to raise Xiao clan's reputation and change everything. Xiao Shan's face shined with determination. He hesitated no longer, he walked into the forbidden area. Under the guidance of the voice, he reached a cave, seeing an immortal GU inside the cave. Before he reacted, the immortal GU turned into a mystical light and fused into his body. This GU worm's aura is preventing me from moving at all through power alone. Is this a legendary immortal GU? Xiao Shan was surprised and joyful. But when he inspected his body, the immortal GU was nowhere to be seen. He could not find it anywhere. And at this time, the voice in his head vanished completely. Xiao Shan felt trepidation and deep suspicion as he walked out of the mountain's forbidden area. Brother, right now, Wu clan's elder is here to cause trouble, but you as the leader violated our rules and sneaked into our clan's forbidden area. You are not fit to be the clan leader. Xiao Meng suddenly appeared, bringing with him a larger number of Xiao clan elders. Xiao Shan realized the situation was turning bad. He knew that his twin brother had great ambitions, he had been coveting his position as clan leader. This is not what you think. Xiao Shan wanted to explain himself, but he could not explain himself clearly. He was unwilling to casually mention the GU immortal inheritance, he was afraid that other forces or experts would try to take it away by force. Your explanations are just excuses. According to the clan rules, you are no longer a member of Xiao clan. The position of clan leader is mine. Xiao Meng shouted, his expression was ruthless and furious, excitement and ambition was hidden deep inside his eyes. Chapter 963, Yi Tian Mountain. The speed of the sword light was beyond belief, as it cut through the air. However, Heavenly Pool, the location of Heavenly Lotus Sect, was still far away beyond the horizon. The sword light dissipated, revealing Bo Qing's immortal zombie body and Yu Mu Chun. The immortal zombie Bo Qing, which was controlled by Mo Yao's remnant soul, was now frowning with a sharp gaze, as he used sword light to sweep the surroundings. The sword light was incomparably sharp, everywhere it went, space rippled and illusions shattered, revealing the true scene. However, a breath of time later, the true scenery was covered by layers and layers of illusions again. This is Heavenly Lotus Sect's immortal GU house, Illusion Garden, which is built on the foundation of Illusion Path and was created over 300 years ago by illusion demon immortal Huang Xiao. Yu Mu Chun immediately explained. Bo Qing's immortal zombie body nodded, sighing, every age brings forth new geniuses. It seems many geniuses have appeared in Central Continent after my main body's death. Yu Mu Chun spoke. Illusion demon immortal has already died. This immortal GU house could beguile and trap us so stealthily that we were only able to realize now, the person who is controlling it should have a very high cultivation. Just as he said this, Heaven Overseeing Tower Lord, Bai Chentian and Lian Zhusheng appeared. Escaping fate is already a great sin. Now, you are thinking of attacking the sects under Heavenly Court, this is unpardonable. Heaven Overseeing Tower Lord immediately shouted. You talk too much. Immortal zombie Bo Qing was furious, he waved his arm, a terrifying sword light quickly slashed. Heaven Overseeing Tower Lord, Bai Chentian and Lian Zhusheng cried out as they activated their immortal killer moves. The sword light was unstoppable, it broke all the killer moves of the three immortals, its might had decreased for the most part in doing this but it still was able to charge towards them. The three immortals disappeared without a trace, evading this strike. Cowards! Immortal zombie Bo Qing snorted, extremely displeased. Yu Mu Chun's eyes shined with sharp radiance, but he let out a sigh of relief inwardly. The three Heavenly Court immortals were controlling the immortal GU House Illusion Garden, combining the strength of 3 rank 8s, using this to be able to trap Bo Qing's immortal zombie body and Yu Mu Chun in it. Time passed. Several days later. Southern border, on the nameless mountain. Bam bam bam, 3 explosions resounded, and bright light blossomed. Xiao Meng was sent flying, blood spurted out from his mouth while in the air. Bam! A muffled sound echoed. He did not crash on the ground, but was instead caught by the elders behind him with some difficulty. Defeated, Xiao Meng's face was pale as paper, He opened his eyes wide, staring fixedly at Xiao Shan with hatred and anger. Behind Xiao Shan stood two demonic path GU masters, both rank 5 experts, one tall and fat, another short and thin. Several days ago, Xiao Shan had set foot in the forbidden area at the back of Light Mountain, breaking Xiao clan's rules, and had to be punished. Xiao Meng took this chance to seize authority and kill Xiao Shan. Xiao Shan ran as quickly as he could, while Xiao Meng hunted him down with the elders. Their chase had brought them to this nameless mountain peak. Xiao Shan was in a hopeless situation with no way out. Just as he was about to be killed by Xiao Meng, two demonic path GU masters descended from the sky and saved him. Xiao Meng was filled with anger at having all his efforts go to waste at the last moment. He pushed away the hands of the elders supporting him as he stood up, shouting at Xiao Shan, "Xiao Shan, sure enough, you were harboring evil intentions. As a clan leader of the righteous path, you were secretly colluding with demonic path GU masters." Xiao Shan threw his head back and laughed loudly, his laughter filled with grief and indignation. "I really misjudged you. For power, you were actually willing to kill me. You have such a vicious heart. It is so funny that I always treated you as my only close relative in the world. You can distort the facts as you like, but I believe that others will easily be able to discern the truth. Lord Xiao Meng, the enemy's strength is great, we should retreat." "Right, we have enough time." Xiao Shan is heavily injured and near death, but the two rank 5 demonic path GU masters behind him are in good condition. The elders tried to quietly persuade him. HMPH. Xiao Meng spat out some blood and said with disdain, "Those two are also nothing but stray dogs. Their cultivation might be high but they don't have many GU worms. What are you afraid of?" Although he said this, Xiao Meng also knew that he would be unable to kill his own elder brother, Xiao Shan, today. The dark light in his eyes flickered as he internally pondered, "Right now, I already hold the upper hand and also have the basis of righteousness on my side. There is no need to go all out. After returning to Light Mountain, I can inherit the position of clan leader. At that time, I can use my identity in the righteous path to issue a warrant and bounty for Xiao Shan's head. Xiao Shan is without a clan now, and with the righteous path's warrant, he can only live as a fugitive with his strength decreasing constantly. It will be wiser if I bide my time and kill him in the future." With these thoughts, Xiao Meng did not stubbornly persist. "Xiao Shan, you traitor of the righteous path, you will surely die like a dog. For now, I will spare your life, just you wait, I will come to take it in the future. Let's go." After leaving behind these vicious words, Xiao Meng and the elders cautiously retreated. He was also injured but he still had ample strength left. The two demonic path GU masters did not have many GU worms and so did not dare to go on a reckless chase, letting them leave. "Brother Xiao, we meet again." The tall and fat rank 5 demonic path GU master was called Sun Panghu. After he saw Xiao Meng had left, he looked at Xiao Shan with tears in his eyes. The short and thin rank 5 GU master was called Zhou Xingxing. He was supporting Xiao Shan's shoulder while activating a healing GU worm. Talk about the past later, heal brother Xiao's injuries first. Xiao Shan's heavy injuries were quickly stabilized under the efforts of these two GU masters. Xiao Shan had an ashen expression as he heaved a deep sigh. "It is fortunate the two of you were here to help, otherwise I would have died here. But my younger brother is ruthless, he will definitely try to come after me again. He won't rest until he kills me. I can heal these injuries myself. Both of you leave, I don't want to implicate you too." "What are you talking about? Back then I was saved by you. My life is yours, brother Xiao." "Right, in the past, I had slaughtered an enemy's family for revenge, but was caught by brother Xiao. When you heard my story, you let me go that very night. This kindness has always been engraved in my mind." Sun Panghu and Zhou Xingxing spoke fervently and sincerely. "Neither of us will leave you. If Xiao Meng wants to battle, he can come, I will fight him to the end." Sun Panghu and Zhou Xingxing were extremely firm in their attitude. Xiao Shan was very moved, his eyes started getting moist with tears. Sigh, over these years, I have understood this. Who says demonic path GU masters are all ungrateful and unkind? Instead, the hypocrites who put on false pretenses of kindness can be seen everywhere in the righteous path. Brother Xiao is correct. Many of us in the demonic path stay true to our nature, and the righteous path go through all possible means to kill us. Since the righteous path won't accept you, we will be a team from now on, and roam the world as part of the demonic path." Sun Panghu spoke boldly. Xiao Shan fell into silence. He still had the mindset and ideals of the righteous path embedded in him, and he did not want to join the demonic path. He knew there was an immortal GU hidden in him, he still wanted to restore his position in Xiao clan. Zhou Xingxing was observing his expression. Brother, you may not understand. When people hear how you were expelled out of your clan and are being hunted by an insidious relative, many good people will come to help you. Brother, you have been just, upright and have aided people in need over these years, saving others from disasters without consideration for whether they belonged in the righteous or demonic path. Everyone will be willing to help you, willing to fight for you. Xiao Shan frowned, but did not respond. At this moment, the voice appeared in his mind again. Fool! Why do you need to rigidly mind the difference between righteous and demonic? Since you inherited my immortal GU, you have the ability to create your own Xiao clan and lead it to prosperity. I will give you a task now, listen carefully. Xiao Shan was excited, and listened carefully. The voice in his mind told him that only by passing this test, he could truly earn the inheritance, getting the immortal GU and obtaining the method to become a GU immortal. Gather GU masters at this mountain and create a fortified village, and fight off any invading righteous path enemies. As long as it can be maintained for 100 days, I can pass the test, obtaining the immortal GU and becoming a GU immortal. Xiao Shan's excitement was hard to describe, he clenched his fists and his eyes shined brightly. Good, then let's go all out. Let these so-called righteous path people look at our might. Xiao Shan suddenly spoke boldly. Sun Panghu and Zhou Xingxing were very happy. After discussing for a while more, they felt a close affinity with each other, talking and drinking harmoniously. Xiao Shan saw the timing was right and suggested becoming sworn brothers. Sun Panghu and Zhou Xingxing exclaimed that this was a wonderful thing. Immediately, they chopped off a chicken's head, put drops of the blood into a single bowl of wine, before they all drank and used GU to make an oath. After they became sworn brothers, Xiao Shan's face also regained some rosiness, he stood up and faced the breeze of the mountain as he looked at the scenery in front of him. He sighed. The Xiao Shan of the righteous path from yesterday is dead, today, the one standing here is Xiao Shan of the demonic path. This place and I have a fated connection, it allowed me to run into the two of you, this is an arrangement of heaven. I want to build a new village on this mountain, we will welcome any demonic path GU masters. Let's work together and band up to resist the righteous path clans. Sun Panghu's face flushed with excitement, giving a thumbs up as he praised. Brother, you are truly a great hero with high morals, this is such a grand course of action. Zhou Xingxing spat out saliva, speaking with a dark and ruthless look. Screw it, I have been hunted everywhere by the righteous path over these years, living a life of a fugitive, I have been dissatisfied with this for a long time. Brother, I support you, we will do it like that. My good brothers. Xiao Shan grabbed the arms of Sun Panghu and Zhou Xingxing, saying, the demonic path is filled with mutual suspicion, if we are to accomplish this, we need to set aside our prejudices and doubts, and believe others, abiding by a spirit of loyalty and brotherhood. Our village shall be called Yitian Village. This mountain shall be called Yitian Mountain. Far away, Fang Yuan sighed as he observed all these events. Indeed, this nameless mountain that hid the immortal GU house, graceful chaotic dual stage, and the rank 8 great strength true martial immortal zombie was Yitian Mountain. He had already recognized it the moment he saw this mountain. It was just that he had not expected the true reason for the battle of Yitian Mountain in his previous life to be this. My status was too low back then, my vision was only limited to the mortal world. There are so many hidden details to history, who obtained the immortal GU house in my previous life. Fang Yuan was filled with the desire to explore this. His gaze moved down again, piercing through the soil, inspecting the immortal GU house deep under the earth. Graceful chaotic dual stage was suppressing the great strength true martial immortal zombie, it was extremely strong and the forbidden zone for immortals was caused by its strength seeping to the outside. Clearly, it contained the mysteries of food path, the GU worms that formed the immortal GU house were full and in excellent condition. And that rank 8 immortal zombie, although possessing the great strength true martial physique, its main cultivation was wisdom path. He naturally was not willing to be suppressed, and used a certain killer move, attempting to use his battle will to refine the immortal GU house. He did not succeed, his soul thoroughly died, only leaving behind an empty shell of a body. But he did not completely fail either. There were large quantities of his battle will in the immortal GU house, these battle wills were already purified by the immortal GU house's strength, becoming pure and ownerless battle will. When battles occurred on Yitian Mountain, the intentions of GU masters to fight would form battle will, and resonate with the battle will in the immortal GU house, the pure battle will would then gradually turn into the GU master's individual battle will. If someone turned all the battle will in the immortal GU house into their own battle will, they would complete the unfinished last step of the rank 8 immortal zombie, that is, refining the immortal GU house and becoming the true owner of the immortal GU house. The gambling contest agreed to by the southern border GU Immortals revolved around this point. First of all, the forbidden zone for Immortals had already expanded to 10,000 li. GU Immortals were unable to personally make a move, so they could only select mortals as their representatives. Afterwards, they would form a battlefield. Only continuous fierce battles could stimulate the battle will of mortal GU masters. Then, the bodies of mortal GU masters would be tampered with via a simple wisdom path technique. Finally, the pure battle will in the immortal GU house would convert into the GU Immortals' personal battle will. In conclusion, GU Immortals would choose certain mortals and turn these mortals into tools, which the GU Immortal would use to indirectly refine graceful chaotic duel stage. Xiao Shan was the person selected by the Supreme Elder of Xiao Clan. On his body was not only the immortal GU of Xiao Clan's Supreme Elder, there was also immortal essence and large amounts of the Supreme Elder's battle will. It was just that Xiao Shan was only immortal, only able to see the vague image of an immortal GU, and had no awareness of the truth. Naturally, besides Xiao Shan, Xiao Meng was similarly a pawn of Xiao Clan's Supreme Elder. If it were not arranged by Xiao Clan's Supreme Elder, how could Xiao Meng coincidentally run into Xiao Shan when he stepped foot in the forbidden area? These two rank 5 GU masters, standing at the peak of the world of GU masters, were both in the dark, both being played in the hands of Xiao Clan's Supreme Elder. Chapter 964, Guo Lao borrows money. Xiao Shan forced Xiao Clan's reinforcements into retreat, and after naming this mountain Yitian Mountain, he began to invite demonic path members from all over, building up his forces. Before he was expelled from the clan, he was known for his grand morals, his social network was extremely large and he had been popular in both the righteous and demonic path. Xiao Shan's nature was straightforward, he clearly separated kindness and hatred, and emphasized close connections and loyalty. On the other side, Xiao Clan was weakening, suppressed and pressured by Wu Clan and other forces from all sides. Sometimes, even demonic path GU masters could not be offended, especially those lone warriors with rank 4 and rank 5 cultivation. These demonic path experts were different from the righteous path experts. Demonic path experts were loners, acting without scruples, but righteous path experts were bound by morals, family, reputation and so on. Xiao Clan had established a caravan years ago to strengthen themselves. These wandering demonic path experts were treated with even more caution compared to other clans. Over these last years, Xiao Shan let these demonic path GU masters go, or rope them in if he could, but if it came down to killing, he would do it with all his strength and as fast as possible. Occasionally, he even aided some lone cultivators or demonic cultivators financially. Thus, although he was a righteous path clan leader, he had obtained the approval of many GU masters of the demonic path. All these gave Xiao Shan a strong rallying force. When the news of him creating a fortified village was spread, there were many immediate responses. A few days later, several demonic path experts traveled from far away to join Xiao Shan. Moreover, the GU Immortal of Southern Border intensified the situation in secret, so as to easily put their own pawns in the battlefield. Thus, more and more demonic path GU masters and lone cultivators started joining Yitian village. In just 6 to 7 days, Yitian village already had over 30 members. Such a speed made even Xiao Shan shocked and surprised. As the number of people grew, they formed an organization. Any organization needed to have distinctions in status. In the world of GU masters, the strong were always revered. Among all these people, Xiao Shan not only had the highest strength, he also had the highest reputation. He was chosen by everyone as Yitian village's leader, stably placed at the highest ranking. His two sworn brothers, Sun Panghu and Zhou Xingxing, respectively were placed at the 2nd and 3rd ranks. After all, they were rank 5 experts, having the highest strength among others. As for the other people, the vast majority were rank 2 and rank 3, with few at rank 4. Their statuses were arranged simply according to their cultivation and strength. In a mountain cave, Fang Yuan was drinking wine with a GU Immortal. This demonic path rank 6 GU Immortal was short but had a large head. He was an old man and his name was Guo Lao. "Here, brother Sheng Ying, give it a sip. How is the taste of my melon wine?" Guo Lao enthusiastically urged Fang Yuan to drink. Fang Yuan knew Guo Lao's intention in coming. Without saying anything, he drank a mouthful and nodded, critiquing, "Not bad, not bad." Although he said, "Not bad," but Fang Yuan's expression was impassive and it was clear he had spoken only half-heartedly. Guo Lao was observing him. He chuckled and pointed outside. "I wonder what opinion brother Sheng Ying has towards this grand contest of southern border." Fang Yuan calmly replied, Given that it concerns who graceful chaotic dual stage will belong to, no one will yield a step. Since everyone is participating in this contest and has joined the agreement, putting forth their wagers, there should not be anyone who will cause trouble. In the past, it was always the righteous path who suppressed the demonic path. Whether it be in the mortal GU Master World or the GU Immortal World. But right now was an exception. The appearance of the Immortal GU House completely shook the world of Southern Borders GU Immortals. To seize the Immortal GU House, demonic and lone immortals emerged, forming a huge force that gave the righteous path no choice but to compromise and set up this large gambling contest. The content of the wager was to select mortals as pawns who would participate in the battle between the righteous and demonic paths in Yitian Mountain, helping the GU Immortal behind them to refine the Immortal GU House. But to participate in this huge contest, there were some conditions. Any GU Immortal that wanted to participate in this gambling contest had to make a wager. Those who made larger wagers could arrange pawns with higher cultivation and enter the battle earlier. Finally, when the gambling contest ends, all the wagers would be redistributed. Each GU Immortal would be ranked according to the amount of battle will they refined. Whoever had higher quantities of battle will in the Immortal GU House would accordingly have higher returns. Naturally, one that refined over 50% of the battle will would be the winner who could activate the Immortal GU House, obtaining the highest returns from their bet. But other GU Immortals would also be able to get some profits, they might even be able to get great returns from small bets, earning a huge fortune. This condition could be considered to be superb. It was because of this that all the GU Immortals participating in the gambling contest, be it righteous path, demonic path or lone cultivators, whether they had enmity or resentment, they all subconsciously worked together to maintain this unrivaled gambling contest. Anyone who attempted to play dirty tricks or acted shamelessly would have their wagers completely confiscated. GU Immortals who arrived later could also join in, but they had to take part in the gambling. And as the gambling contest progressed, if GU Immortals wanted to raise their bets, they could do so. And this demonic immortal Gualao in front of Fang Yuan was a person who wanted to raise his bet. But he lacked the capital to do so. Over these last days, he went around borrowing money, so everyone knew of it. This time, he intentionally came to find Fang Yuan. Fang Yuan was giving him the cold shoulder. Gualao had no choice but to take the initiative to mention the gambling contest. Fang Yuan had only given a casual analysis, but Gualao squinted and gave a thumbs up, exaggeratedly smiling. Brother Sheng Ying, you are right, you have hit the nail on the head. The rules of this contest cannot be broken by anyone. If anyone breaks them, it will be akin to making GU Immortals of the whole of Southern Border their enemies. So they need to earn capital and participate honestly in the contest. Just look at it, the contest has just started, but Shao Clan's Supreme Elder is already at the lead. Shao Shan is his pawn and from the previous battle of Shao Shan and Shao Mang, Shao Clan's Supreme Elder has become the first to refine the battle will in the Immortal GU House. As long as Shao Shan doesn't die, his lead will continue increasing. Fang Yuan glanced at Gualao. Shao Shan is a rank 5 GU Master and was the first to enter the mountain, Shao Clan's Supreme Elder naturally will have a huge advantage. But, he has also paid a large price for this, although he is only a rank 7 GU Immortal, his wagers are the highest, to the extent that even rank 8 GU Immortals cannot match it. Gualao nodded repeatedly, and grinned, revealing his yellow teeth. Yes, the earlier we can place our pawns in Yitian Mountain, the more beneficial it would be. Of course, the cultivation of these pawns need to be ensured, they should at least be rank 4, otherwise they will likely die there and we will just suffer losses. Brother Sheng Ying, I won't conceal it from you, I really hate not being able to put myself as a wager. I am a bit short on funds right now, Brother Sheng Ying, could you lend me some immortal materials? Wait till this is over, and I will return double the amount. Fang Yuan smiled. Sure. Gualao was joyous, and was just about to say his thanks, when Fang Yuan said, but we need to set a vow. This is natural, and it is a must as well. Gualao nodded quickly. Fang Yuan continued. Also, take out an immortal GU as collateral. Gualao's joyful expression immediately stiffened. Brother Sheng Ying, is this a joke? If I had an immortal GU, why would I go for this immortal GU house? Fang Yuan's expression also changed. With a face filled with coldness, he glared violently and spoke. Gualao, you don't even have one immortal GU, but are actually scheming for this immortal GU house. Don't you think you are indulging in a wild fantasy? Aren't you too greedy? Sheng Ying, you, Gualao was just about to flare up, but suddenly he sensed an aura of immortal GU from Fang Yuan's body, no longer concealed. He actually has immortal GU. Gualao's heart immediately sank. Many rank 6 GU immortals did not have even one immortal GU. But Fang Yuan did. This surpassed Guo Lao's expectations. As far as he was concerned, any GU immortal with immortal GU would have some reputation. But Sheng Ying clearly did not. He had taken Fang Yuan to be a weak lone immortal, cultivating bitterly in some unvisited area of the world. But Fang Yuan had immortal GU, this caused fear to emerge in Guo Lao's heart. With an immortal GU, the GU immortal's battle strength would often rise by a large extent. Sheng Ying, with immortal GU, was not someone Guo Lao could handle. Thus, he did not vent his anger and finally forced a smile as he cupped his fists towards Fang Yuan. I was too abrupt and rude, brother Sheng Ying, please don't mind it. Fang Yuan gave a cold snort. You can leave. I am leaving now, farewell. Guo Lao smiled as he retreated a few steps, before turning around and leaving, not daring to linger. When he walked out of the cave, the smile on his face disappeared, replaced by shame and anger. His gaze was cold, as he roared in his mind, HMPH. Having immortal GU is indeed amazing. I shall remember this humiliation. Wait for the day I have an immortal GU, I will return this humiliation back to you. Inside the cave, Fang Yuan was thinking. Guo Lao's matter made him aware of the gambling mentality of many bottom-tier GU immortals. Most of these people did not have immortal GU, so they had an extreme thirst for the immortal GU house. They all knew that success could not be built on small efforts, but when it concerned themselves, who did not want to soar to the sky with a step and get rich overnight? The gambling contest in front of them gave these GU immortals an extremely favorable environment to compete in. If it were a normal situation, for instance, finding wild immortal GU, the GU immortals would engage in fighting each other. These bottom-tier GU immortals with no immortal GU had low battle strength, how could they compete with other GU immortals? But what this gambling contest examined were other aspects, not the GU immortals' own battle strength. This gave hopes of success to the bottom-tier GU immortals. Examples like Guo Lao were not few in number. Fang Yuan then thought of Shao Clan's supreme elder. According to the news, this rank 7 GU immortal was facing a huge problem. He had barely gotten past extreme danger in his previous tribulation, and his strength had yet to recover. The next tribulation, which would be even more powerful, was already approaching. Shao Clan only had one GU immortal remaining, that was him. Without another GU immortal's support, he would not be able to face this tribulation by himself, and his death was almost certain. However, this gamble gave him hope of surviving. If he obtained the immortal GU house, he would have huge assurance in getting through this tribulation. Thus, he brought out all he had and went all in on this gamble, placing the highest wagers. These wagers gave him the qualifications to select 2 pawns. Moreover, both the pawns had rank 5 cultivation. Among them, Xiao Shan was the first to enter the area of the contest, the other, Xiao Meng, would enter the stage after some more time. Xiao Shan belonged to the demonic path and Xiao Meng belonged to the righteous path. No matter what the result between the righteous and demonic paths was, or how the process went, Shao Clan's supreme elder was well prepared with having these 2 arranged. The 2 rank 5 pawns had a low likelihood of death. As time passed, the advantage of Shao Clan's supreme elder would continue growing larger. This time, I intentionally leaked out an immortal GU's aura so as to let other GU immortals feel sufficiently cautious and not take me as a weakling. I need to properly participate in this gambling contest. The information exposed from the gambling contest is extremely valuable. It is a most precious opportunity for me to get close to the world of Southern Borders GU immortals and understand their structure. As for this gamble, maybe I can personally take action. A sharp light flashed past Fang Yuan's eyes. Chapter 965, Battle of Yitian Mountain 1/2. A forbidden zone for immortals, that was the power of graceful chaotic dual stage. This zone now covered thousands of li around Yitian Mountain. Any GU immortal who went in would face huge suppression. If they entered deeply, their lives would be in danger. Before the gambling contest was set up, the southern border GU immortals had probed it themselves. But even the rank 8 GU immortals returned empty-handed. And because there was the outside pressure of having too many competitors, this shocking gambling contest was established. But Fang Yuan could keenly sense that this forbidden zone had a loophole. This loophole was immortal GU. Immortal GU could be used in the Forbidden Zone, but their power was greatly reduced. Shao Clan's Supreme Elder placed an immortal GU in Xiao Shan's body, and left behind immortal essence secretly to protect his life to an extent. After all, Xiao Shan was a bloodline descendant of Shao Clan's Supreme Elder. Immortal GU can be used in the Forbidden Zone, but GU Immortals cannot enter. Does this Forbidden Zone for Immortals target only the bodies of GU Immortals? Fang Yuan thought of this conjecture. Then, what was the difference between Immortal GU and GU Immortals? Evidently, Dao marks were not the answer. Immortal GU were vessels containing Dao marks, while GU Immortals also had Dao marks in their bodies. Fang Yuan quickly thought of an answer: immortal apertures. Maybe immortal apertures were the most crucial difference. Immortal GU would not have immortal apertures, but GU Immortals definitely had them. If the Forbidden Zone targeted immortal apertures, then maybe Fang Yuan could make use of this loophole and attend the Battle of Yitian Mountain in person. I am different from others, I have 2 apertures. Spring-Autumn Cicada is sealed in my first, mortal aperture. My second aperture is dead, most of my GU worms are stored inside. If I can seal my immortal aperture and become Immortal Rank 5 GU Master again, will I be able to enter the Forbidden Zone for Immortals? The more Fang Yuan thought about it, the more hopeful he became. Even though he did not have the method to seal an immortal aperture, he had the help of Wisdom GU, and with his Grandmaster attainment level in Wisdom Path, he could deduce it himself. Furthermore, I have the method to transplant immortal apertures, and succeeded in moving star form Blessed Land. This is very helpful as reference for my deduction. Right, I also can look into Blazing Heaven Demoness, Fire Path Aperture Taking Method, maybe I can gain even more inspiration from it. No, I do not need to focus on her Aperture Taking Method. She created this Fire Path method after benefiting from an inheritance of Old Immortal Kongju, maybe I can get Old Immortal Kongju's research gains from her directly. Fang Yuan's thoughts were churning rapidly. Old Immortal Kongju, a publicly recognized Refinement Path Supreme Grandmaster, being on par with old eccentric Tian Nan and Long Hair Ancestor. He had the deepest research in immortal apertures and mortal apertures. In terms of depth, it was yet to be surpassed by another. If he could obtain a portion of his inheritance, Fang Yuan's deduction of the immortal aperture sealing method would receive substantial and crucial help. Fang Yuan did not invest much into this gambling contest. According to the terms of the gambling contest, he could only choose a rank 3 upper stage GU Master, and this GU Master could only ascend Yitian Mountain after 3 months. He had a lot of immortal materials and had much capital to spare, he could bet heavily. But he had just arrived. If he acted rashly, other GU Immortals might covet his wealth and place attention on him. It would be dangerous if any rank 8 GU Immortals targeted Fang Yuan. Thankfully, during the process of this gambling contest, the bet could be raised at any time. The rank 8 Great Strength True Martial Immortal Zombie was important for Fang Yuan's plans. Other than that, he was also enticed by Graceful Chaotic Dual Stage. This was an immortal GU house after all. Furthermore, this immortal GU house involved secrets of food path. After so many years, not a single GU worm had died of hunger. If he could obtain these secrets of food path, perhaps Fang Yuan would be able to settle his problem of feeding immortal GU more easily. Fang Yuan stealthily left the surroundings of Yitian Mountain, using fixed immortal travel to return to Hu Immortal Blessed Land secretly. In the following period of time, he kept his attention on the Battle of Yitian Mountain while deducing the immortal aperture sealing method enthusiastically. The deduction of the method was very rapid, as expected and worthy of a rank 9 immortal GU. Even though Fang Yuan was only using the light of wisdom, its help towards him was immense. Over a month later, news of the righteous and demonic battle of Yitian Mountain had spread far and wide. The attentions of almost all experts and large forces had been drawn on this battle in southern border. The first wave of attack since Xiao Shan created Yitian village arrived. This was an expert sent by Wu clan, the super force closest to Yitian Mountain. Wu Shentong, Wu clan elder, rank 4 peak stage, Enslavement Path GU Master. Enslavement Path GU Masters excelled in fighting large numbers of enemies, but were more vulnerable if personally targeted and fought. Thus, Wu Shentong had 3 rank 4 GU Masters around him in protection. 2 of these 3 rank 4 GU Masters were clan leaders of villages that had submitted to Wu clan. The third was a Wu clan elder assigned to protect Wu Shentong. The beast group attacked Yitian Mountain like a tide. The demonic path's side had just created Yitian village when it got engulfed by a beast group. Many demonic path GU masters died, but relying on Xiao Shan, Sun Panghu, and Zhou Xingxing, these 3 rank 5 GU masters, Wu Shentong retreated with heavy injuries, and 2 rank 4 righteous path GU masters lost their lives. Even though Wu Shentong's attack was repelled, the newly created Yitian village suffered a huge blow because of this. Wu Shentong remaining alive caused Xiao Shan and the others to feel unrest. Just when the three of them were about to take a risk and go down the mountain in their injured states to kill Wu Shentong, a demonic path GU master ascended the mountain. Furthermore, he brought Wu Shentong's head with him. This person was called Lu Zuanfeng. He was a rank 5 GU master, called the Divine Thief in Southern Border. He had a demonic path GU immortal backing him. He had once sneaked into Tai Clan's demon suppression tower. Lu Zuanfeng relied on his infiltration methods to kill Wu Shentong and settled Yitian village's crisis. The first wave of attack by the righteous path thus ended. Wu clan was unresigned. They quickly sent the second elder to battle. In fact, he was joined by two of Shang clan's new elders, Yantu and Zhu Kaibei. During the second battle, both sides had wins and losses. They were in a deadlock. This time, Lan Meihe and Fei Yuang ascended the mountain, joining Yitian village. These two GU masters were not simple. They were famous flying masters in the world of Southern Border's GU masters. Yitian village thus had the upper hand, and the Righteous Path members were forced back. To resist Lan Meihe and Fei Yuang, the Righteous Path invited a female GU master, Hong Fei Yu. She was also a flying master, but belonged to the Righteous Path. But Hong Fei Yu alone could not resist the combination of two flying masters of the demonic path. Hong Fei Yu was at the moment between life and death. When Shang clan's reinforcements rushed and arrived, it was the white light swordsman Wei Yang. Wei Yang had been nurtured by Shang Yanfei and had his aptitude raised. His cultivation level was at rank 4 initial stage. Not only did he save Hong Fei Yu, he even gained much fame. After Hong Fei Yu was heavily injured and retreated, he fought against both Lan Meihe and Fei Yuang, eventually managing to stall for enough time until more reinforcements from the Righteous Path came, as Lan Meihe and Fei Yuang were forced to retreat. After this battle, Wei Yang was acknowledged by both the righteous and demonic paths, joining the ranks of the Flying Masters. Southern Border's 3 famous Flying Masters became 4 famous Flying Masters, with Wei Yang at the top. With Wei Yang's addition, the righteous and demonic battle entered another deadlock once again. However, as the second zombie king entered Yitian Mountain, enslavement path showed its might again. The righteous path lacked Wu Shentong and had no choice but to fall back. The second righteous and demonic battle came to an end. It seems that because of me, Yitian Mountain's battle has undergone some changes. Fang Yuan watched as he compared it to his previous life. In the 500 years of his previous life, during this period, Yitian Mountain should have held the upper hand firmly. This was because Wang Xiao joined Yitian Mountain and killed many righteous path experts. He was extremely powerful and had once attempted to force Shaoshan to give up his role in leading the demonic path. But on Sancha Mountain, Wang Xiao was killed by Fang Yuan. This caused Wang Xiao to not join Yitian Mountain this time, and thus they were almost at a disadvantage against the righteous path. Thankfully for them, second zombie king arrived early and saved the demonic path's position from worsening. Second zombie king came from the Southern Border Zombie Alliance branch. He was likely the pawn of a certain Southern Border immortal zombie. He was a rank 5 peak stage GU master. He had once left behind his inheritance on Mubei Mountain, causing the rise of an enslavement path GU master, Ding Hao. But Ding Hao had been killed by Fang Yuan in this life. In my previous life, Ding Hao sacrificed himself to save the life of his master, Second Zombie King. If Second Zombie King encounters a mishap this time, who would save him? Fang Yuan was curious. Conflict in the Yitian Mountain battle continued raging, but Fang Yuan was met with difficulty in deducing the immortal aperture sealing method. He was stuck at a certain point. He had to make use of the foundation of others to rapidly get past it. Otherwise, with just his own deductions, he would need 17 to 18 years. Fang Yuan sought help from Blazing Heaven Demoness. Blazing Heaven Demoness had part of an inheritance of old immortal Kong Ju. It was enough for Fang Yuan to get through this. But Blazing Heaven Demoness made use of the chance, asking to borrow Fang Yuan's immortal killer move, Vaguely Familiar Face. Blazing Heaven Demoness, He Lu Lan, and Fairy Li Shan all wanted to get a share of the action. But the Southern Border GU Immortals were working together in this gambling contest. They could not interfere. They were Northern Plains GU Immortals. Once they showed up, the Southern Border GU Immortals would jointly assault them. Right now, in the 5 regions, Southern Border was the least welcoming to outsiders. Eastern Sea was the most open, followed by Central Continent. Thus, if He Lu Lan and the others wanted to interfere, they would need Fang Yuan's vaguely familiar face. Fang Yuan was unwilling to lend it, of course. Lending the Immortal Killer move was different from lending Immortal GU. Once the Immortal Killer move was lent out, the secrets in it would be learned by other GU Immortals. They would know its weaknesses and could easily develop ways to counter this Immortal Killer move. But Fang Yuan did not have other options and could only agree to it. He lent vaguely familiar face, but he obtained Blazing Heaven Demoness, partial inheritance of old Immortal Kongju. Even though he paid a huge price, he got his reward rapidly. Getting past the point he was stuck, his speed in deducing the method rose again, it was smooth sailing. Chapter 966, Battle of Yitian Mountain 2 halves. Central Continent. Boom. Suddenly, an intense explosion broke the tranquility of the mountain valley. The aftermath of the explosion created a huge inferno that rapidly spread in all directions. In just a breath of time, the lush trees in the surroundings were destroyed, and the area became a barren desert. The 8 rank 8 GU immortals that came from Heavenly Court gradually revealed their figures. They had formed a circle, each of them heavily injured, their gazes looking heavily at the proud and aloof figure in the center. Immortal Zombie Bo Ching was standing upright and proud like a spear. He slowly moved his eyes, a sword light suddenly flickered from them. The 8 GU immortals were terrified, 3 even subconsciously retreated a step. In the intense battle earlier, they had suffered a lot under these sword lights coming from his eyes. However, the sword light in Bo Ching's eyes died out in an instant. Afterwards, the lively light in his eyes completely dissipated. His whole body became motionless like a stone statue. Success! We finally killed the remnant soul within Bo Ching. Heavenly Court's GU immortals let out breaths of relief, they had obtained victory in this battle. Bo Ching was known as a pseudo-immortal Venerable, but he had only left behind his corpse, and the remnant soul in it was Mo Yao's. Heavenly Court's GU immortals targeted this weak point, using their battle tactics to completely annihilate Mo Yao's remnant soul. Without the control of the remnant soul, Bo Ching's immortal zombie body moved no longer. It has been so long since I had such a thrilling battle. A GU immortal sighed, deeply moved. Fortunately, this immortal zombie Bo Ching had such a huge weakness, otherwise someone among us would definitely be annihilated. It is a pity we couldn't take it alive. After taking this immortal zombie body to Heavenly Court and storing it properly, I will continue my sleep. Previously, Heaven Overseeing Tower Lord, Bai Chen Tian and Lian Zhu Sheng used an immortal GU house, Illusion Garden, to trap immortal zombie Bo Ching and Yu Mu Chun. Bo Ching battled the 3 immortals with incredible sword path might. Heavenly Court's 3 immortals were no match for him and could only request for reinforcements. 5 GU immortals from Heavenly Court had no choice but to come out of their rest and enter the mortal world as reinforcements. The 8 GU immortals formed an ancient battle formation, and after over a month, they finally killed Yu Mu Chun and extinguished Mo Yao's remnant soul. The battle ended, the 5 Heavenly Court GU immortals that were awoken immediately returned to their headquarters and continued to rest. They had almost no lifespan remaining, they had to treasure every second they had. Bai Chen Tian and Lian Zhu Sheng also wanted to leave, but their situation was better than the 5 immortals. They still had time to care for their descendants and sects. But, Heaven Overseeing Tower Lord gave the task of cleaning up the battlefield to Bai Chen Tian, and persuaded Lian Zhu Sheng to go to the riverbed of Falling Heavenly River and search again. He now was flying towards Heavenly Court. Although we have won this battle, my unease has instead increased, and I am feeling very restless, as if an apocalypse is approaching. Standing in front of Heaven Overseeing Tower, this old rank 8 GU immortal frowned. He stepped inside the tower and continued the previous deductions. What's going on? Soon, Heaven Overseeing Tower Lord's forehead was dripping with sweat. His gaze was extremely puzzled. There was an enormous pressure which made it difficult for him to move forward. In the past, he only needed to spend a bead of rank 8 immortal essence for each step. But this time, he did not know why, but the consumption of immortal essence had doubled. Ever since I have been in control of Heaven Overseeing Tower, there has never been such a situation. What's happening? Heaven Overseeing Tower Lord's intuition was urgently telling him, Sword Immortal Bo Ching's matter was only a prelude, and behind the scenes, there was an even stronger mastermind. I understand, it seems someone is secretly hindering me from deducing haha, if that is the case, then I want to succeed even more, I will walk to the top of the tower. I want to see who it is that has escaped the judgment of fate. Heaven Overseeing Tower Lord continued to climb, his expression was firm with no more puzzlement. But after he climbed 100 steps, the wall turned dark. It was like the darkest, blackest ink had spilled over the whole wall. There were no more images. Heaven Overseeing Tower Lord's heart sank. Who is it? Who is interfering with my deduction? They could actually interfere with a rank 9 immortal GU house, Heaven Overseeing Tower, to this degree. Time continued to pass. A month later, Heaven Overseeing Tower Lord finally stepped onto the top floor of the tower. He was extremely exhausted, most of the immortal essence accumulated in his lifetime had been consumed. He looked at the wall with anticipation. After the first pitch-black wall, he no longer saw other images. However, Heaven Overseeing Tower Lord knew fate immortal goose might extend it over the whole world and could not be blocked. The wall at the end would definitely reveal the true perpetrator behind the scenes. When he stepped on the top floor, he widened his eyes, gazing impatiently. At the next moment, his pupils shrunk down to pin size. His aged body shook intensely. The final wall was still pitch black. Darkness, incomparably deep darkness. But unlike before, in this darkness, a pair of eyes were shining. This was a pair of human eyes. But it was filled with bone-chilling coldness and terrifying killing intent. They gazed at Heaven Overseeing Tower Lord like a beast hiding in the darkness, waiting patiently for an opportunity, upon which it would charge of the darkness, causing terror over the world. You're, Heaven Overseeing Tower Lord was soaked with cold sweat, he trembled and even his teeth chattered. After a long while, he barely managed to calm down. But fear and panic still remained on his face. Crisis. A huge crisis. If this is left unchecked, even Heavenly Court will be destroyed. Immortal zombie Bo Ching was no more than a distraction for us. I must awaken many more of Heavenly Court's GU immortals. This is a battle that decides our survival. Heaven Overseeing Tower Lord did not hesitate. He ran out of the Heaven Overseeing Tower, directly to Floating Maple Cliff. On Floating Maple Cliff, there was a giant GU formation. Heaven Overseeing Tower Lord decisively activated the GU formation. A sound of a bell, vast and unparalleled, immediately resounded throughout the sky. Heavenly Court shook. At the same time, in southern border. Finally, the deduction has succeeded. Fang Yuan had already taken another appearance and stepped onto Yitian Mountain, his immortal aperture sealed. After obtaining a portion of old immortal Kong Ju's inheritance from Blazing Heaven Demoness, Fang Yuan did not encounter any obstacles in his deduction. Using the method of sealing the immortal aperture, Fang Yuan sealed his own immortal aperture and turned into a rank 3 GU master, officially stepping into this huge stage. At this time, the situation on Yitian Mountain had already undergone a huge change. Large numbers of GU masters had entered both the righteous and demonic sides. The righteous path had initiated the third and fourth waves of offense, both sides suffered heavy losses. On the demonic path side, Second Zombie King had summoned many of his disciples, their zombie army giving a huge headache to the righteous path. On the righteous path side, Wei Yong and Hong Fei Yu had allied, getting an advantage over Lan Meihe and Fei Yuang in the aerial battles. However, Divine Dr. Sheng Shou was supporting the righteous path. This person was one of the 4 great doctors of southern border, extremely proficient in healing and treating wounds and illnesses. With him there, righteous path GU masters had fewer losses, and most injuries were quickly healed, so they did not fear fighting fiercely. Xiao Shan knew if this were to continue, the righteous path would continue becoming stronger, thus he decided to make use of a diversion while taking the initiative to attack, beginning the 5th wave of battle between righteous and demonic. On the surface, he, Sun Panghu and Zhou Xingxing attacked, while Lu Zuanfeng was commanded to sneak towards the rear of the righteous path and try to kill Divine Dr. Sheng Shou. But the result was, Divine Dr. Sheng Shou was not killed. Instead, Sheng Fushi of the righteous path had planned for their scheme, laying an ambush and killing Second Zombie King. With Second Zombie King dead, the demonic path's disadvantage was quickly enlarging. Around this time, Killer Ghost Dr. Cho Ju stepped onto Yitian Mountain, suppressing Divine Dr. Sheng Shou, salvaging the situation. Cho Ju saved many demonic GU masters' lives, and soon took the 3rd highest rank. Lu Zuanfeng was ranked at 2nd while Xiao Shan still was at 1st. As for Sun Panghu and Zhou Xingxing, they had already been squeezed out to the 4th and 5th. Because of Cho Ju, the demonic path could recuperate and build up strength day by day, and because one of the rising stars of the demonic path, Mo Wu Tian, had joined and challenged many to one-on-one battles, the righteous path had lost many strong warriors. Shang Clan sent Dr. Su Shou, who together with Divine Dr. Sheng Shou, managed to close the gap created by Cho Ju. A phantom path inheritor, Yan Clan's young clan leader, Yan Jun, entered the spotlight. He sneaked into Yitian Mountain and killed Cho Ju before swaggering off. The righteous path's morale was boosted, making another attack, beginning the 6th wave of battle between righteous and demonic. However, they fell into the demonic path's trap. Cho Ju had remnant life GU, as long as his body was mostly intact, he could resurrect. After Yan Jun killed him, he had secretly resurrected while pretending to be dead, causing the righteous path to take the bait. In the 6th battle, Mo Wu Tian showed his demonic might, killing 3 rank 4 GU masters in the chaotic battle. His fierce might surged and even Yan Jun was defeated by him and suffered heavy injuries. The righteous path retreated in defeat, but the demonic path had also incurred huge losses. Both sides temporarily rested, trying to recover their strength. During such a situation, Fang Yuan stepped onto Yitian Mountain, joining Yitian village. He had disguised himself as a rank 3 GU master, and after joining, his status in Yitian village was outside the top 100. The higher-ups arranged him a position of guarding an archery tower. Fang Yuan was extremely low profile, working without making any disturbances. He patiently waited for the first 3 days, and after seeing no GU immortals had appeared to stop him, began to stealthily refine the battle will in the immortal GU house. The number of demonic path GU masters who had joined Yitian village had already reached 600. Among these people, some were pawns of GU immortals, while some were not. Fang Yuan was hidden among them and was not in the least bit conspicuous. He was secretly earning a fortune, rapidly refining the battle will in the immortal GU house with his wisdom path grand master attainment. Other GU immortals could only make their pawns fight and indirectly refine the battle will from this. But Fang Yuan did not need to fight, he could continue to unceasingly refine the battle will. After all, a GU immortal was personally making a move, it naturally would be extraordinary. Day after day passed, the righteous and demonic sides were like 2 giant beasts. After taking a few breaths, their energy was restored and they began to battle again. It was the 7th wave of battle, and this was a draw again. The demonic path made a crafty scheme, cutting off the righteous path's supply lines. But on the righteous path's side, Shang clan leader Shang Yanfei personally arrived with his forces, and used gourmet food box GU, providing a feast for the army, foiling the demonic path's scheme. Next, the clan leaders of southern borders super forces like Yi clan, Luo clan, Yao clan and Sha clan also showed themselves, joining the battlefield. The battles were getting increasingly heated, affecting the minds of countless GU masters and forces. But from Fang Yuan's viewpoint, it was simply another ordinary scene. Righteous and demonic battled, it looked to be extremely brilliant, but in fact the true manipulators were southern borders GU immortals. During these last days, the GU immortals had also clashed. Although they did not officially fight, they secretly schemed and strategized, each trying to cheat or outwit one another, making everyone on guard. Fang Yuan was able to obtain huge amounts of information from this and his understanding of the world of southern borders GU immortals increased at a rapid speed. He had refined large amounts of battle will, but graceful chaotic duel stage seemed like a bottomless pit. Time continued to pass, a month had gone by. On this day, old man Yan Shi secretly came to the surroundings of Yitian Mountain with over 10 GU immortals. He took a deep breath, and said in a slightly shaky tone, Heavenly Court has already detected this and is preparing for an expedition to southern border. Time does not wait for anyone, we can only begin early. Whoosh! The GU immortals behind him turned into shadows as they flew in all directions. Chapter 967, Trapping Immortals, Tribulations Fall Like Rain. What's going on? At this moment, the GU immortals of southern border, who were situated 10,000 li away from Yitian Mountain, looked at the sky one after another. Even the mortal GU masters on Yitian Mountain also felt an indescribable chill. Rumble. A vague rumbling sound could be heard coming from the sky. Several breaths later, the rumbling got louder and louder, as if hundreds of people were beating war drums far away. Ever since Fang Yuan stepped on Yitian Mountain, he had been making use of every second in refining the battle will, but the commotion in the sky right now was getting louder and louder. He had no choice but to temporarily stop his work and look above. From high up in the air, he saw the sky suddenly brightening with a series of white light specks. These light specks were extremely vast in scale and densely packed together. They started to fall rapidly and powerfully down towards Yitian Mountain. This is the 1,000 Pearl Light Tribulation. A GU immortal exclaimed in shock. Wrong, the 1,000 Pearl Light Tribulation only has 1,000 light pearls, but this tribulation has at least 100,000 light pearls. How could there be a tribulation? Many GU immortals were baffled. Could someone be undergoing a tribulation? Most of the GU immortals immediately looked towards Yitian Mountain. Fang Yuan's heart jumped, and he became extremely vigilant. Soon, he was dripping in cold sweat as he felt waves of immaterial investigative senses scanning his whole body. Although he had vaguely familiar face, the core immortal GU of this immortal killer move was only at rank 6. It could deceive rank 6 GU immortals, but facing the inspection of rank 7 and rank 8, there was a huge chance of being exposed. Fang Yuan was filled with anxiety before he finally let out a sigh of relief. He was not discovered. There was no discovery. The GU Immortals were surprised. They searched Yitian Mountain and its nearby surroundings, but did not discover any rank 5 GU master that was facing a tribulation. Just when they were about to continue searching with even more powerful investigative methods, the 1000 Pearl Light Tribulation was already just above the Immortals. Just in case, we can't let this tribulation affect Yitian Mountain. Right, let's block this tribulation. Some GU Immortals started guessing, perhaps this tribulation was caused by graceful chaotic dual stage. The southern border GU Immortals soon came to an agreement. According to the gambling agreement, if a menace appeared, the GU Immortals participating in the gambling contest would band together to obstruct it and protect their interests. Although the 1000 Pearl Light Tribulation was high in quantity, the GU Immortals that occupied this place had power in numbers. They included 4 rank 8, 9 rank 7 and over 10 rank 6 GU Immortals. The Immortals made their moves, and soon the 1000 Pearl Light Tribulation was destroyed, with not even one light pearl touching the ground. It was to the extent that even some GU Immortals used their methods to draw in layers of clouds, blocking the sky of Yitian Mountain, and preventing the mortal GU masters from sensing this anomaly. A lone cultivator rank 8 GU Immortal, Peng Shilong, stroked his beard, laughing. No matter who it is that is ascending to Immortal at this moment, they are quite creative. We need to find this person. The people here are all elite GU Immortals of southern border. We can't even find a mortal who is facing tribulation. The rank 7 GU Immortal Yi Ching Tang smiled coldly. Being taken as a meat shield by someone else and used as a tool to face the tribulation made this proud GU Immortal extremely displeased. Whose descendant is this mortal? Speak up, avoid losing your face when we find them. GU Immortal Wang Kai chuckled. The Immortals looked at each other, but no one stood out. Rank 8 GU Immortal Ren Hai Yang's expression turned dark as he shouted, "You don't know what is good for you. You still want to hide, do you take us as fools? Look, another tribulation is falling." Suddenly, a GU Immortal gave a reminder. The sky was dark, like a giant had coated it with a dense black dye. At once, the temperature fell and cold air emanated. Swoosh swoosh swoosh, endless ice and snow circled around like sharp blades before pouring down like a storm. Yi Ching Tang's expression turned heavy, calling out, "Dark flying frost." Who is facing the tribulation? They could actually attract one of the 10 great catastrophes. No, that's wrong. The scale of this tribulation is even greater than the 10 great catastrophes. It's here. Hold it back. Rumble, lightning flashed and inferno roared as the dark flying frost was destroyed. Dark flying frost was indeed one of the 10 great catastrophes. After this tribulation, many GU Immortals suffered injuries. GU Immortal Guo Lao was heavily injured, and he could not help but think of retreating. Strange. Could this be because graceful chaotic dual stage is about to appear? So the heavens sent down the tribulations. No, this won't do. I don't have any immortal GU. I can't stay here, foolishly facing the tribulation. I need to leave this dangerous place before thinking of anything else. The moment he thought of this, Guo Lao turned into a ray of light, as he flew away. This guy ran quite quickly. Yi Ching Tang sneered, proudly floating in the air with his hands behind his back. Dark flying frost was strong, but he could still deal with it. However, many rank 6 GU Immortals started imitating Guo Lao. Most of these people were bottom-tier GU Immortals, with no immortal GU, and injuries all over their bodies. However, at the next moment, Guo Lao's figure suddenly appeared in the center of the GU Immortals. He was stunned. How could he appear here? Shortly afterwards, many more rank 6 GU Immortals were also sent back, appearing beside Guo Lao. Ambush. Someone has set a huge space path GU formation in the surroundings. Soon, a GU Immortal reacted and shouted in shock. Rank 8 auras burst out. Peng Shilong's eyes let out a ferocious light as they gazed all around. Who is it? Come out. He. With a sinister laugh, old man Yanxi appeared with over 10 black-robed GU Immortals, encircling the southern border GU Immortals. Old man Yanxi was at the back, his hand pointing towards the sky. Everyone, a word of advice, the third tribulation is already here. Everyone looked up. The sky was packed with lion groups. Desolate beast, Qi Grand Lion. These lions had Qi Path Dao marks and could innately fly. There were over 6,000 Qi Grand Lions. The rank 6 GU Immortals turned deathly pale. Rank 8 GU Immortal Jia Yi shouted in fury, "Such little things. Get lost." He waved his sleeve, and a wild wind started blowing. Giant wind sickles, numbering in tens of thousands, shot in every direction. The lion group howled in pain, severely injured by the wind sickles. Many even died on the spot. The corpses were cut in thousands of pieces, blood started to rain down majestically from the sky, mixed in it were countless bone fragments and crushed flesh. Berserk Wind Jia Yi, you are truly mighty. Old man Yan Shi lightly smiled, freely giving praise. Jia Yi, however, frowned. He had sent most of the wind sickles towards old man Yan Shi, but the wind sickles were blocked by a GU formation and were completely destroyed, while the GU formation only rippled and had suffered no damage. Its defensive prowess was beyond imagination. Who are these people? What are they aiming for? Scheming against us. They really are audacious, they are seeking death. You dare to oppose GU immortals of the whole of southern border. The GU immortals shouted and cursed, while having doubts in their mind. Time did not permit for them to wait for the response of Shadow Sect. A tribulation was descending again. Roar! A majestic dragon's cry resounded throughout the surroundings. Cloud of fire spanned 10,000 li of distance, and started pressing downwards. 4 Inferno Clouds Tribulation, someone shouted. Careful, I have faced this 4 Inferno Clouds Tribulation, it has 4 layers in total. Each layer above is much more ferocious than the one below. A fire path GU Immortal warned. Block it. There is also the Dragon Roar Tribulation, this is 2 tribulations at once. Protect surrounding GU Immortals, maintain our strength. The GU Immortals shouted one after another, as they worked together to face these tribulations. A typical 4 Inferno Clouds tribulation covers at most 100 li, why is this so large? At Yitian Mountain, Fang Yuan also watched with shock. The clouds drawn in earlier could block the vision of mortal GU masters, but could not obstruct Fang Yuan's gaze. He felt extremely uneasy. I seem to have entered a huge trap. These black-robed GU immortals are extremely similar to the Shadow Sect GU immortals that He Lulan had described. They actually dared to scheme against so many southern border GU immortals. What are they trying to do? It seems these tribulations are not because someone is undergoing tribulation, but their own handiwork. With old man Yan Shi at the lead, Shadow Sect's immortals had constructed a giant GU formation that completely trapped the southern border GU immortals. The southern border GU immortals wanted to escape and tried to break the GU formation, but their efforts showed no results, thus they could only face the bombardment of the tribulations. As time passed, the strength of the tribulations became more terrifying, soon even rank 7 GU immortals felt difficulty. After another 3 waves, rank 8 GU immortals also struggled to cope, their expressions looked unsightly. It was not that they had not tried breaking the formation, but their attempts had failed. Hold back this tribulation, let me do it. Peng Shilong decided, activating his trump card. Waves of light scattered with imposing momentum, but Shadow Sect's GU formation only shook 3 times before stabilizing again. What GU formation is this? The southern border GU immortals' hearts sank to rock bottom, they were unable to hide their worries. The tribulations came in succession, and the time interval between each wave became shorter and shorter. Different kinds of tribulations poured down like an endless rainstorm. The GU immortals gradually defended more and attacked less, losing the initiative. Persevere, Jia Yi shouted, we still have a chance. The tribulations are coming against us continuously, but it is also affecting the surrounding GU formation. The immortals felt a surge of morale. Despite the fact that some rank 6 GU immortals were already dead, the remaining immortals did not give up. They held on bitterly, retaining hope. Once the GU formation was destroyed by the tribulation, they could escape with their lives. The situation of the battlefield was observed by old man Yan Shi, he saw all the changes clearly. Wu Xie, he softly called. Behind him, a young man stood up. He had wavy black hair that draped down to his shoulders. His eyes shined with countless lights of all kind of colors, forming a vortex that was slowly but constantly spiraling. He had a tall nose bridge, the contours of his lips were like knife carvings, and when they were closed, they gave off a cruel and demonic charm. However, right now, he was concentrating on the sky, his lips opened wide as a smile filled his face, revealing white teeth, unexpectedly appearing somewhat silly. Wu Xie, hearing no response behind him, old man Yan Shi called again. Ah, you called for me, I was looking at the fireworks. The young GU immortal responded with a smile. Old man Yan Shi gave a bitter smile. This is not a simple display of fireworks, these are tribulations, although they look beautiful, they contain fatal danger. These are all the work of heaven's will, it is attempting to destroy us, it is our greatest enemy. The young GU immortal immediately revealed an earnest and serious look. Ah, so it is like that. Then tell heaven's will to come out, I will take it down. Chapter 968, 10 Extreme Immortal Zombie Lifeless Formation. Old man Yan Shi sighed. heaven's will is not a physical enemy, it is everywhere, vast and boundless. As long as the 5 regions and 9 heavens exist, heaven's will is eternal. Even if you destroy a portion of heaven's will, at the same time, another portion of heaven's will would be created. The young Gu Immortal was stupefied. Then what do we do? What we are doing is defying heaven, so heaven's will is our greatest enemy. After 100,000 years of preparation, we are going to unleash an explosive strike. There is a common saying, man proposes, heaven disposes. But right now, we will be taking action all of a sudden, catching heaven's will unprepared. This can be considered to be man winning against heaven. While old man Yan Shi spoke to Wu Xie, he pointed with his finger. The 10 extreme immortal zombie lifeless formation we set up has already entrapped all the southern border GU immortals nearby. But only a small portion of this formation has been set, it cannot even display 1/10 of its might. The tribulations are constantly affecting the GU formation, the formation won't last long at this rate. Next, I and some other GU immortals will sacrifice our souls in setting up this formation. With this, the formation can display 90% of its might, only lacking a step for completion. The southern border GU immortals will have no more chance to escape. So powerful, the young GU immortal stared with wide-opened eyes, looking blankly. Old man Yan Shi continued in a serious tone, after I die, you will be the strongest of us. You need to remember, you were born from a dream realm, and only have 18 hours of lifespan in total. Every 2 hours, your cultivation will rise by 1 rank. Right now, you have just advanced to rank 7, your lifespan only has 4 hours remaining. The stronger you become, the closer your death approaches. When you advance to rank 9, no one can defend from even 1 attack of yours. Rank 9 is so powerful. The young GU immortal had a look of ignorance. Old man Yan Shi chuckled. Of course. Rank 9 is the limit in the whole world, it is the highest summit, this world cannot have rank 10, so rank 9 is the strongest. I can only live for 4 hours, isn't the time too short? After 4 hours, will I die? Death, what is it? The young GU immortal asked questions one after another. Old man Yan Shi patiently explained. Everything has been planned properly, 4 hours is more than enough. Should the plan fail, even if you live longer it won't change the outcome. As for death, old man Yan Shi paused, before speaking slowly with a quiet and deep voice. Death is the end of life, and is also the beginning of life. The young GU immortal scratched his head, not fully understanding this. Old man Yan Shi took a deep breath. His emaciated, aged body trembled in the wind, as if he would be blown away the next moment. He gazed far away. His eyes did not have whites, they were pitch black, but right now countless inverted images emerged in them. In the inverted images were Fang Yuan, Bai Ning Bing, the 10 extreme immortal zombie lifeless formation, Heavenly Courts GU immortals, Southern Border GU immortals, Yitian Mountain, graceful chaotic dual stage. It's time. Old man Yan Shi spoke, but before I die, I will use my remaining lifespan to deduce for you. Remember my words, they will provide huge help to you. After he finished speaking, old man Yan Shi's life force started to quickly weaken. The next moment, he suddenly opened his eyes. For the first time his face showed bewilderment, seemingly being puzzled and terrified of the result of the deduction. He turned his head with difficulty, and looked at the childlike GU immortal with an extremely complicated gaze. His lips squirmed a few times, before he finally let out several words. One of us, be careful, failure. He revealed the heavenly secret with extreme difficulty. His body started turning into powder while he spoke, dissipating in the wind. When he said, failure, he had no more time remaining, he completely dissipated and unraveled. His soul was absorbed by the formation, completely merging in an instant. Not only old man Yan Shi, a number of shadow sects GU immortals also sacrificed themselves, their souls merging with the formation. 90%, 10 extreme immortal zombie lifeless formation. A vast radiance suddenly soared to the sky. At this moment, even the mighty heavenly tribulations and earthly calamities seemed to dim and lose their luster. The radiance was so dazzling, all the southern border GU immortals had to tightly close their eyes. The radiance passed in an instant and the southern border GU immortals quickly opened their eyes. The entire area was covered by a gigantic GU formation. 10 GU immortals stood in the air, separated from each other, standing at the outermost periphery, seemingly encircling the group of southern border GU immortals. Among them, 9 GU immortals wore black robes, their appearances covered under their hoods, veiled in mystery. The last one was the young GU immortal, Ying Wu Xie. He looked all around him with curiosity. After all, he had begun life just 14 hours ago. It was understandable he had a mindset of exploring the novelty of this world. What is going on? What happened? This GU formation has suddenly become much more powerful. Previously, under the bombardment of the tribulations, the formation had already been swaying unstably, but now it appeared like a giant reef at the seaside, unbreakable by the storm, standing firm and stable like a mountain. Sensing this situation, the hearts of the southern border GU Immortals sank. Rank 8 GU Immortal Ren Haiyang stopped protecting the Rank 6 GU Immortals, and chose a direction to attack the 10 Extreme Immortal Zombie Lifeless formation. Merely putting up a facade, die! He shouted as he clapped his hands. A giant tsunami rose from thin air. The water was incomparably vast. With a roaring sound, it fiercely charged towards a black-robed GU Immortal. Protect him! The other 3 Rank 8 GU Immortals exerted themselves to block the tribulations overhead, protecting Ren Haiyang. With their help, Ren Haiyang had less pressure on him. He laughed heartily as he stopped holding back and activated his immortal essence again. Waves after waves erupted, giving a feeling of covering the sky and the sun, as if an ancient beast had opened its mouth to devour heaven and earth. Wu Xie wanted to go help, but was stopped by a black-robed GU Immortal beside him. Stay at the formation core where you're located, don't move recklessly. He can deal with it. Sure enough, the mysterious GU Immortal who faced the tsunami, suddenly sent out a burst of flames that soared to the sky. In an instant, with the black-robed GU Immortal at the center, the surroundings turned into a seething world of lava. Waves over 30 meters in height smashed into the formation, and evaporated into white vapor. Whoosh! Immediately afterwards, the fire roared as it spread quickly, the intense temperature clearing up the vapor in an instant. Such power, I almost cannot control it. The black-robed GU Immortal was pleasantly surprised. He stood proudly in the center of the lava. The black robe on him was already mostly destroyed, revealing his true appearance. Fang Yuan's pupils shrunk. He recognized this person. The southern border GU Immortals also exclaimed in surprise. You actually are a 10 Extreme Immortal Zombie, Blazing Glory Lightning Brilliance. This person was precisely the Blazing Glory Lightning Brilliance zombie that had participated in the 100 Days battle and had successfully escaped. After he was captured by old ancestor Shuihu, he was then saved by Blazing Heaven Demoness and others sent by Zombie Alliance. Who could have thought he would actually appear here? Could it be that the party scheming against the southern border GU Immortals is Zombie Alliance? That can't be. If it were Zombie Alliance, it would be impossible for Blazing Heaven Demoness to not know of it. Perhaps. Shadow Sect. These 2 words suddenly jumped into Fang Yuan's mind. Fang Yuan's whole body shuddered. The situation was becoming worse. His own circumstances were actually similar to the southern border GU Immortals. He was also trapped here. Ren Haiyang's attack failed and he could only discontentedly retreat. The tribulations from the sky rained down like a storm. Not only did they not halt for even a moment, their power also continued to grow greater. The air was mixed with constant sounds of shouting and screaming. The Rank 8 GU Immortals could hardly look after themselves. Many bottom-tier Rank 6 had already lost their lives. These GU Immortals, who stood high and mighty above the masses under normal circumstances, were as weak as chicks and pups in front of the tribulations. Many of the Rank 7 GU Immortals could only be carried along by the tide, like a small raft in a stormy sea. They had no control over their circumstances and with any slight carelessness, they could be swallowed by the waves. The tribulations were very difficult to face, but the 10 Extreme Immortal Zombie Lifeless formation firmly withstood them all and was unshakable, while the southern border GU Immortals were in a predicament. At this juncture of life and death, they let go of any previous enmity and collaborated. They soon realized their only remaining path to survival. That was the Immortal GU House Graceful Chaotic Duel Stage. This Immortal GU House had extraordinary defensive strength. It could block the vast and boundless tribulations, and protect the GU Immortals. At the same time, the Immortal GU House's offensive prowess was also the most suitable weapon to break through the 10 Extreme Immortal Zombie Lifeless formation. The Immortal GU House Graceful Chaotic Duel Stage that lay deep under the earth was the hope of the southern border GU Immortals. Although the Forbidden Zone made it extremely difficult for the southern border GU Immortals to approach in person, it did not damage Immortal GU. Though the powers of Immortal GU were weakened greatly in there, they still surpassed the vast majority of mortal methods. Combine our strength to bombard Yitian Mountain and get hold of Graceful Chaotic Duel Stage. GU Immortal Jia Yi shouted. However, the only remaining ones who still had such ample strength left were the 4 Rank 8 GU Immortals. The Rank 7 GU Immortals, dodging and defending desperately from the tribulations, had no energy to spare. The 4 rank 8s attacked furiously, but it did not affect Yitian Mountain. The thick layer of clouds above Yitian Mountain had been infused with the power of the 10 extreme immortal zombie lifeless formation, and could defend from the powerful attacks. It absorbed all the attacks. Clouds and fog surged intensely for a while before it was calm again. The 4 rank 8 GU immortals' efforts showed no results. Their eyes shone with a ferocious light, they clenched their teeth as they attacked without stop, their expressions gradually turned frantic. On Yitian Mountain, it was still a scene of serenity. Mortals were all kept in the dark, knowing nothing about the blood-curdling scene above them. So long as a fraction of the tribulations leaked out, they could destroy Yitian Mountain completely, and all the mortal GU masters would turn into dust. Fang Yuan gazed at the sky heavily. Was there such a situation in my previous life as well? None of us knew death was right above us. Calm down, calm down. Fang Yuan took a few deep breaths, and forcibly dispelled his nervousness and unease, before starting to think. The shocking and enormous action taken by Shadow Sect schemed against the southern border GU immortals, Fang Yuan was also trapped within and could not extricate himself. Although He Lu Lan and Fairy Li Shan have joined this gamble, they are currently in Shaohun Blessed Land, using Luoko Valley to cultivate their souls. This GU formation cuts off links between the inside and outside, it even restricts all my communication methods. Chapter 969, Losses and Deaths Are Natural. Even if I still had self-strength immortal GU, rank 7 battle strength is simply not enough in this situation. The top priority now is still graceful chaotic dual stage. The southern border GU immortals outside the Forbidden Zone already have no hope of taking this immortal GU house. But I still have a chance. Only with the help of graceful chaotic dual stage will I have hope of escaping. Otherwise, I can only use Spring-Autumn Cicada. Fang Yuan thought rapidly, the only chance in front of him was to become the new owner of graceful chaotic dual stage. He had fixed immortal travel. But this immortal GU was in his immortal aperture. The aura of immortal GU could be easily detected, and they could only be kept safe when stored within an aperture. However, Fang Yuan had already sealed his immortal aperture. If Fang Yuan were to break the restriction of the Forbidden Zone, he would be destroyed at the first moment. He simply would not be able to last 3 breaths of time to activate fixed immortal travel. However, Spring-Autumn Cicada was not under this seal. Spring-Autumn Cicada was Fang Yuan's first vital GU, it had long ago been placed under a different seal in his first aperture. After all this time, Spring-Autumn Cicada had already recovered for the most part, and even though it was heavily sealed, it was already giving huge pressure to Fang Yuan's first aperture. Prior to this trip, it was not that Fang Yuan had not considered sealing fixed immortal travel and other immortal GU in his first aperture just in case something happened. But it simply got nowhere. The aperture could store some mortal GU, but containing a second immortal GU was impossible. Even with fixed immortal travel, I am afraid, Fang Yuan's gaze pierced through the cloud layer, falling upon the 10 extreme immortal zombie lifeless formation, his breathing turned somewhat rough. Among the southern border GU immortals, there were Space Path GU immortals as well as Space Path immortal killer moves. But none of them were able to do anything. Clearly, this formation restricted Space Path as well, its defense was extremely tight, with no loopholes that could be exploited. GU immortals continued to die miserably under the tribulations. The 4 rank 8 GU immortals were also injured, they knew that the longer this continued, the lower their chances, they had no choice but to work together and break through simultaneously. You are all flies trapped in a web, where can you escape? A black-robed GU immortal GU blocking their way sneered, his aura was surging as his hood swayed. Northern Dark Ice Soul, Peng Shilong shouted in shock. Frost energy spread rapidly, a crystalline ice wall that was dozens of meters tall spanned in front of them all. While the 4 immortals were obstructed, a lightning strike smashed down on them. Snow War Tribulation Lightning. Typical Snow War Tribulation Lightning was already one of the 10 great catastrophes. But this Tribulation Lightning in front of them had multiple bolts branching out, its might over dozens of times stronger. When it rains, it pours, the 4 immortals did not dare to face such lightning head-on. Among them, one activated a time path killer move to slow down the lightning, which gave the 4 immortals time to move away. The Snow War Tribulation Lightning continued on its path, as it struck the Northern Dark Ice Soul Immortal Zombie's crystalline ice wall. A huge hole was pierced through the icy wall, the Northern Dark Ice Soul Immortal Zombie snorted as he suffered minor injuries. Heaven's will. The Northern Dark Ice Soul Immortal Zombie stared fiercely at the sky. The 4 southern border rank 8 GU immortals changed their direction, towards another area of the GU formation. You shall not pass. The black-robed GU Immortal located here, chuckled. Boom. Both sides attacked each other, they fought for a long time, but they were evenly matched. The four immortals were obstructed and their momentum was halted, but the black-robed GU Immortal also did not have it easy. Carefree Wisdom Heart Physique. This was another immortal zombie of the 10 extreme physiques. You are Shang Clan's Shang Gui Kai. Peng Shilong frowned, recognizing the black-robed GU Immortal's identity. Shang Clan's first Supreme Elder and I have a close friendship. As a member of Shang Clan, you actually joined a demonic organization, bringing disaster to the world. A prodigal son who returns is immeasurably precious, you still have time to repent. Otherwise, if this leads to catastrophe, you will implicate your clan as well. The black-robed GU Immortal sneered with disdain. What do you understand? Shang Gui Kai is just an identity I used after soul replacement. What is mere Shang Clan? How can it compare to my great plan? Boom! A lightning bolt of the tribulation struck the four immortals, causing them to be on the verge of collapsing. Don't bother with him, let's change to another direction. Blazing Glory Lightning Brilliance, Northern Dark Ice Soul, Carefree Wisdom Heart. The 10 extreme physiques that one seldom sees in 100 years are actually appearing one after the other. I am afraid this is not a coincidence. This GU formation should be using the 10 extreme physiques to garner such huge power. That means he is the only flaw. After they were thwarted by the Carefree Wisdom Heart Immortal zombie, the four immortals quickly communicated and fixed their gazes at the young GU Immortal Ying Wuxie. Among all the GU Immortals present, he was the most peculiar. He was alive, and at the same time, his aura revealed he did not have one of the 10 extreme physiques. The four immortals bore heavy injuries as they charged towards Ying Wuxie. Ying Wuxie's heart was thumping, he thought frantically, what to do? What to do? They are coming over. Don't be nervous, use your most proficient method. The black-robed GU Immortal beside him immediately reminded. I am not nervous, I am not nervous. Ying Wuxie took a deep breath, his breathing, however, was rushed. But as the four immortals neared him, Ying Wuxie thought of the scene when he was born. He had been born from a dream realm. When he opened his eyes, the first person he saw was Old Man Yanxi. Old Man Yanxi had chuckled when sizing him up with his black eyes, his tone hardly concealing his happiness. Good, good, good. Pure dream reality seeker physique, you are the greatest accomplishment of my dream path research. Since Bo Qing is dead, you will replace him, becoming our greatest strength in suppressing the situation. Who are you, who am I? Ying Wuxie curiously asked. I am you, and you are me. I am Old Man Yanxi, and you shall be called Ying Wuxie. Old Man Yanxi chuckled. He then lightly waved his arm, countless thoughts were transferred into Ying Wuxie's mind. Ying Wuxie felt information flowing into the depths of his mind. Time is limited, I can only impart an immortal killer move to you. Although it doesn't have any killing power, it is the pinnacle of dream path achievement currently in the 5 regions, at the forefront of this era. Even those heavenly court GU immortals are far behind. As the saying goes, when you have the skill, you can eat your fill. Learn it properly. When you become a GU immortal, I will give you a complete set of GU worms for you to speed up your practice at that time. The recollection stopped, the 4 immortals had already neared him. Among them, Berserk Wind Jia Yi was at the lead. Ying Wuxie's eyes suddenly let out a sharp light. He slowly spoke, like he was reciting, Immortal Killer Move, Lead. Soul, into, Dream. The 4 immortals slowed down sharply, and were extremely vigilant, as if they were facing a powerful foe. However, there was no movement even after several breaths of time. Kid, you actually dared to trick us. Peng Shilong was about to attack in fury. Right at this time, the rank 8 GU Immortal Jia Yi, however, began to fall down. What's going on? Just when Peng Shilong and the rest were bewildered, the 10 extreme immortal zombie lifeless formation sent out an incomparably swift attack at Jia Yi. Jia Yi made no movement, the layers of heavy defense over his whole body began to slowly dissipate. The remaining 3 immortals quickly moved to block the GU formation's attack. Jia Yi was still falling. Zzz. He had actually fallen asleep. That kid's behind this. Ren Haiyang was grim and frantic. The enemy was only a rank 7 GU immortal, but Jia Yi was struck by his immortal killer move, putting up no resistance. What's more, the layers of defense over his whole body showed no effects. What killer move was this? Careful, Peng Shilong exclaimed. Another form of tribulation lightning descended. This time, countless bolts of falling star lightning struck at the speed of light, reaching the southern border GU immortals in an instant. In this wave of tribulation, most of the southern border GU immortals lost their lives. Even the rank 8 GU Immortal Jia Yi, renowned as Berserk Wind for hundreds of years, was turned into countless pieces by the falling star lightning. Peng Shilong and the others were not even able to take care of themselves, they simply had no time to save him. We are finished. The 3 rank 8 GU Immortals started to despair. Ying Wuxie was indeed the flaw in the formation, but his battle strength far surpassed the imaginations of the 3 immortals. This unprecedented dream path killer move directly sent Jia Yi into deep sleep, unable to wake up. Jia Yi died, the remaining 3 immortals' momentum immediately slowed, and their hopes of breaking through became minuscule. Hold on. On Yitian Mountain, Fang Yuan, who had been observing the battlefield, also started to feel anxious. Even if he became the owner of graceful chaotic dual stage, with just his strength, it would be hard to activate the enormous immortal GU house. It would be like a lone person controlling a battleship, it would be extremely difficult for him to make use of it. So, he had to ally with the southern border GU immortals. The more GU immortals in the immortal GU house, the more immortal essence would be consumed, the more power the immortal GU house could unleash. Just with Fang Yuan alone, it would be impossible to increase the immortal GU house's strength to the level where it could break through the formation. Time passed, the 3 rank 8 GU immortals were extremely exhausted, let alone the few remaining rank 7 GU immortals who were fleeing desperately from the tribulations. When Ren Haiyang perished under the tribulations, the remaining 2 rank 8s had lost all hope. It's over now. Fang Yuan exhaled painfully, sigh, now I can only continue with my disguise and hope I won't be discovered. But right when the rank 7 and rank 6 GU immortals had all died, with only the 2 rank 8 GU immortals remaining, Yitian Mountain suddenly began to shake. Soon, the tremor increased rapidly. The earth was shaking. What's going on? The tremor attracted the gazes of the 2 rank 8 GU immortals. Could it be that graceful chaotic dual stage has been obtained by you? The 2 rank 8 GU immortals said to each other with strange tones. Both were stupefied, realizing it was not due to them. Fang Yuan's body shook, he had yet to refine the immortal GU house, so who was it? Boom, boulders cracked, the ground opened up, and from the huge rift jumped out a figure. The great strength true martial immortal zombie. He had actually gotten free of the immortal GU house's suppression, and flew to the sky. However, before Fang Yuan and the others could react, a cold snort resounded throughout the scene. You want to escape fate in front of us? Die. A beam of light shot down from the sky. Rank 9 Immortal GU House, Heaven Overseeing Tower. Heavenly Court Immortals had arrived. The pure white beam of light was extremely terrifying, breaking apart the 10 extreme formation like snapping a rotten branch. The 2 southern border rank 8s were immediately exterminated. Damn it. The rank 8 great strength true martial immortal zombie was not able to dodge, and could only roar in extreme unwillingness as he was turned into fine powder by the beam of light. The beam of light continued its path as it shot down onto Yitian Mountain. Am I going to die? Fang Yuan raised his head and clenched his teeth, all the muscles in his body tensed. A rank 9 immortal GU house's full power attack, he had no way to defend from it. He only had one remaining trump card, Spring Autumn Cicada. At the next moment, Fang Yuan self-detonated. It failed. Spring Autumn Cicada was carrying Fang Yuan's will and had just entered the river of time when it suddenly crumbled, exploding into countless tiny fragments. Fang Yuan was dead. Chapter 970, Rebirth, Ghost Face, Red Lotus. Legend says there was a river in this world. It connected the beginning and the end, it had hidden causes and effects, flowing to every part in the world, it was everywhere. With its irrigation, the world could operate normally and all things were able to change. This river was called the River of Time. This was a secluded domain of heaven and earth, a place where time path flourished, and countless time path GU worms lived and propagated. The endless river flowed wantonly without pause. The river was vast and boundless, its tides rose and fell along with the surging waves. Each drop of the water of time was pale and colorless, but innumerable droplets of water crashed, intertwined, collided, and spun all the time, giving off a brilliant show of lights. These brilliant lights were in all kinds of shapes and colors, and were hard to put into words. Fang Yuan felt this was one of the most beautiful sights in the world. When the rank 9 Immortal GU House, Heaven Overseeing Tower, sent out the attack which it had prepared for a long time, Fang Yuan was like a bystander that had been implicated, unable to avoid it. His only remaining option was to activate Spring Autumn Cicada. However, the rank 6 Spring Autumn Cicada had a huge flaw. There was a chance of failure every time it was used. At Qingmao Mountain, Fang Yuan successfully activated it once. At Sancha Mountain, Fang Yuan successfully activated it again. If his previous life of 500 years was counted, then Fang Yuan had already successfully activated Spring-Autumn Cicada 3 times. Now, he had finally failed. Spring-Autumn Cicada's activation failed. Although his will entered the river of time, at the moment of activation, Spring-Autumn Cicada self-detonated, turning into countless fragments. Fang Yuan's will was like a baby that had lost the small boat it was in and was drowning. The surging river of time would engulf and destroy Fang Yuan's will in an instant, not even a trace would remain. In the end, I still failed. At the moment of death, Fang Yuan's remaining will was strangely tranquil. There was no worry, no discontent, and no regret. When he had first chosen this path, he had already expected the situations that could occur. The situation right now had already been within Fang Yuan's consideration. He could do nothing now. He had already done everything he could. If a chance was given to me again, I would still choose to live this way. So be it, my story as a GU Immortal shall end here. Although I did not leave behind any biography or inheritance, but it doesn't matter. Fang Yuan's will was quickly dissipating. He was tranquil, even feeling happy in a way. If he still had a face, the corners of his lips would probably be curled up into a smile right now. Dying while pursuing one's goal, what regrets could he have? Fang Yuan's laughter abruptly stopped. A strange change was occurring at this moment. From the remote and grand river of time, a ghost face suddenly came out. The ghost face first looked at Fang Yuan's remaining will and made faces, seemingly in silent mockery. Then, the pitch-black ghost face's cheeks swelled up. Its expression seemed like one of extreme suffering, like it was going to vomit. A giant flower bud, dripping wet, came out from the ghost face's mouth. The ghost face's mouth almost ripped apart, its lips had stretched to an exaggerated degree, even reaching its ears. After vomiting out the flower bud, the ghost face relaxed before starting to make faces at Fang Yuan again. It was amusingly comical, but at the same time was a ghastly and terrifying smiling expression. And that flower bud started to slowly blossom in the river. Time seemed to have stopped at that moment. In the blink of an eye, the flower bud opened, turning into an enchanting red lotus. From the center of the lotus shot out a slightly red light ray that landed at the area where Spring-Autumn Cicada had shattered. The time in the red light began to turn back. At the same time, the ghost face that had carried the red lotus slowly sank down into the river. Like a movie being played backwards, everything began to go backwards. As if water spilled from a basin was returning. Fang Yuan's will had almost completely dissipated, the scant few bits remaining were negligible. But under the illumination of the red light, his will began to rapidly restore and countless GU worm fragments also began to appear. And when these GU worm fragments joined together, they turned into an intact Spring-Autumn Cicada. Spring-Autumn Cicada carried Fang Yuan's restored will, and began to set on its path again. The red light dissipated, the red lotus immediately scattered, and that ghost face also had been completely washed down into the endlessly surging river of time. It was as if everything had been an illusion. However, Spring-Autumn Cicada was already forcibly restored. It carried Fang Yuan's will, carrying Fang Yuan's remaining hopes as it flowed in the river. Flowing backwards, returning to the past, star-form blessed land. Poisonous fog was spreading, poisonous blood was boiling, 3 layers of GU formations were already destroyed by corrosion, the surrounding land turned into a thin layer of poisonous swampland. Fang Yuan's face was stern. Next is the most troublesome and difficult to process immortal material, earthly limit astral chi. He took out an immortal material and held it in his hands. This GU refinement material was very peculiar, it was made up of soil and chi. They gathered into a lump. At the top was light azure-colored astral chi, below was black soil. Astral chi was the heaven chi found up in the 9 heavens. Outside the immemorial 9 heavens was a thick wall of astral chi. If a GU immortal wanted to explore the 9 heavens, they would need to break through the astral chi wall. Meanwhile, the black soil was made up of the essence of earth chi condensed from the 10 depths. Heaven and earth chi could not coexist, but at this moment, this earthly limit astral chi was joined together in harmony. Not only were they existing peacefully, they were converting into one another constantly. Black soil turned into astral chi while astral chi turned into black soil. Fang Yuan shook it by moving his hands rapidly, as this lump of earthly limit astral chi melted, fusing with the black soil and becoming a lump of fog. But after shaking, after a dozen breaths, the black soil sank while the astral chi stayed on top. Black and white was separated again, the two were rotating, it was a mystical sight. Processing such an immortal material is most troublesome. Ordinary refinement path killer moves cannot deal with it perfectly. Only the 4 publicly recognized strongest immortal killer moves to deal with immortal materials, slumbering lightning python, reflect snow, muffled thunder stone drum, and wind grind, can complete this step instantly. Unfortunately, I do not have any of these 4 immortal killer moves. To process the earthly limit astral chi, I can only put in much time and effort. Fang Yuan's thoughts flashed as he moved his feet, his huge body shot into the air, he leapt and jumped into the turtle shell, into the poisonous blood. Boom! Fang Yuan flashed his sharp nails, causing injuries on his 6 monstrous arms. He next slashed at his chest, back, and other areas, creating openings on his skin. Blood refinement killer move, blood trace travel. From these injuries, traces of blood appeared. The blood traces quickly fused into the dark purple poisonous blood. The poisonous blood in the turtle shell was drawn away, it moved into Fang Yuan's wounds. Intense pain assaulted him, Fang Yuan snorted. Immortal zombies did not have a sense of pain. Fang Yuan could feel pain because he used GU worm methods. He needed to feel pain so that he could know what step the immortal materials were at. Fang Yuan's blood and the poisonous blood in the turtle shell acting as a pot continued to fuse and circulate, they were entering and exiting Fang Yuan's body. After this process stabilized, Fang Yuan took out the earthly limit astral chi and swallowed it. Gulp, the earthly limit astral chi entered his stomach. This was his own original method, created in his previous life, an abnormal technique using blood path to refine GU. He called this the flesh body blood refinement technique. The earthly limit astral chi entered his body, it was engulfed by the blood and slowly melted into the blood. Blood flowed out of Fang Yuan's body through the wounds, into the turtle shell pot, and sank to the bottom. At the same time, the other poisonous blood in the pot flowed into Fang Yuan's body through the wounds, engulfing the earthly limit astral chi again. Time slowly passed, 3 days and 2 nights later. Fang Yuan was covered in wounds, the pain made his face distorted, his 8 monstrous arms were inserted into the poisonous blood, his fangs were exposed and his eyes were red, he was breathing heavily like an ox. Still a night remaining, I need to completely process all the earthly limit astral chi in my body. As long as I can get past this step, the most difficult part of refining change form immortal GU would be over. Suddenly, Fang Yuan's pained expression stiffened. Under his deep frowning expression, his bright eyes suddenly showed confusion, almost losing all their luster. When refining immortal GU, one had to maintain high degrees of concentration. How could he be allowed to be distracted? Peef! He immediately spat out a large mouthful of poisonous blood. Shortly afterwards, he fell down heavily in the poisonous blood in the giant turtle shell, raising a huge wave of blood. The bloody wave splashed out of the turtle shell, into the grassland. Soon, a large patch of healthy green grass turned into dark red smoke due to the corrosion. Master! Star form land spirit shouted worriedly, jumping into the turtle shell. Suddenly, Fang Yuan's head emerged from the pool of blood. He splashed around twice, before standing up. The confusion on his face quickly disappeared, his gaze brimming with energy as he mumbled, "This is this place." Hearing Fang Yuan's mumbling, Star form land spirit became even more worried. Did Master lose his mind because of the refinement failure? Fang Yuan gazed at his hands first, then swept through the turtle shell and the blood pool, before finally stopping on Star form land spirit. "What time is it now?" Fang Yuan asked. Star form land spirit jolted inwardly, but still replied, "Many days have already passed since Master began refining the immortal GU." Ha 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 ha, Fang Yuan raised his head and laughed heartily. Star form land spirit felt bleak. Oh no, Master has lost his mind. After failing the immortal GU refinement, his body suffered heavy injuries, he has even forgotten the time, and is still laughing so happily. There was no need for Fang Yuan to tell others about the reason for his happiness. I have returned once again. Despite the activation of spring-autumn cicada failing, because of a strange change, I returned to life from death, from defeat to victory. My will has once again returned to the past. I am still refining change form immortal GU. The time is over a year ago. This is actually so short. According to my foundation and with so many immortal GU on me, I should have at least traveled several hundred years back. Is it because spring-autumn cicada failed to activate that I only returned to a point over a year ago? Also, that ghost face and the red lotus, what was going on, what had happened? Chapter 971, a bit of excitement thinking about it. The strange phenomenon in the river of time only occurred for a very short moment, but it was deeply etched into Fang Yuan's mind and left a lasting memory. It was at the crucial moment between life and death, it was impossible to not have a clear memory of it. Now, as he recalled that moment, Fang Yuan was filled with doubts. The ghost face and the red lotus, what do they mean? Why did I not come across this situation when I used Spring-Autumn Cicada before? Does it occur only when Spring-Autumn Cicada's activation fails? Or, shaking his head, Fang Yuan stopped thinking about this mysterious subject. He jumped out of the poisonous blood and flew out of the turtle shell. The injuries on me are heavy, and the soul success Dao mark is now destroyed because of the GU refinement failure. It is truly a pity. Fang Yuan examined himself and soon noticed the aftereffects of this GU refinement failure. His body was filled with cracks, almost on the verge of falling apart. Such injuries would require months of recuperation before they could be mended. GU refinement in itself was a dangerous task, not unlike a heated battle. Let alone when refining immortal GU. This time, Fang Yuan had failed in GU refinement because of his rebirth. Suffering serious injuries was to be expected. What made Fang Yuan feel even more regret was that the success Dao mark, which he had obtained after painstaking efforts in the refinement path convention and a difficult journey to reach the top ranks, was destroyed. This gave Fang Yuan some insight. Previously, the reason I failed in refining Star Thought Immortal GU was not because there was a problem in my method, but the subtle aspect of mutual fusion of the Dao marks of each immortal material, which is not something one can control. This is one of the crucial reasons for the low success rate in refining immortal GU. The greatest use of success Dao marks is to influence this aspect, to let the Dao marks of the immortal materials fuse together and reach the standard for the GU refinement. Thus, when I began refining immortal GU, the success Dao mark was consumed, turning into a special type of immortal material that assisted in refinement. Last time, there was no mishap and I was able to refine change form immortal GU, the aid of the success Dao mark was immeasurable. But this time, because of my rebirth, this highly likely refinement was messed up. Thinking of this, Fang Yuan felt some irony. It was not that with the success Dao mark, the GU refinement would succeed no matter how it was done. If the GU master was purposely trying to fail, intentionally using wrong refinement methods, then it would be certain failure. Success Dao marks were not all powerful. Earlier, why did Fang Yuan intentionally choose star form blessed land to refine the immortal GU? It was because he was afraid of being disturbed by outside forces, which could cause the GU refinement to fail. Once the refinement failed, the immortal materials would be lost. Injuries were a small matter, the main thing was that the success Dao mark would also be destroyed. Fang Yuan was reborn, and it just so happened to be during the process of refining change form immortal GU, this doomed him to failure. Nothing could be done about it now. Last time, change form immortal GU had been refined successfully, but now it had failed. I have been reborn, and although I have the advantage of future knowledge, accurately speaking, it doesn't mean a path to success. But this rebirth gave me huge advantages. Losing a success Dao mark is inconsequential. Fang Yuan soon sorted out his mood, and stabilized his mindset. Fixed immortal travel. Fang Yuan activated the immortal GU and returned to Hu Immortal Blessed Land. In the past, he was anxious, but now he knew that there would still be a while before Central Continent made a breakthrough with the matter of 88 Truyong building. He could be more at ease. Although he had his previous life's experience, Fang Yuan had always been the one to consider everything before taking action. An impetuous person would absolutely be unable to reach his current stage. How would he use the countless disorderly clues in his current resources to obtain the maximum benefits? This was the main question Fang Yuan needed to consider. An immortal zombie had slower thought processes. Fang Yuan stepped in the light of wisdom to ponder. Compared to his previous life, his wisdom path attainment had already reached Grandmaster level. He had even thought of a small GU formation that could let him use the light of wisdom more efficiently and save a large amount of time. In just half a day, Fang Yuan finished pondering over the question. An immortal zombie did not need to eat or drink. Although he was injured, Fang Yuan had to make use of every minute and second. Fixed immortal travel. He immediately activated this immortal GU to secretly return to southern border. Using his methods, he removed most of the aura of the immortal GU, then he quietly approached Yitian Mountain. Fang Yuan was familiar with the surrounding 10,000 li of Yitian Mountain. In his previous life, an unprecedented gambling contest had been held on Yitian Mountain. Fang Yuan had also participated in it. As time passed, the range of the Forbidden Zone for immortals had continued to expand, and Fang Yuan had to constantly move farther away, along with the southern border GU immortals. Thus, he was very familiar with the scenery near Yitian Mountain. Yitian Mountain. At this moment, it was still only a nameless mountain peak. Before Fang Yuan's arrival, there had just been rain over this mountain. The future Yitian Mountain was tall and beautiful, with lush trees and deep valleys. A rainbow appeared above and life seemed to brimming with vitality. Fang Yuan gazed from afar, moving in carefully and full of expectations. If Fang Yuan was asked what was it that enticed him the most after rebirth, it was no doubt Yitian Mountain, under which was buried the immortal Gu House graceful chaotic dual stage, and the suppressed rank 8 great strength true martial immortal zombie. The significance of the latter to Fang Yuan did not need to be said. Although last time, this rank 8 great strength true martial immortal zombie had actually leapt out, getting rid of graceful chaotic dual stage's suppression, as long as I can successfully refine the immortal Gu House and become its new owner, I can continue to suppress him. If I can obtain graceful chaotic dual stage, Fang Yuan licked his lips as he thought of this. An immortal Gu House was no small matter. Immortal Gu houses and ancient battle formations, they were the highest achievements of formation path. Among them, ancient battle formations were gradually eliminated over the course of time, and immortal Gu houses had become mainstream. Whether it be southern border, northern plains, eastern sea, western desert or central continent, all powerful super forces had at least one immortal Gu house as their trump card. Like He tribe, Dark Prison was their symbol as well as a powerful trump card. In Fang Yuan's previous life, after Dark Prison had been lost, to seize it back, even the 4 supreme elders of He tribe had risked going out and chasing He Chang. Dark Prison was only a rank 6 immortal Gu house and He tribe had been so anxious to take it back. The significance of immortal Gu houses could be seen from this. And graceful chaotic dual stage, which was buried deep under Yitian Mountain, was not only of higher rank than Dark Prison, a mysterious Gu immortal had used its power to forcibly challenge someone of a higher rank and succeeded in suppressing a rank 8 expert, one who furthermore possessed the great strength true martial physique. The value of graceful chaotic dual stage was clearly many times higher than Dark Prison. Thinking back to my previous life, the profound ice house used by Shark Demon and Subai Man was only an incomplete immortal Gu house, but it could repeatedly break through the hindrance of the battlefield killer moves and escape. If I can obtain this graceful chaotic dual stage, even if I can't reach the level of moving unhindered in the world, in the future, when the truth is exposed and I am hunted down by Central Continent, Northern Plains and others, I can protect myself and intimidate other immortals. An immortal Gu house was a fortress for battle, it did not have any shortcomings and covered all aspects of attack, defense, movement, healing and even assistance in cultivation. It was structurally stable, and was easy to control. A rank 7 immortal Gu house could be controlled by a rank 6 Gu immortal as well. However, immortal Gu houses had 2 major flaws, one was feeding and the second was immortal essence. An immortal Gu house was constructed from many immortal Gu and vast numbers of mortal Gu. Feeding these Gu worms was naturally extremely troublesome and a huge burden. But Fang Yuan knew that graceful chaotic dual stage seemed to involve food path in its construction, and the feeding problem could be disregarded. Next was the immortal essence. To activate an immortal Gu house, the amount of immortal essence consumed would be a gigantic number. Just with Fang Yuan's capability, he would not be able to bear it. In his previous life, when Shark Demon had no choice but to activate Profound Ice House, all the immortal zombies had to share the burden of immortal essence consumption, and the amount of consumption had greatly distressed everyone. The price to activate an immortal Gu house was huge. Because the amount of immortal essence consumed was extremely high. Fang Yuan was now in a poor state, he had staked it all and used up all his assets to barely be able to gather one set of immortal materials for refining change form immortal Gu. And now, he had failed the refinement, losing most of the immortal materials, he had little money in possession. Even though he had many rich income sources like the Guts Gu trade, earning 1,000 immortal essence stones every month, half of a year of accumulating this income would not be enough to activate the immortal Gu house for even 30 seconds. But none of these mattered. Fang Yuan had very little green grape immortal essence, but he had large amounts of Giant Sun's immortal essence. This could be traced back to Imperial Court Blessed Land. Giant Sun Immortal Venerable was rank 9, the immortal essence he had left behind was the yellow apricot immortal essence that only rank 9 Venerables could form. The quality of this immortal essence was countless times greater than green grape immortal essence, the difference between the two was like the gap between heaven and earth. Giant Sun's immortal essence could not be used by Fang Yuan himself, but the immortal Gu house could absorb it. Immortal Gu houses could absorb immortal essence of others, otherwise Shark Demon and the other immortal zombies would not be able to combine their powers to activate Profound Ice House. This was the fundamental characteristic of Immortal Gu House, integrating the power of a group of immortals into one. Fang Yuan had thought of this in his previous life. As far as he was concerned, Giant Sun's immortal essence was like water with a source or a tree without roots. The more it was used, the more it would be consumed, and it could not be replenished. Thus, the even more economical method was to gather many GU immortals to serve as a source of labor in activating the immortal GU house. Unfortunately, the southern border GU immortals had died too quickly. Or one could say Fang Yuan was not able to make it in time. Graceful chaotic dual stage had yet to be refined by anyone when the great strength true martial immortal zombie had broken out. This was a huge pity. If I have graceful chaotic dual stage, I could resist even that beam of life that was about to kill me. Fang Yuan had confidence. Graceful chaotic dual stage naturally was not Heaven Overseeing Tower's match, but Heaven Overseeing Tower's condition was not optimum. That light Pilar's might had been reduced after being whittled down by the 10 extreme immortal zombie lifeless formation. With graceful chaotic dual stage, although he could not say, with a house in hand, the world is mine, it was enough to say, with a house in hand, advancing or retreating is up to me. With a house in hand, the world is mine. The rank 888 Truyong building could be said to be one such example. It was specialized in plundering GU worms, even immortal GU. The rank 8 refinement cauldron was another one. Compared to the immortal GU house graceful chaotic dual stage, self-strength immortal GU, all-out effort immortal GU, star thought immortal GU, all of them seemed unimportant. As long as he had the immortal GU house, with Giant Sun's immortal essence, Fang Yuan could use his rank 6 bottom tier cultivation level and immortal zombie body to forcibly fight rank 8s, directly becoming one of the strongest experts. Just thinking about it gives me a bit of excitement. Fang Yuan carefully inspected his surroundings, and after confirming there was no one around, he immediately drilled into the ground, entering deep into the earth. Chapter 972, Rebirth Plans. What's going on? Where is graceful chaotic dual stage? Fang Yuan was filled with doubts and disappointment. After he was reborn, he had almost immediately hurried to Yitian Mountain, thinking of getting this immortal GU house. But when he searched under the ground, he discovered that graceful chaotic dual stage was simply not present. Even that rank 8 great strength true martial immortal zombie could not be found. Could it be that there were other reasons behind the appearance of graceful chaotic dual stage? I came early, so the opportunity was not available. Fang Yuan frowned as he pondered. He had guessed correctly. Previously, the reason graceful chaotic dual stage appeared was due to Bai Ningbing. He had activated a mysterious immortal GU, and this immortal GU had been given to him by old man Yanxi. Fang Yuan naturally did not know this detail. He also did not have this immortal GU, so he could not find any trace of graceful chaotic dual stage. If graceful chaotic dual stage was simply buried under the ground, then it would probably have already been discovered by others. How would it remain up until now? Without any other choice, Fang Yuan could only leave quietly. He was unable to obtain graceful chaotic dual stage. As such, Fang Yuan had to modify his plans and put it aside for the moment, carrying out his other ideas first. After moving a long distance from Yitian Mountain, Fang Yuan carefully activated Immortal GU fixed Immortal Travel. The Immortal Gu's aura leaked, jade green radiance flashed. The next moment, Fang Yuan disappeared from southern border, and appeared in that giant formation in Northern Plains Earth Trench. This giant formation was a space path formation. The space inside it was extremely large. In his previous life, Fang Yuan had used fixed immortal travel to enter here. In this life, he had once again used fixed immortal travel to enter here. There were no mishaps or setbacks. Moreover, this time, he directly entered the central area of the GU formation. This was a large, desolate land of purple sand. In this desolate land, some rarely seen and extremely valuable immortal materials were spread. His memories were still very clear. Fang Yuan did not even need to put in the effort to search. He directly ran to each key area and collected the immortal materials. These immortal materials were of extremely high rank. They were basically all at rank 8, and there were even some top quality rank 8 materials with such dense Dao marks that their light could be seen with naked eyes. Like the tiger-striped honeybee's wings, the fragment of the immemorial desolate beast cloud phoenix's body. Altogether, 18 immortal materials ended up in Fang Yuan's hands once again. He then moved to the middle of the desolate land of purple sand, where he discovered those multi-layered GU formations once again. He carefully inspected the contents and saw it was just like his previous life. He left the GU formations as they were, but destroyed all the crucial thoughts. Fang Yuan naturally did not intend to leave the life and death immortal aperture method for others. Before leaving, Fang Yuan gave the place a final glance, sighing inwardly. He knew that outside the desolate land of purple sand, There were large numbers of desolate plants and desolate beast corpses, but these immortal materials only looked impressive. Once they were picked up, they would all turn into purple sand. Thus, Fang Yuan did not even look at them. In his previous life, he had to painstakingly scheme, joining Zombie Alliance's headquarters first, then after being schemed by Blazing Heaven Demoness, he was thrown into Northern Plains Dark Flow Giant City. He had to deceive several immortal zombies before he was able to enter Earth Trench. He kept on scheming the whole way, not hesitating to be swallowed by the mouth earthworm, then arriving at the nest of Yaksha octopuses, searching painstakingly, taking the risk to unravel a small portion of the GU formation before he was finally able to enter this hidden space. But this life, because of rebirth, he went straight to his destination, getting the maximum benefits while spending the least amount of time and energy. The whole process was very simple, it was like a dream. Using fixed immortal travel again, Fang Yuan left the place and returned to Hu Immortal Blessed Land. Change form Immortal Gu's refinement failed. Not only was the success Dao mark lost, most of the immortal materials were also destroyed. To prepare for this single refinement of change form Immortal GU, he had taken out all his assets. After rebirth, he could be said to be dirt poor. But now, he had these precious immortal materials as very timely assistance. These immortal materials were extremely valuable. If their value was to be maximized, it would undoubtedly be by keeping them until a time when Fang Yuan refined rank 8 Immortal GU. However, the time needed for this was too long. Fang Yuan's cultivation was still at the bottom tier of rank 6, advancing to rank 8 was a distant prospect and not within the foreseeable future. Fang Yuan had already considered how to make full use of these immortal materials. Like in his previous life, Fang Yuan put several of the immortal materials in Treasure Yellow Heaven, causing a huge commotion among the GU immortals. Even in Treasure Yellow Heaven, these immortal materials were extremely rare and were very sought after. Fang Yuan easily traded them for the things he wanted, and fed all the immortal GU he had, except for Self-Strength Immortal GU and Wisdom GU. Taking a look over the immortal GU Fang Yuan had. Strength Path. Self-Strength, Pulling Mountain, Pulling Water, Iron Crown Eagle Strength, Eat Strength. Star Path. Star Shoot, Star Mark, Starlight. Luck Path. Connect Luck, Time Luck, Calamity Beckoning. Besides these, there was also his first vital GU, Spring Autumn Cicada, the extremely practical Space Path Immortal GU, Fixed Immortal Travel, the less frequently used Poison Path Immortal GU, Woman's Heart, a Soul Path Immortal GU, Cleanse Soul and a Wisdom Path Immortal GU, Unravel Mystery. In his previous life, Fang Yuan had change form Immortal GU at this time. But after rebirth, the refinement had failed, and change form Immortal GU did not exist. As for the rank 9 Wisdom GU, Fang Yuan could not refine it, so it was temporarily placed in Hu Immortal Blessed Land. Thus, whether it could be considered Fang Yuan's Immortal GU was debatable. Normally, most rank 6 GU immortals only had Mortal GU and not even one Immortal GU. The number of Immortal GU Fang Yuan had already numbered 16, without counting Wisdom GU. As such, the burden of feeding the Immortal GU was extremely heavy and had always been on Fang Yuan's mind. The feeding issue of the Immortal GU was resolved for now. Fang Yuan could relax for the moment. Land Spirit, Fang Yuan softly spoke in the secret room. Master, I am here. The Land Spirit Little Hu Immortal swiftly appeared, beaming with a smile, and hugged Fang Yuan's leg. Master, I didn't disturb you because you were busy, but I really missed you. Little Hu Immortal said while shaking her furry tail, before saying some childlike words, although Master has turned ugly. Fang Yuan laughed, stroking Little Hu Immortal's head as he instructed her. Go command all the hairy men in the stone nests to start refining only air sac GU. Yes, Master, Little Hu Immortal immediately replied. You can leave now. Okay, Little Hu Immortal gazed at Fang Yuan with a reluctant look, before disappearing. Fang Yuan's thoughts shifted, as he activated Fixed Immortal Travel, leaving Hu Immortal Blessed Land. When he appeared again, he was already at Langya Blessed Land. At this time, Langya Land Spirit had not changed his nature, and was still that long-robed, white hair, and seemingly sage-like land spirit. Why are you here? That immortal material I wanted, did you get it? If you didn't, then there is no need for discussion. Langya Land Spirit waved his large sleeves and spoke with a cold and detached expression when he saw Fang Yuan. Because of his excessive demands, Fang Yuan's relationship with Langya Land Spirit had already turned cold. Fang Yuan wanted to request for Langya Land Spirit's help, but Langya Land Spirit's condition was extremely harsh, asking Fang Yuan to get a type of immortal material. And this immortal material's origin was from the immemorial 9 heavens, and was extremely rare even in treasure yellow heaven. If not for this, Lang Ya Land Spirit would not have asked Fang Yuan to do this. Of course I have it, take a look. Fang Yuan laughed, not minding Lang Ya Land Spirit's cold attitude. You really got it. Lang Ya Land Spirit looked at the immortal material in Fang Yuan's hand, his expression immediately relaxed and his tone revealed his incredulous feelings. Clearly, he had not been optimistic about Fang Yuan's chances. Rightfully so. The task of getting this immortal material had already surpassed Fang Yuan's capabilities. At least, that was the case in his previous life. But in this life, after Fang Yuan was reborn, he made use of the rank 8 immortal materials in his hands. Why would he fear not being able to purchase goods of this level? Fang Yuan handed the poisonous flower petals to Lang Ya Land Spirit. I need a certain amount of exert strength GU and disappointment GU, along with large numbers of star thought GU. Fang Yuan already knew. Lang Ya Blessed Land was extremely special, the space inside was so large that it had already surpassed most grotto heavens. This was because Lang Ya Land Spirit had merged the rank 8 immortal GU house, refinement cauldron, into the whole blessed land. Countless hairy men lived here, the number beyond imagination. The land of cloud soil in front of him was only a layer of clouds in Lang Ya Blessed Land. Under this layer were 3 continents, where large numbers of hairy men lived. Specializing in GU refinement, they selected talents, living and working in peace and happiness. With the help of these hairy men, it was extremely simple for Lang Ya Land Spirit to refine exert strength GU, disappointment GU and star thought GU. On the basis of this immortal material, I will do you this favor. Lang Ya Land Spirit replied, before adding, but next time, I hope to get scales of the half-moon Qilin, at least 30 of them. Otherwise, I won't agree to any of your requests. His tone was still rather frigid, but his expression was no longer cold. Fang Yuan nodded, and without speaking further, he activated fixed immortal travel and left. He possessed the life and death immortal aperture revival method, as well as a strength path version of Nirvana fire, so he could get rid of the immortal zombie body and become a living person. But for the moment, Fang Yuan had no plans to do so. Becoming alive would only mean having the potential to advance, his cultivation would still be at the bottom tier of rank 6. He would also lose his immortal zombie body, and his battle strength would instead decrease. More importantly, Fang Yuan did not have much lifespan left, and thus would not be able to use the light of wisdom. Fang Yuan asked Lang Ya Land Spirit to refine exert strength GU and disappointment GU as early preparations for the future. What he had paid for this was an immortal material, while Lang Ya Land Spirit was only refining mortal GU. Although the numbers were somewhat huge, Fang Yuan had still incurred a loss. But Fang Yuan did not seriously concern himself with it. He had his own plans regarding Lang Ya Land Spirit, but it was not the time for them yet. Fang Yuan left Lang Ya Blessed Land, directly arriving at a certain village in central continent. There was an extraordinary tree here. It was a spring dream fruit tree. It indeed still exists. Fang Yuan hid his figure and inspected it, feeling some joy. In his previous life, he had obtained information about this tree from Mo Yao's will, but before he could collect the spring dream fruits, this tree was cut down by someone. But after rebirth, Fang Yuan had no need to join Zombie Alliance and search for the revival method. He was able to come here half a year early, making up for a regret in his previous life. Chapter 973, Spring Dream Fruit Tree. Spring dream fruit trees were a very special type of plant. They could be any kind of fruit tree, but only extremely few fruit trees could become spring dream fruit trees. One of these spring dream fruit trees was next to a farmer's home. The head of the family was an old man, known as Old Man Chen. Son, in half a year, you will be married. I will build a house for you. The main girder of the house will be built using this fire date tree. Old Man Chen stood in front of the tree, and patted its thick bark, as he spoke to his son who was at the side. The son looked at this date tree and gave a thumbs up, pleased. Father, this is a good idea. This date tree is older than the history of our village. I remember that it has already stopped producing dates. It will be useless even if it keeps on growing. Cutting it down to construct the main girder for my house will be putting it to good use. Fang Yuan coldly snorted. He was standing not far away, but was invisible. Old Man Chen and his son, who were not even GU masters, were unable to sense him. Finding out by chance the reason for the spring dream fruit tree being cut down, Fang Yuan inwardly frowned. This spring dream fruit tree's existence was supported by this date tree. A true spring dream fruit tree was a tree that existed in dreams and did not have a material body. But it required a real tree to be the foundation for it to live long. This date tree was several thousand years old, only old trees like this could be used by the spring dream fruit tree. Naturally, the specific requirements involved not just age. Humans needed to be living near the tree. The dreams of these humans from generation after generation would nourish the spring dream fruit tree. In history, this place was once the base of a volcano. Because the volcano erupted every several hundred years, the large amounts of volcanic ash created fertile soil in the surroundings. Attracted by the excellent natural farmland, there would be people migrating now and then. They would gradually form villages, which would later be destroyed by the volcanic eruptions. Fire date trees were extremely resistant to heat, they could even resist lava, thus they were able to continue existing. If the date tree was cut down, the spring dream fruit tree would be destroyed. But to move the date tree, there needed to be corresponding dream path methods to move the spring dream fruit tree at the same time, otherwise Fang Yuan would only obtain an ordinary date tree and not the spring dream fruit tree. Fang Yuan did not have methods to move the spring dream fruit tree. Currently, it was not possible for him to even pick the spring dream fruits. He would need to refine some dream path mortal GU that were targeted at picking the fruits. In the past, Mo Yao seemed to have recognized the extraordinariness of this tree, but due to her limited knowledge, or perhaps she also sensed that casually picking the tree would not work, she chose to leave it behind. It seems I still need to preserve the living environment of this spring dream fruit tree for some time. Fang Yuan flicked a finger, 2 wills separately drilled into the minds of old man Chen and his son. The son suddenly let out tears. Father, let's not cut down this tree. Even if it can't produce dates anymore, I want to keep on seeing it. It has accompanied me as I have grown. When I was young, I urinated on the tree. When I got slightly older, I built a swing on it. Let's forget about cutting it down. Sigh. All right. Old man Chen's eyes had also reddened, nodding emotionally. Then let it continue to grow here. We will choose another tree. Although there is not any that is as tall as this one, they will be enough for the main girder of the new house. After dealing with the mortals' thoughts, Fang Yuan arranged a GU formation here to protect the spring dream fruit tree. In the meantime, he would have to refine some corresponding dream path mortal GU to pick up the fruits. This required time. Almost all the refinement materials for dream path mortal GU were derived from dream realm. According to how my previous life went, after refining change form immortal GU, I helped Tai Bai Yunsheng pass his tribulation, then participated in the battle to defend Langya blessed land. After the battle, I took up the identity of Xing Shangzi to enter Eastern Sea and participate in the invasion of Yulu blessed land. In this process, because of the collapse of Starry Sky Grotto Heaven, I was invited by Immortal Crane sect to invade a fragment world of the Grotto Heaven. After this matter, Blazing Heaven Demoness appeared, defeating the immemorial desolate beast One Finger Flow Shark. I was forcefully recruited by Blazing Heaven Demoness, then returned to Northern Plains and obtained the Earth Trench inheritance. After that, I took part in killing He Chang, then was forced to set a new agreement with Blazing Heaven Demoness and the others, then we went on to seize Luopo Valley. Finally, I took part in the Battle of Yitian Mountain. This time, after my rebirth luckily succeeded, my main objective is still the Immortal GU House Graceful Chaotic Duel stage. As long as I can become the owner of this Immortal GU House, I can smoothly suppress the rank 8 Great Strength True Martial Immortal Zombie. In that case, my gains will be huge. Although Fang Yuan's plan of taking the Immortal GU House early had failed, how could one failure shake his resolution? Graceful Chaotic Duel stage had not appeared now, then he could only wait for the moment it appeared. Originally, Fang Yuan's plan had been to take the Immortal GU House, then suppress the rank 8 Great Strength True Martial Immortal Zombie. He would wait until the alliance agreement expired, then he would use the Immortal GU House to deal with He Lu Lan, Fairy Li Shan and Blazing Heaven Demoness. Maybe he could even borrow the rank 8 Immortal GU House, Refinement Cauldron, from Langya Blessed Land, and seize their Immortal GU, obtaining the greatest benefits. However, he could not do that now. Without the Immortal GU House, Fang Yuan's strength was clearly weaker than He Lu Lan's side. Even if he had many plans and plots, without strength, they could not come to fruition. After all, He Lu Lan was also a formidable character, she was not someone who could be trifled with easily. This was clear from when she killed her own father, then disguised herself to enter He tribe. Fang Yuan's original plan was wonderful, but reality was cruel. Fang Yuan made calculations on the basis of the worst possible situation. If Graceful Chaotic Duel stage appeared at the same time as in his previous life, then he would be unable to covertly take this Immortal GU House. The likelihood of this was huge. When graceful chaotic duel stage appeared, it produced a grand sight. The battle scene of that day in history kept on being displayed. If that is the case, then I can only follow my previous life, and participate in the gambling contest between the southern border GU Immortals, and personally entering the demonic path side on Yitian Mountain. If he went in like this, the risks would be extremely huge. He would have to face the GU Immortals of southern border, Shadow Sect, and also Heavenly Court. It would be entering great danger. But how can there be gains without any danger? Fang Yuan was cautious, but he did not lack the mindset to take risks. The huge benefits had already made him resolve to take the risk. He had been reborn, and had plenty of experiences and knowledge of his previous life. If he did not dare to conspire, then Fang Yuan considered this to simply be cowardly. Since the protection of the Spring Dream Fruit Tree has been ensured, I can put it aside for the moment. I should change my plans. I need to ally with He Lu Lan again. Fang Yuan had self-strength Immortal GU, Blazing Heaven Demoness would definitely target him. If Fang Yuan obtained the Immortal GU house early, then he would not be afraid of Blazing Heaven Demoness. But the situation happened to be different now. Fang Yuan needed to obtain the Immortal GU house, and in the process, he might have to face the southern border GU Immortals, Shadow Sect and Heavenly Court. Now, he needed the strength of others. Tai Bai Yun Sheng, He Lu Lan, Fairy Li Shan, Blazing Heaven Demoness and others, especially Blazing Heaven Demoness, with her rank 8 cultivation, she could add much power to the Immortal GU house. In his previous life, Fang Yuan had suffered from going in alone without help. When Shadow Sect mobilized, He Lu Lan and Fairy Li Shan were both in Shaohun Blessed Land, using Luopo Valley to cultivate their soul. And Tai Bai Yun Sheng was still in Eastern Sea. Naturally, it was also because Fang Yuan had intentionally concealed it from He Lu Lan, Fairy Li Shan and the others, sneaking into Yitian Mountain alone. Even if Fang Yuan revived, he would only have rank 6 bottom-tier cultivation. To advance to rank 7, he needed to go through many earthly calamities and 3 heavenly tribulations. In the Blessed Land's time, it would take 300 years. There was clearly not enough time for Fang Yuan to do this. Of course, he could also devour Hu Immortal Blessed Land and Star Form Blessed Land, but his body had a Strength Path Immortal Aperture which did not relate to these Blessed Lands. Right now, the utmost priority was to turn enemies into allies and strategize from there. Fang Yuan wanted to eliminate He Lu Lan and the others, but this kind of impatience could spoil his grand scheme. There were many times when one needed to compromise. To accomplish one's aims in the world, it was necessary for any person to compromise, and to learn how to compromise. No matter how high someone's position was, they would need to follow this. Giving up small benefits for greater benefits, this was a display of a person's growth. Using fixed immortal travel again, Fang Yuan returned to Hu Immortal Blessed Land. In his previous life, when Fang Yuan wanted to target He Lu Lan, she had already left to Immortal Blessed Land for the outside world. Her tracks were concealed, and as such Fang Yuan was not able to make a move against her. But in this life, at this time, He Lu Lan still was staying in Hu Immortal Blessed Land. She was using her Strength Chi Immortal GU to help the hairy men in the stone nests to refine Airsac GU. When Fang Yuan found He Lu Lan, she was within a stone nest. She was holding an Information Path Mortal GU in her hand, frowning at the information brought by the GU worm. Seeing Fang Yuan, He Lu Lan raised the Information Path Mortal GU and asked, "Did you hear about the matter of the 10 great ancient sects of Central Continent ambushing Song Zixing?" Fang Yuan smiled lightly. "Of course I did. This matter can be kept secret from mortals, but it cannot be hidden from GU Immortals. Even though Central Continent's 10 great ancient sects are hiding their traces, the other GU Immortals in Central Continent would not want to keep this a secret. Right now, they are looking forward to seeing some drama in the 10 great ancient sects." "Oh," He Lu Lan sighed deeply. "Such a prime opportunity, but we missed it. If we could kill Song Zixing during this period, we might be able to obtain Star Form Blessed Land." Fang Yuan glanced at He Lu Lan, sighing internally, this person really is formidable. She already had attitude GU, but had restrained herself. Not only was he not informed, she did not even inform her closest friend and relative, her Aunt Fairy Li Shan. To deceive the enemy, one had to start from deceiving those they were closest to. But Fang Yuan was like her. He had obtained possession of Star Form Blessed Land, but had deliberately concealed the information, keeping He Lu Lan in the dark. In his previous life, were it not for Blazing Heaven Demoness, this secret would not have been revealed. It was because Fang Yuan and He Lu Lan were similar kinds of people, that Fang Yuan appreciated He Lu Lan while also being apprehensive at the same time. If possible, he truly wanted to get rid of her and get rid of her quickly. But destiny worked in mysterious ways. Fang Yuan had to deepen his collaboration with He Lulan to obtain the Immortal Gu House graceful chaotic duel stage. Therefore, at the next moment, Fang Yuan took out Self-Strength Immortal Gu, placing it in his hand and holding it out for He Lulan. Chapter 974. Difficult Interaction with He Lulan. Self-Strength Immortal Gu. Fang Yuan's action shook He Lulan's mind. This Immortal Gu was originally hers, but because she failed her tribulation, she had been trapped in a dream realm and was later saved by Fang Yuan. The result was that this Immortal Gu became the price for saving He Lulan, ending up in Fang Yuan's hands. This self-strength Immortal Gu had huge significance to He Lulan. Not only was it very suitable for He Lulan as she possessed the great strength true martial physique and cultivated strength path, this self-strength Immortal Gu had been refined by He Lulan's mother, Su Xian, and was a memento she left to He Lulan. Thus, self-strength Immortal Gu had extremely great importance to He Lulan. He Lulan had been extremely unwilling to give it, but she had no other choice. She thought about this Immortal Gu day and night, and really wished she could seize it back from Fang Yuan. However, she had restrained this impulse. On one hand, it was because Gu worms were very difficult to take away and could be destroyed with a thought from their owner. On another hand, it was because He Lulan was astute. She deeply understood there was an art called compromise when interacting with people. He Lulan and Fang Yuan were natural allies. He Lulan still needed to rely on the Guts Gu business to support her cultivation. Working together created benefits, while being enemies formed losses, so He Lulan had continued to endure. Besides the first meeting after waking up, He Lulan had not raised any objection towards Fang Yuan having self-strength Immortal Gu. It was as if she had already forgotten this. She had deep shrewdness. But now, Fang Yuan was suddenly handing over the self-strength Immortal Gu, like he was returning it to its rightful owner. He Lulan was caught unprepared and was unable to conceal her desire. But at once, He Lulan calmed down, her frown deepened as she fixed her sharp gaze on Fang Yuan. She had already snapped back to awareness, and she was filled with vigilance. She knew Fang Yuan's nature, and just like Fang Yuan, who had both appreciation and apprehension towards her, she also felt the same about Fang Yuan. Why would Fang Yuan hand over self-strength Immortal Gu for no reason? This is impossible. Then what is he planning? As if seeing He Lulan's doubts, Fang Yuan chuckled, "Don't be nervous. Self-strength Immortal Gu is rather suitable for me as well, but I believe this Immortal Gu is more important to you. Like they say, a gentleman doesn't take advantage of others, isn't that the case?" He Lulan's eyes flashed with dark light. She glanced at the self-strength Immortal Gu in Fang Yuan's hand, before fixing her gaze on Fang Yuan, sneering, "You are a gentleman. Just say what you want to say." Fang Yuan rubbed his nose. "If I speak directly, I am afraid it will scare you." He Lulan snorted. "Just tell me." Fang Yuan's eyes flickered, speaking in a serious tone, "Then I won't beat around the bush. I want to use this self-strength Immortal Gu to trade for your attitude Gu." "What?" He Lulan's body shook, the ferocious glint in her eyes increased, and she almost took a step back involuntarily. "I have kept the matter of acquiring attitude Gu extremely secret. How did he know? I hid it from even little Ant. Besides heaven and earth, only I know." The shock He Lulan felt was hard to express. This was her greatest secret, but it was suddenly exposed by Fang Yuan. She could not help being shocked. Killing intent surged inside her, subconsciously wanting to attack Fang Yuan. To eliminate the person who knows her secret. This was the nature of ferocious characters. However, at this time, Fang Yuan took the initiative to retreat a step. This movement was simple, but had subtle effects on He Lulan's current mentality. He Lulan was like a frightened beast, but Fang Yuan moved away some distance and showed a harmless smile, emitting good intention, making He Lulan feel safer. He Lulan's eyes squinted into a slit, fixing her gaze at Fang Yuan. Her expression was cold as ice, her killing intent had not dispelled yet, instead it was restrained for now. "It seems you truly possess the legendary attitude Gu." Fang Yuan pretended to be observing her expression, and spoke with a surprised tone. He Lulan stared blankly before speaking in fury. "You tricked me." "Of course not." Fang Yuan smiled bitterly, shrugging his shoulders. "Do you still remember my master, Purple Mountain True Monarch?" He Lulan took a deep breath. Hearing the name of Purple Mountain True Monarch again, she was filled with wariness. She knew this Purple Mountain True Monarch. Fang Yuan was his disciple and so was Tai Bai Yunsheng. That was the reason why Fang Yuan called Tai Bai Yunsheng senior brother. Of course, all this was false information. In his previous life, even Blazing Heaven Demoness had been deceived. It was your master who informed you? He Lulan asked. Her killing intent went down to rock bottom. From her view, Fang Yuan had huge backing. It was very difficult to kill Fang Yuan, let alone Purple Mountain True Monarch, who was not someone she could handle. After all, at this time, Fairy Li Shan had yet to fully reconcile with Blazing Heaven Demoness. Fang Yuan chuckled. What do you think? He Lulan snorted, thoughts churning in her mind. Purple Mountain True Monarch actually knows my secret, he indeed has vast powers and is unfathomable. Fortunately, we have set an agreement with Fang Yuan, but Fang Yuan is really scheming. No matter how important self-strength Immortal GU is, it is only a rank 6 Immortal GU, how could it be traded for my attitude GU? HMPH. He Lulan immediately refused Fang Yuan's suggestion. My attitude GU is a rank 8 Immortal GU. As long as it is someone with a thinking mind, they can wear it and use it. It is a legendary GU worm recorded in the less than the legends of Ren Zhu greater than. You are actually thinking of using the rank 6 self-strength Immortal GU to trade for my attitude GU. Hee, aren't you daydreaming? Fang Yuan pondered it before speaking. Then how will you trade for it? Not trading, He Lulan immediately replied firmly. Fang Yuan's expression sank, letting out a dangerous aura. He Lulan, think properly, I will remind you this is my territory, my Hu Immortal blessed land. He Lulan laughed loudly. Ha ha ha, so what? Don't forget the agreement between us, it has not ended yet, allies cannot attack each other. Of course, He Lulan added, you have your master's backing, maybe you have already undone your restrictions. But do you think I, He Lulan, am afraid of death? You underestimate me too much. Even if I die here, I will destroy all my GU worms before I die. Also, I know all about the resources that are in your Hu Immortal blessed land. After the battle, how many of these resources will remain? Tai Bai Yunsheng's landscape as before cannot restore these resources. Fang Yuan could not help but laugh. In his previous life, he had threatened Blazing Heaven Demoness by showing a fearless stance towards death. This life, after he was reborn, He Lulan was using the same method to pressure him, and he similarly had to accept and go along with it. Fang Yuan's expression changed, laughing and clapping. He Lulan, I wouldn't dare to underestimate you, it was only a joke. Using a rank 6 Immortal GU in exchange for a rank 8, your joke only reveals your greed and stupidity. He Lulan coldly berated, without giving any face to Fang Yuan. Fang Yuan's eyes flickered with sharp light. Then I will add some more on the table, how about I give up in contesting for Star Form Blessed Land? He Lulan shook her head, giving up in contesting for it. Even if you hand over both Hu Immortal Blessed Land and Star Form Blessed Land to me, I won't trade it. Attitude GU is not only a rank 8 Immortal GU, the requirements to use it are very minimal, it doesn't need Immortal Essence and only consumes mental energy. That means, even I, a rank 6 GU Immortal, can use this rank 8 Immortal GU. This kind of Immortal GU is a peerless treasure, I absolute won't give it up. Don't mention trading for it. Fang Yuan, you are a smart person, you won't make useless efforts, right? Fang Yuan nodded, sighing. I understand. Then I shall take a step back, I want to use self-strength Immortal GU to exchange for your slavery Immortal GU. He Lulan's eyebrows raised. She had a slavery Immortal GU, she had obtained it during the final moments in Imperial Court Blessed Land, after deceiving Giant Sun's will. He Lulan sank into silence, Fang Yuan's offer enticed her. As far as she was concerned, self-strength Immortal GU's value was undoubtedly far above slavery Immortal GU. He Lulan gazed at Fang Yuan's eyes. My slavery Immortal GU is only rank 6. You are using rank 6 in exchange for rank 6, this is feasible. But slavery Immortal GU cannot be used repeatedly, it can only be used once. Trading self-strength for slavery, don't you think you are losing out? Yes, there is some loss. Fang Yuan laughed, before raising a finger. So I still have a condition, I want to borrow attitude GU for some time. He Lulan did not reply, sinking into silence. Fang Yuan was trying all kinds of methods to borrow attitude GU, this made her acutely sense the importance of attitude GU to Fang Yuan. However, how much importance it had, He Lulan was not too sure, she needed to probe. Therefore, she refused, I will not lend attitude GU. Fang Yuan's expression sank, then forget it. He then turned around, leaving. He Lulan stood at her spot, watching coldly without moving. Fang Yuan moved several steps before stopping, turning around with a bitter smile as he faced He Lulan again. I only want to borrow attitude GU for 3 years. 3 years. I wouldn't agree even if it was 3 days. He Lulan's expression was cold and ruthless. Internally, however, she was excited. She saw an opportunity to rip off Fang Yuan. He Lulan's concealment was good, but she was in the end still young, and Fang Yuan was an old monster who had lived hundreds of years. Fang Yuan gave a displeased snort. How could he not know He Lulan's current thoughts? He threw out his trump card. It seems you don't want revenge. You have such a good opportunity in front of you to kill He Chang. But it feels like you don't want it. What? He Chang? He Lulan's eyes flashed with a ferocious glint, her expression fluctuating. Although He Chang was her own father, the hatred between them was so great, she would not rest until he was dead. Killing He Chang and taking revenge was already the greatest obsession of He Lulan. This obsession was so deep that it had affected her cultivation, becoming a permanent scar in her mind. In Fang Yuan's previous life, He Lulan had killed He Chang, got back the self-strength Immortal GU, dispelled the scar in her mind, and found her self, so when she activated Strength Path Phantoms, they turned into her appearance and not the brawny burly man. Chapter 975, New Alliance Agreement. The negotiation with He Lulan lasted for 6 hours. After it ended, even Fang Yuan with his immortal zombie body felt extremely exhausted. His pitiful immortal zombie mind could not think on its own easily, who knew how many thoughts he wasted in the process. He Lulan also wasn't better off. She felt this negotiation was much more exhausting than an intense battle of life and death. A feeling of weakness emitted from deep within her, her tongue went dry and she was feeling dizzy. After the negotiation, Fang Yuan brought over Tai Bai Yun Shang, and formed a new agreement with He Lulan and Fairy Li Shan. Fang Yuan handed over self-strength Immortal GU, trading for He Lulan's slavery Immortal GU, as well as borrowing attitude GU for 1 year. Fang Yuan also had to provide an opportunity to kill He Cheng for He Lulan and Fairy Li Shan. As for Star Form Blessed Land, everyone would continue to participate fairly. Besides these, Fang Yuan also obtained He Lulan's consent to connect their luck. The new agreement was tightly linked together in all aspects. Even Fairy Li Shan with her information path quasi-great-grand master attainment would need to spend several years to break the agreement. More importantly, it also took account of Blazing Heaven Demoness. There was a condition inside that stated more allies could be added, but the new allies must follow the agreement. Moreover, both sides could not get the help of external forces to target each other. Both sides would also have a one-time opportunity to request for support, and once used, the other side must be assisted. The compensation after the matter would be calculated according to the specific situation. The agreement was extremely stringent. The division of profits was stipulated in detail. Fang Yuan used He Lulan's apprehension towards Purple Mountain True Monarch, and his previous life's memories to reach his goal. One who could only fight was no more than a boor. Battles could not resolve all issues. Man is the spirit of all living beings. Humans possessed great wisdom. If they used this wisdom only to fight, they would be letting down this gift from heaven. After the agreement was made, Fang Yuan's situation had changed greatly. First of all, He Lulan was Fairy Black Moon, with vigorous luck that would not decline for a long time. Fang Yuan connected his luck with hers, offsetting Spring Autumn Cicada's flaw. Second, he was able to borrow the rank 8 attitude GU. This immortal GU was used in the past by Thieving Heaven Demon Venerable. It was the core GU of the legendary immortal killer move, Familiar Face. Back then, Thieving Heaven Demon Venerable had only been rank 6 GU immortal, but by using this killer move, he deceived 2 rank 8 GU immortals in a row, obtaining large amounts of treasures as well as causing the 2 rank 8 GU immortals to misunderstand each other, indirectly causing their deaths. Fang Yuan had lost change form immortal GU, but obtained attitude GU, which was countless times better. His improved vaguely familiar face killer move's effect would be sharply increased to an astonishing level. Fang Yuan was now confident of deceiving even rank 8 GU immortals. Lastly was Blazing Heaven Demoness. In his previous life, Blazing Heaven Demoness, this rank 8 GU immortal, had schemed against Fang Yuan. This life, Fang Yuan had reached a new agreement with Fairy Li Shan and others, which could be taken as stopping Blazing Heaven Demoness' scheme early. Blazing Heaven Demoness, guilt and affection towards He Lulan was her biggest weakness. Fang Yuan was planning to, inadvertently, make use of Blazing Heaven Demoness. Even if Blazing Heaven Demoness did not join the new alliance, when He Lulan falls into a predicament while assisting Fang Yuan, could Blazing Heaven Demoness do nothing? It could be said that He Lulan was the best tool to control Blazing Heaven Demoness. He Lulan's side is no longer an obstacle to me. After turning enemies into allies, my plans should now go much more smoothly. But He Lulan and the others are extremely shrewd, they are not easy to fool. They are now very satisfied with this new alliance agreement, but they will slowly realize the enormous advantage I am holding. At that time, they will definitely be displeased and may even try to go against me. Because of his previous life's memories, Fang Yuan was able to gain the advantage. But he had not removed his vigilance against He Lulan's side. Wait until I possess graceful chaotic dual stage, then the course will be set, the contrast between the strength of our sides will be overturned. Even if He Lulan's side is unsatisfied, they won't be able to create any problems. Fang Yuan did not hesitate on giving up self-strength Immortal GU, it was because he was planning for the Immortal GU house, graceful chaotic dual stage, and the great strength true martial Immortal zombie. With self-strength Immortal GU, he would only have the first style of myriad self, at best, his strength would only be rank 7. But with the Immortal GU house, Fang Yuan did not need to fear even rank 8s, easily advancing or retreating. After obtaining Attitude GU, Fang Yuan stored it in his own immortal aperture and moved to Langya Blessed Land. Langya Land Spirit was extremely surprised, asking, so quickly. You got what I wanted? No, Fang Yuan shook his head. Langya Land Spirit's expression immediately turned gloomy, shouting coldly, Fang Yuan, you brat, are you disregarding my words? Before you left last time, I told you Langya Blessed Land is not a place for you to come whenever you want. If you don't have the immortal material I want, then don't come bothering me. I won't agree to any of your requests. Is that so? Fang Yuan chuckled, his attitude calm. What if I want to use my final opportunity to request you to refine GU for me? Ah, Langya Land Spirit was staring blankly, lost for words. Fang Yuan had stolen Ma Hongyun's fortuitous encounter, arriving at Langya Blessed Land with the identity of an inheritor of Thieving Heaven. Because Long-Hair Ancestor had made an agreement with Thieving Heaven Demon Venerable, Langya Land Spirit had to refine GU 3 times for Fang Yuan without any costs. If refining mortal GU, Langya Land Spirit must guarantee the success of the GU refinement. If refining a mortal GU, Langya Land Spirit could fail, but the materials for the GU refinement must come from his own pockets. Fang Yuan had used 2 opportunities. The first was to refine Stargate GU. Although this GU worm was only a mortal GU, it had provided huge help to Fang Yuan at that time. The second was to refine second aperture GU. During the GU refinement process, Fang Yuan drank 4 types of fine wines, obtaining Divine Travel GU. Finally, he used Divine Travel GU to trade for Gruel Mud Immortal GU from Langya Land Spirit. Thus, Fang Yuan only had 1 remaining opportunity to request GU refinement. Langya Land Spirit said sternly, Kid, what GU do you want to refine? Fang Yuan laughed heartily, patting Langya Land Spirit's shoulder. I only said, if, I don't truly want to waste the 3rd opportunity now. Langya Land Spirit snorted, brushing away Fang Yuan's hand, and dusting off his clothing with extremely dislike. But in the end, he did not speak anymore. As long as Fang Yuan did not use his final opportunity, he could casually enter Langya Blessed Land. Langya Land Spirit knew this was Fang Yuan's warning towards him, even a verbal attack. But he was unable to do anything about it, so he felt very displeased. If you don't want to use the final chance, then leave quickly. Langya Land Spirit said, displeased. Fang Yuan unconcernedly shrugged his shoulders. Although I did not get the immortal material you mentioned, but I brought this. Take a look. The corners of Langya Land Spirit's lips curled up. Brat, you want to deceive me. HMPH, you think immortal materials can easily substitute for each other. I cannot. He suddenly stopped speaking. His eyes flew wide open, his gaze intensified sharply as it fixed upon the immortal material in Fang Yuan's hand. This immortal material naturally was not a simple one, it was a rank 8 immortal material Fang Yuan had picked up inside the GU formation in Earth Trench. Langya Land Spirit's eyes were captivated. This looks like fragment of the immemorial desolate beast Cloud Phoenix's body. Langya Land Spirit stuttered in an incredulous tone. Fang Yuan gave a thumbs up. As expected of Langya Land Spirit, you are correct. After I obtained this immortal material, I had to spend some effort before I found out its origin. As he said this, Fang Yuan handed this immortal material to Langya Land Spirit. Langya Land Spirit did not restrain himself, he quickly stretched his hand, grabbing the immortal material and put it in front of his eyes, examining carefully. Good stuff, good stuff. Sure enough, it is a fragment of a Cloud Phoenix, this is a rare object. What dogshit luck do you have, to actually get such a treasure? Lang Ya land spirit muttered non-stop. He was extremely enticed, and his gaze looked somewhat infatuated. No matter which Lang Ya land spirit it was, they both originated from Long Hair Ancestor. Long Hair Ancestor excelled in GU refinement, and was also infatuated with it. Lang Ya land spirit had also inherited this nature. Right now, as Lang Ya land spirit looked at this rank 8 immortal material, his thoughts started to fluctuate. He had bitterly sought for such immortal materials, but had not found them. If he had this, the gaps in materials for a lot of immortal GU recipes could be filled up. The GU refinement materials for 1 or 2 immortal GU would even be collected entirely, and the GU refinement could begin immediately. Lang Ya land spirit had already stopped paying attention to Fang Yuan. His gaze was tightly fixed at the Cloud Phoenix's fragment, inspecting it from all directions. He was almost salivating. Even in Lang Ya blessed land, there were very few rank 8 immortal materials. Why? It was simple, they were hard to gather. Like this Cloud Phoenix's fragment, its main body was an immemorial desolate beast Cloud Phoenix. This Cloud Phoenix was extremely powerful, able to match rank 8 GU immortals. To gather this immortal material, normally speaking, one had to kill the Cloud Phoenix. GU immortals were few in numbers, rank 8 GU immortals were even fewer, only a handful of them existed. They had to consider their tribulations and their own safety, and would not easily start a battle. Unless they had some specific demands, there would be extremely few rank 8 immortal materials entering the market. This was also the reason why Fang Yuan had only put 2 immortal materials in Treasure Yellow Heaven, yet he was easily able to trade for all kinds of food for immortal GU. Even Lang Ya land spirit's main body, Long Hair Ancestor, did not have too much capability to personally gather rank 8 immortal materials. One of the reasons he agreed to refine GU for Thieving Heaven Demon Venerable and Giant Sun Immortal Venerable was to borrow the strength of the rank 9 Venerables to gather rank 8 immortal materials. Fang Yuan saw Lang Ya land spirit's expression, and smiled. He then took out another rank 8 immortal material, and intentionally asked, Lang Ya land spirit, help me check the origins of this immortal material. Ah! Lang Ya land spirit raised his head to take a glance, immediately letting out a loud and shocked scream. His eyes were wild with joy. Heavens, isn't this the wing of a tiger-striped honeybee? Look, such beautiful lights from Dao marks. The metal path Dao marks on this wing are so dense that we can see the light from the Dao marks with our naked eyes. Brat, how could you obtain something of this level? It simply angers me to death. I searched so hard for so many years, but even I have barely over 20 of them. They are so precious that I am not willing to use them. Fang Yuan laughed loudly. What if I say I pick them up, do you believe me? Saying this, he immediately took back the Cloud Phoenix's fragment from Lang Ya land spirit's hand. Lang Ya land spirit was caught unprepared, and after he reacted, he gave a miserable howl, feeling like a piece of his heart had been cut out. He stamped his foot and shouted, What are you doing? Doing what? Fang Yuan had a baffled expression. This belongs to me, are you thinking of stealing it? Lang Ya land spirit stiffened, he was not able to retort and could only glare at Fang Yuan. Chapter 976, Familiar Face. Lang Ya land spirit looked straight into Fang Yuan's eyes, unsure of what to say. These immortal materials were Fang Yuan's. He was so anxious that he almost scratched his own head. Fang Yuan looked at Lang Ya land spirit with a smile. Not matter how bad Lang Ya land spirit's attitude towards him was, as long as these immortal materials were with him, he seemed to have taken hold of Lang Ya land spirit's weakness. Suddenly, Lang Ya land spirit's eyes turned, and he quickly reacted. He was no longer anxious, instead sneering. HMPH, brat, do I still not know you? You swindler, you don't do anything without benefits. Speak, what advantage you want to take from me? Fang Yuan pretended to be unhappy. Your words are really wrong. I didn't come to take advantage of you, but to do a fair transaction with you. Hee. Lang Ya land spirit was already somewhat prepared for Fang Yuan's shamelessness. Speak up, don't talk in a roundabout way. Fang Yuan drooped his eyelids, staring at the immortal materials in his hands. Since you are so forthright, then I will speak directly. Can I ask if you have the immortal killer move Familiar Face? Lang Ya land spirit was stunned before asking back. How did you know I have Thieving Heaven Demon Venerable's signature killer move? Fang Yuan was inwardly joyous. Lang Ya land spirit indeed had it. He had only made a guess about this. Thinking of the past, Lang Ya land spirit lacked a desolate beast and wanted Fang Yuan to grab a living one, using the mortal killer move Unfamiliar Face as a reward to tempt Fang Yuan. Back then, when they had been discussing, Fang Yuan had asked about Familiar Face and Lang Ya land spirit's original words were, Familiar Face. You are really daring. That is an immortal killer move. The core GU is the legendary attitude GU. Even if I give it to you, you will not be able to use it. But this killer move of mine has a huge relationship with familiar face, it can be said to be the former version of it. This is a mortal killer move and is suitable for you to use. Land spirits were simple and would not tell lies. Langya land spirit had not said that he did not have familiar face, he had only said that even if he gave it to Fang Yuan would not be able to use it. But Fang Yuan now already had attitude GU with him. Thieving Heaven Demon Venerable had deceived 2 rank 8 GU immortals with his rank 6 cultivation in his time. Fang Yuan should also be able to do it. Looking back over that time, Thieving Heaven Demon Venerable sought out my main body to refine space escape GU. My main body also had been interested and worked an entire 21 years with Thieving Heaven Demon Venerable. This duration was according to the time of the 5 regions, when calculated with Langya Grotto Heaven's time, it would be even longer. Langya land spirit recalled those eventful years with a nostalgic expression. He paused for a moment, before continuing. In these 21 years, my main body and Thieving Heaven Demon Venerable made many attempts, but they all failed. Thieving Heaven Demon Venerable's accumulated savings were spent, and even my main body's treasury was used. My main body naturally would not accept making a loss. Thieving Heaven Demon Venerable had to bring out his resources to buy immortal materials from my main body. Unfamiliar face, vaguely familiar face and familiar face, this set of killer moves was one of them. So it was like that. Fang Yuan nodded, engraving this information in his mind. Langya blessed land indeed had deep foundations, actually having Thieving Heaven Demon Venerable's possessions. A person's wealth is their own ruin, no wonder Shadow Sect targeted them, and even Heavenly Court also attacked. Fang Yuan had also been eyeing this land of treasures, but his strength was simply not enough, and rashly attacking would only cause trouble for himself. Brat, what do you want familiar face for? He, did you experience the benefits of unfamiliar face? My things are all of top quality. But unfamiliar face is only a mortal killer move, it indeed is not suitable for your current cultivation. Langya land spirit laughed. Fang Yuan spoke frankly. I want to exchange a rank 8 immortal material for familiar face. Langya land spirit had still been laughing, but the next moment his laughter turned into anger. Brat, you really think I am stupid? You want to use a rank 8 immortal material to buy Thieving Heaven Demon Venerable's signature killer move? Keep on dreaming. Fang Yuan did not mind it, and asked with a warm attitude, then what's your price? 10 rank 8 immortal materials. This time, it was Fang Yuan's turn to change his expression. Impossible. How could I have so many in my hands? Do you really think I picked them up? He cried out in seeming seriousness, lying brazenly. Langya land spirit was in the dark. He sheepishly smiled. Then 8. Fang Yuan's eyes were wide open as he shouted, 8. You are robbing me. Back then, you told me yourself that familiar face's core immortal GU is attitude GU. Without attitude GU, familiar face simply cannot be used. I am only trying to use it as reference, to make my own deductions and create an immortal killer move suitable for myself. You think I will use 8 whole immortal materials in exchange for merely familiar face? Fang Yuan's saliva flew out as he shouted, landing on Langya land spirit's face. Langya land spirit looked embarrassed, retreating a few steps. He had been tricked many times by Fang Yuan, and had learned to bargain. But clearly, his experience was still not enough, and he was stumped by a few words from Fang Yuan. In the end, Langya land spirit's existence was only an obsession formed by heavenly power. They were extremely simple, Langya land spirit being able to reach this stage was already extraordinary. Fang Yuan continued to lower the price loudly with ragged breathing. According to him, familiar face had already been degraded in value to being of no worth whatsoever, while the rank 8 immortal material's rarity and value were emphasized and enhanced countless times. Langya land spirit was unable to hold his own, and kept taking steps back in defeat. In Fang Yuan's previous life of 500 years, he had worked as a merchant. He ran a merchant caravan and built stores, earning a huge fortune, but in the end it was destroyed in just one day, breaking his habitual thought processes from Earth, and he comprehended the logic that this world was different from Earth, it was a world where the fist was strongest. Fang Yuan finally reduced the price to 5 immortal materials. This was the limit. If he tried to reduce it any further, Langya land spirit would not sell familiar face. Land spirits were simple but stubborn. However, Thieving Heaven Demon Venerable's signature move was indeed worth this much at the minimum. Langya land spirit would not make a loss, he had calculated internally, at most he could say he had sold it at base price. Fang Yuan knew he could not change the outcome, immediately paying 5 immortal materials and getting possession of familiar face. Success. The joy Fang Yuan felt was hard to describe. Although he could use the light of wisdom, it would be extremely difficult to deduce familiar face. His wisdom path attainment was Grand Master level, but his transformation path attainment was merely at Master level. And the familiar series were transformation path killer moves. Even if I could deduce it, it won't be the same. But now what I have is the original familiar face, which contains its full contents without any flaws. Fang Yuan had no mood to keep staying, and left immediately. He returned to Hu Immortal Blessed Land, and started to carefully study the Immortal Killer move. There was only one core of familiar face, that was the rank 8 Attitude GU. This move fully utilized the might of Attitude GU. One could say Attitude GU was the essence of this move, and without it, no matter which other Immortal GU was added, it would be hard to display the profound capability of familiar face. Besides Attitude GU, familiar face had over 20 supplementary GU. Among them were 2 Immortal GU, including Change Form Immortal GU. Fang Yuan had failed in refining Change Form, while he did not even have the Immortal GU recipe of the second Immortal GU. This was the only blemish in this otherwise perfect matter. It seems that in the past, when Thieving Heaven Demon Venerable was at rank 6, he possessed these 2 supplementary Immortal GU. Shortly afterwards, Fang Yuan entered the underground cavern and used the light of wisdom, continuously consuming large amounts of star thoughts as he began modifying the Immortal Killer move Familiar Face. Several days later, he succeeded. The 2 supplementary Immortal GU were removed, about 1,000 Mortal GU were added in, barely replacing the effect of the 2 Immortal GU. With this, the activation of Fang Yuan's modified Familiar Face was over 10 times slower and more complicated. The original Familiar Face only had over 20 GU worms, even including Attitude GU, it did not reach 30. The fewer the GU worms, the simpler and faster the process of activation. After Fang Yuan's modification, the number of GU worms was over 1,000, their activation naturally was not as fast and convenient as the original. This was something he had no other way to deal with. Fang Yuan tried activating the modified Familiar Face. The result of the test made him quite satisfied. The modified Familiar Face could show 60% of the original's capability. The 2 supplementary Immortal GU had been replaced with 1,000 Mortal GU, being able to reach this point was already extremely exceptional. It was just that the activation was very slow and required about an hour. This was not of much importance, after all, Familiar Face was not used for battle. In my previous life, I refined Change Form Immortal GU and used it as the core to form the modified Vaguely Familiar Face. Now, I have this modified Familiar Face where the effect is over 100 times better. I can completely deceive rank 7 GU Immortals, while the specific situation needs to be assessed for rank 8 GU Immortals. Fang Yuan inwardly calculated. The killer move Familiar Face was exquisite beyond compare, especially the Attitude GU at its core, causing Fang Yuan's transformation to not be a transformation of surface appearance but directly affecting others' minds. Even if Fang Yuan transformed into a stranger, if the enemy was affected by this move, they would feel Fang Yuan was a long-lost friend, or have a warm impression, or feel intense familiarity. After gaining Familiar Face, Fang Yuan spent some time to practice every day. Although Attitude GU was at rank 8, its requirements for activation were very low, only using up mental energy, not using up any immortal essence. Thus, Fang Yuan's practice did not cost much. As he became more accustomed, the time taken to activate Familiar Face reduced to half of the original 1 hour. The preparations are done. Now, I will have to wait for Tai Bai Yunsheng's tribulation. Fang Yuan settled down, staying in Hu Immortal Blessed Land and occasionally traveling back and forth from that small village which had the Spring Dream Fruit Tree. He continuously refined Dream Path Mortal GU, and used these GU to pick up large numbers of Spring Dream fruits. As time passed, his injuries gradually turned better, and finally it was the day of Tai Bai Yunsheng's tribulation. Chapter 977, Slavery Immortal GU. In a green heaven fragment world within Western Desert. The sky was green, the wind that would not stop in all 4 seasons was blowing gently. A pure white and vast city was stably floating in the air, letting out faint golden radiance. At present, humans were the rulers of the world. The variant human races, who once were dominant, were already hiding in corners of the world, surviving with difficulty. And this green heaven fragment world was the paradise for a group of one of the races of variant humans, the Feathermen. Immortal GU House Sacred Feather City was the strongest headquarters of these Featherman descendants. Right now, rainbow flags were hanging in Sacred Feather City, cheers and shouts could be heard everywhere. All the Feathermen were calling the same name. Yu Fei. Yu Fei. Yu Fei. The Featherman King had passed away. According to their customs, it was time to select the new Featherman King through battles. And just a while ago, the battle had concluded. The most popular candidate, the Featherman Prince Dan Yu, had actually lost. While the ordinary citizen, the black-haired youngster Yu Fei, had obtained the final victory. I, Yu Fei, have finally realized my life's dream. I have become the Featherman King. Yu Fei was severely injured, but it did not bother him, as he raised his head and laughed heartily. He stretched his arms as well as his wings, enjoying everyone's cheers. He grinned from ear to ear, and his mouth was opened wide, revealing his gums. This new Featherman King is quite unique. He is quite different from the other kings. He is an interesting fellow. It seems that he has quite the ambition. He wants to expand the territory of his Feathermen. But after he becomes the Featherman King, he should become more mature. Behind the scenes, 3 Featherman GU Immortals were communicating with each other, wearing smiles on their faces. But right at this moment, a powerful attack suddenly hit this peaceful city. Boom! The enormous explosion shook the entirety of Sacred Feather City. Painful, painful, painful. Yu Fei was caught off guard. He lost his balance and crashed onto the ground, rolling around in the process. Quickly look, this is. The Feathermen at the front saw something amiss. They pointed at the sky and stammered in fear. They could not speak. Immediately after, most of the Feathermen raised their heads. They were shocked to find out that above them, in the green sky, there was a huge crack. From the crack, several figures descended like demonic gods. The 3 Featherman GU Immortals in Sacred Feather City had already reacted. They were startled to awareness as they flew towards the sky. They appeared to face the invading enemies while shouting to their Featherman citizens. Be careful, there is a strong enemy attacking. Quick, sound the alarms, defend our homeland. GU Masters assemble, go to the formation cores and activate the defenses of Sacred Feather City. The entire city was in chaos, fear was spreading. Sacred Feather City had been peaceful for too long. They had no competition with the outside world. It was like life inside a utopia. This caused their defenses to be very lax, and with the crowning of a new king, the non-militarized Feathermen could not respond properly. The enemy had come in with such momentum. The 3 Featherman GU Immortals were grim-faced, but they held a hope as they tried to negotiate peacefully. But the command from the enemy's leader, White Sea Shituo, destroyed the 3 Featherman GU Immortals' hopes. This old GU Immortal's eyes were extremely apathetic, as he commanded, attack. The 3 Featherman GU Immortals were no match for them, and could only retreat to the Immortal GU House Sacred Feather City and defend. Sacred Feather City was besieged from all directions by the Western Desert's Immortals. Battlefield killer moves followed one after the other, as they covered the whole area. Countless mortal killer moves and immortal killer moves impacted the Immortal GU House, creating grand fireworks. White Sea Shituo had clearly come prepared, as his methods immobilized Sacred Feather City. Sacred Feather City seemed like it had sunk into a mire. It would be difficult for it to get free in a short period of time. The Feathermen had lived in peace for very long time and now they were suddenly thrusted into a life and death battle. They were not able to cope in time. The 3 Immortals were also the same, thus losing the best chance to escape. 2 days later, boom, a bolt of lightning shot out and struck a section of the wall of Sacred Feather City. The city wall immediately crumbled, and shortly dispersed into countless GU worm fragments. None of the Featherman GU masters defending the city wall were able to escape. Their dead bodies covered the ground. Dust clouds rose. From within, a slight trace of green light suddenly flashed. Damn it! The battle had already lasted for 2 days and 2 days. The Featherman GU Immortal Zhou Zong's eyes were bloodshot. He saw the destroyed city wall. Their defense had a flaw now, thus he immediately flew to guard it. Immortal GU houses were essentially formed from countless GU worms. This destroyed city wall meant all the GU worms in it had died, and it was like a hole had been opened in the Immortal GU house. This was like a boat with holes. Its defense had reduced by a large extent. If the enemies pierced through it and took the chance to enlarge this hole, the whole Immortal GU house could be destroyed in the end. Right now, although the hole was small, it absolutely could not be ignored and allowed to be enlarged. Zhou Zhang quickly hurried to block the hole, buying crucial time for the Immortal GU house's self-recovery. However, just when Zhou Zhang had arrived, he heard a sinister laugh. He, you have fallen into the trap. Suddenly, 2 figures appeared at his sides, flanking him in the middle. The portion of the sacred feather city that had collapsed had already formed a gap which allowed the two GU immortals to enter. Scoundrels! Zhou Zhang was extremely furious and panicked, as he counterattacked. But he had lost the initiative, and after several rounds, he was severely injured and on the verge of death. Bind. From outside the city, a Western Desert GU immortal got close and suddenly activated his immortal killer move. Instantly, Zhou Zhang could not budge an inch, like he was bound all over. The two GU immortals beside him laughed sinisterly, as they struck Zhou Zhang's chest. Zhou Zhang spat out huge amounts of blood and was sent flying back like a cannon, crashing through countless constructions on the way before finally laying down motionless on a pile of rubble. His body shook slightly as he struggled with all his strength. However, the killer move's effect was still there, making him unable to move. Those two GU immortals came rushing over. Zhou Zhang could not help but feel despair. Zhou Zhang, hold on, I am coming. At the crucial moment, a stalwart figure stood in front of Zhou Zhang. The strongest expert in the Featherman City, First Supreme Elder. Even by collaborating, the two Western Desert GU immortals were unable to match the First Supreme Elder's strength. This Supreme Elder's cultivation level was almost at the peak of rank 7. Right now, as he attacked in anger, his might burst out. It was overwhelming. The two Western Desert's GU immortals were unable to attack back, and were soon injured heavily. They quickly retreated back to the hole. The final Featherman GU immortal, Zheng Ling, was controlling the immortal GU house to quickly repair the hole as quickly as possible. The hole was already 80% restored and was getting increasingly smaller. The two Western Desert GU immortals hurried to the hole in the immortal GU house, but were unable to escape. They would have to stay and enlarge the hole slightly. However, at this critical juncture, every second was extremely important. The Western Desert GU immortals simply did not have the time to attack the hole. Zheng Ling, great work. The Featherman First Supreme Elder was joyous. Right now, the immortal GU house was continuously being repaired, and the situation had already become such that the enemies were trapped inside, waiting to be attacked. Once they kill these two Western Desert GU immortals, the Featherman tribe's morale would surely be uplifted greatly. The enemies would be shaken and no one would dare to rashly charge into the immortal GU house anymore. But right as the Featherman First Supreme Elder was about to kill the two Western Desert GU immortals, a shocking change occurred. The two Western Desert GU immortals no longer had panicked expressions, instead replaced by a smile, as if they had a plot which succeeded. At the same time, four Western Desert GU immortals appeared beside the Featherman First Supreme Elder. Our true target is you. You will die. The leading GU immortal was actually White Sea Shituo. At this moment, his aura erupted and surged, and overwhelming might burst out, revealing rank 8 cultivation level. The Featherman First Supreme Elder paled in fear. The moment of carelessness had sent him into a dangerous situation. Damn it! The rank 7 Featherman GU immortal Zheng Ling, who was controlling the immortal GU house, was extremely anxious, activating the immortal GU house quickly. Both sides were focused in this peripheral area of the immortal GU house, this crucial battlefield. Old ancestor, are you alright? Yu Fei shouted as he moved towards the Featherman GU immortal Zhou Zhang, who was lying on the ground motionlessly. Zhou Zhang was struck by the immortal killer move and its effect had yet to dissipate, thus he was still unable to move from the rubble. The newly crowned Featherman King, Zhou Zhang sighed as he looked at Yu Fei. He transmitted his voice. Leave quickly, the battle here is not something you can participate in. But Yu Fei ignored it, flying towards Zhou Zhang's side and activating Mortal GU. Old ancestor, I will save you. Zhou Zhang appreciated Yu Fei's bravery, feeling moved, but also helplessness. There were countless injuries on his body, all inflicted by immortal killer moves. The injuries were filled with Dao marks. How could they be healed by ordinary Mortal GU? Huh, but the next moment, Zhou Zhang's eyes protruded out, as he stared at Yu Fei. You are not Yu Fei, you. Zhou Zhang tried to cry out furiously, wanting to resist, but he could not budge. Before he could even alarm others, Feng Yuan had sealed his voice. The moment when there was a gap in the immortal GU house, Feng Yuan had used fixed immortal travel to travel here from northern plains. The immortal GU house's control near the hole had fallen to almost nil. Feng Yuan was thus not detected by anyone. He then waited for a chance, and taking advantage of when the two sides were in an intense battle, with their attention focused on the key battlefield, he immediately made a move, disguising himself as Yu Fei, and was able to smoothly approach Zhou Zhang. Right now, he was silently activating Slavery Immortal GU. Zhou Zhang resisted intensely, his resistance kept on increasing. But after a while, all his resistance suddenly disappeared, as he was turned into Fang Yuan's slave. In an instant, he turned to Fang Yuan's side. I finally succeeded. Fang Yuan was completely exhausted. Shortly after, he gave a command to Zhou Zhang. Go replace Zheng Ling to take control of the entirety of Sacred Feather City. Yes, Master. Zhou Zhang moved his heavily injured body, flying towards the center of Sacred Feather City. Elder Zheng Ling, go reinforce First Supreme Elder. I will control the Immortal Gu House. Zhou Zhang called out. Zheng Ling was joyous. The Featherman First Supreme Elder's situation was already extremely bad. Although he was controlling the Immortal Gu House, the entirety of Sacred Feather City was already immobilized by the enemy. As such, it was not able to display its true power. Instead of using Sacred Feather City's power, it was better for him to go in person to reinforce the First Supreme Elder. Are your injuries okay? Zheng Ling was about to move, but hesitated. Quickly go. At this point, even if I die, I will guard the Immortal Gu House. Zhou Zhang shouted, his whole body bathed in blood. All right, I am leaving. Hang in there. Zheng Ling nodded, and turned into a bolt of lightning as he left. Chapter 978. Subduing the Featherman. Bam bam bam. Continuous explosions resounded like thunder. Every explosion shook the whole of Sacred Feather City. Fang Yuan was standing within ruins, hiding inside the rolling dust and dirt as the entirety of Sacred Feather City shook. Enslaving a Gu Immortal is indeed countless times more difficult than enslaving beast groups. Fang Yuan felt the pressure on his soul. Enslaving other life forms created a burden on the Gu Master. Back in Northern Plains, during the contest for the Imperial Court, Fang Yuan had commanded tens of thousands of beasts, but it was not that he had enslaved all of them, rather, through enslaving myriad beast kings, 1,000 beast kings and 100 beast kings, he had been indirectly controlling the whole beast army. Man is the spirit of all living beings. Beasts did not have much intelligence, so Fang Yuan was able to enslave a lot of them. However, Zhou Zhang was completely different. Zhou Zhang had deep wisdom and intelligence. Although enslaving him did not fail, it created an extremely huge burden on Fang Yuan's soul. After all, Zhou Zhang was a Gu Immortal. Rank 6 slavery Immortal Gu could only enslave a Rank 6 Gu Immortal. It is also because Zhou Zhang is a Featherman and not a human. His intelligence is inferior just by a bit. If I were to enslave a human Gu Immortal, I might have failed. I had cultivated soul path previously and have some foundation in regards to my soul. But this is only at the limits of mortal levels, and my foundation in it as a Gu Immortal is quite shallow. By enslaving Zhou Zhang, my soul has become heavily burdened. If my soul was like an energetic youth before, now I have turned into an old man with a heavy load on my back. With such a sharp reduction in strength, it would be good if I can display 20% of my ability. Fang Yuan sighed inwardly. All the paths of Gu were broad and profound. So too was enslavement path. At Gu Immortal level, there were extraordinary abilities that laymen could not grasp. Simply put, Fang Yuan was a layman in enslavement path. He did not know of any enslavement path immortal killer moves. If he had, then in combination with slavery immortal Gu, his current situation might have been much better. He was only able to use the slavery immortal Gu superficially. But with his previous lives' experiences, along with the help of the light of wisdom to deduce the plans, he was able to achieve a huge success. Master, I have received control over Sacred Feather City. Zheng Ling has already moved towards the battle to support the First Supreme Elder. Zhou Zhang's voice suddenly resounded in Fang Yuan's ears. Fang Yuan excitedly licked his lips, clenching his fist subconsciously. He sent a command. First, kill the real Yu Fei. He now had Yu Fei's appearance. The real Yu Fei was his greatest flaw. Shortly afterwards, Zhou Zhang's voice arrived again. Yu Fei is dead, turned into ashes. At present, Zhou Zhang was the only one controlling Sacred Feather City alone. As such, this was accomplished easily. Good, do all you can to control the Immortal Gu House and get away from the battle. Fang Yuan sent another command. This time, it took a good while before Zhou Zhang's weak voice arrived. Forgive me, Master, I was not able to do it. The whole Immortal Gu House is already locked in place by the enemies. Fang Yuan snorted, a ferocious light flashing in his eyes. So it is still like this. He did not feel much disappointment. In his previous life, he had laid a trap which caused all the Feathermen to suicide, and he was only able to obtain Featherman Gu Immortal Zheng Ling's soul. Zheng Ling had personally participated in the battle to defend Sacred Feather City, and not much time had passed, thus his memories were extremely clear. His soul was not like Shui Songzi's, which had been tampered with by a soul path expert. Fang Yuan could easily search his soul and obtain all his memories. It was these memories that let Fang Yuan feel like he had personally experienced the battle to defend Sacred Feather City. Thus, his timing was so precise, he could infiltrate the Immortal GU house and take the opportunity when the two sides were in an intense battle to successfully enslave GU Immortal Zhou Zhang. There were a lot of opportunities like this, but the best one was this. Zhou Zhang just happened to be restricted by an immortal killer move and was not able to budge, providing huge convenience to Fang Yuan. From Zhang Ling's soul, Fang Yuan also knew this Immortal GU house, Sacred Feather City, was locked down by the enemies and was unable to be moved. However, a person like Fang Yuan would absolutely not be reconciled to this, they would personally attempt it. The attempt indeed failed and he was unable to steal this Sacred Feather City. Fang Yuan could only choose the second best option, observing from the sidelines and letting the events continue to develop. Similarly to his previous life, Zhou Zhang carried his heavily injured body and controlled the Immortal GU house with difficulty, freeing Zheng Ling from the duty. Zheng Ling hurried to reinforce the first Supreme Elder and had a huge fight with White Sea Shituo and the rest. This huge fight was the most crucial fight of the battle to defend Sacred Feather City. The outcome of the fight was the same as Fang Yuan's previous life. White Sea Shituo and the rest were beaten back, and escaped through the gap in the wall. The first Supreme Elder was heavily injured and was on the verge of death after being targeted by the combined strength of the Western Desert GU Immortals. As for Zheng Ling, his situation was slightly better. The battle ended, the Immortal GU house was restored and there was no gaps anymore, its defense becoming perfect. However, the Featherman First Supreme Elder's injuries could not be healed and he died within the city. After losing their greatest battle strength, the two Featherman GU Immortals held on for a night, and seeing that nothing could be done, they resolutely decided to give up on the Immortal GU house and leave this place. All the Feathermen gathered together and activated the Immortal Killer move Heavenly Wish. I wish, my clan's Feathermen, survive. I wish, my clan's Feathermen, gain freedom. I wish, my clan's Feathermen, have a place to live in the world. The Western Desert GU Immortals observed from the sidelines, letting the Feathermen leave. Once the Feathermen left, they could obtain the entire Immortal GU house Sacred Feather City. It was the first time Fang Yuan experienced this heavenly wish. He felt a majestic and powerful white light engulfing him along with the rest of the Feathermen, and transporting them through a white tunnel. He felt he was like a piece of wood dropped into a rapid whirlpool, as he was sent revolving round and round. After about 5 minutes, the surrounding white light suddenly disappeared and Fang Yuan found his footing once again. He was feeling extremely dizzy and almost fell to the ground. The surrounding mortal Feathermen were already sprawled on the ground. Only the two Featherman GU Immortals, Zheng Ling and Zhou Zhang, were vigilantly standing. Fang Yuan inwardly shook his head at this. It seems that after enslaving Zhou Zhang, my own battle strength is not worth any expectations. Where is this place? The Featherman GU Immortal Zhou Zhang scanned his surroundings. Zheng Ling's expression changed rapidly. Not good. This is a human GU Immortal's blessed land. We were treated as an earthly calamity and transported here. With Tai Bai Yunsheng at the lead, He Lulan and Fairy Li Shan slowly flew towards the Feathermen. In his previous life, Fang Yuan helped Tai Bai Yunsheng to pass the tribulation and did not invite them. But this life, Fang Yuan wanted to use this earthly calamity to intimidate them, so he invited them to help. Tai Bai Yunsheng was expressionless, feeling both shocked and joyous internally. Fang Yuan looked for me to tell me he could deduce this calamity and told me what to do. I did not dare to believe him then, but now it seems everything is just like what he said. I can definitely pass this earthly calamity. He Lulan and Fairy Li Shan were both inwardly shocked. Having a Featherman calamity was rare and peculiar. But Fang Yuan had actually accurately predicted it. What did this mean? One of the reasons it was difficult to pass heavenly tribulations and earthly calamities was that they could not be predicted. Fang Yuan now had this ability, which was simply like a divine weapon to pass tribulations. As long as they made specific preparations before the tribulation, the probability of successfully passing the tribulation would be raised by a terrifying degree. The Featherman GU Immortal Zheng Ling's heart sank to rock bottom. In his previous life, when he had seen Fang Yuan and Tai Bai Yunsheng, he had a feeling of contempt. But now, the rank 7 Fairy Li Shan, He Lulan with the great strength true martial physique and Tai Bai Yunsheng arrived together, especially the unconcealed aura of Immortal GU on them, they involuntarily brought huge mental pressure on Zheng Ling. There was nothing much to say after that. With Tai Bai Yunsheng displaying the ability of landscape as before Immortal GU, the Featherman GU Immortal's threat towards Tai Bai Yunsheng's immortal aperture had become non-existent. In his previous life, just with Fang Yuan and Tai Bai Yun Sheng, these feathermen had been duped over and over. This time, not only was there He Lu Lan and Fairy Li Shan, Zhou Zhang and Yu Fei were also hidden traitors. After a duel, Zheng Ling was once again killed, but Tai Bai Yun Sheng and the others did not force the remaining feathermen. This was a mistake Fang Yuan had made last time. This time, he would not make it again. These feathermen were different from those feathermen sold in the markets. They lived in the immemorial Green Heaven fragment world, living on for generations in isolation from the rest of the world. They had the nature of the ancient feathermen, they would rather suicide than lose their freedom. Thus, Tai Bai Yun Sheng did not restrict them, instead negotiating with them deceptively. Under the lead of Zhou Zhang and Yu Fei, the feathermen moved to star-form blessed land. With these feathermen, Fang Yuan's development in Western Desert could reach a new stage, and his prospects were bright. This was not his only harvest. After the event, He Lu Lan indirectly asked him regarding the prediction of the calamity. Fang Yuan intentionally gave a bitter smile, asking back, "You think I have such an ability? Don't forget, Purple Mountain True Monarch is my master, at the same time, Tai Bai Yun Sheng is also his disciple." He Lu Lan thought. So it was indeed like this ability is too powerful, it is not something Fang Yuan can possess, so it was Purple Mountain True Monarch. Unconsciously, He Lu Lan and Fairy Li Shan's apprehension towards Purple Mountain True Monarch deepened further. Fang Yuan was able to deal a heavy blow to them, this would be greatly beneficial to him in restricting Blazing Heaven Demoness in the future. It was only that after he enslaved Zhou Zhang, his soul's burden had become very heavy, and there was much difficulty in even refining Dream Path Mortal Jiyu. This intensified Fang Yuan's desire towards Luopo Valley. Luopo Valley and Danghun Mountain, if he had both of them, then even if he was a layman in Soul Path, the foundation of his soul would increase rapidly. However, right now, it was still not the time to go to Luopo Valley. In his previous life, He Cheng's soul had ended up in He Lu Lan's hands, much of the information obtained through soul searching had been shared with Fang Yuan as well. Fang Yuan knew that currently, Luopo Valley had been remodeled into a secret stronghold by Shadow Sect, with large numbers of GU formations arranged everywhere. Even in his previous life, when Feng Zhuzhe and the other Central Continent GU Immortals had attacked Luopo Valley when no one was around, these GU formations were able to hold them off until Qin Bai Sheng and the rest arrived. Right now, Luopo Valley was filled with Shadow Sect's members, it was much more terrifying than a dragon's den. Fang Yuan needed to wait for the appropriate time. Chapter 979, Going with the Flow. Fang Yuan had a lot of patience. After helping Tai Bai Yun Sheng pass the tribulation, Fang Yuan refined Dream Path Mortal GU while collecting the Spring Dream fruits, along with expanding his Guts GU and Eerie Fire Dragon Python trades. Soon, his monthly profits greatly exceeded his previous life, it was over 2,000. There were many reasons for this. Firstly, Fang Yuan had to spend a lot of time in investigating and gathering information before deciding on suitable trade partners in his previous life. Especially in Western Desert. But now, with his experience, Fang Yuan could easily contact the buyer and save a lot of time and effort, causing his profits to come much earlier than before. Secondly, the hairy men in the Fang Yuan stone nests were now free to refine Guts GU. This was different from last time, when they were still refining Star Thought GU and other GU worms that did not provide income. Thirdly, Fang Yuan did not have any plans to relocate Star Form Blessed Land, he had already made a new alliance agreement with He Lu Lan and the others. He might need to relocate it in the future, but it was not an urgent matter now. Fourthly, with the Feathermen forming caravans and dealing with transactions for him, Fang Yuan obtained much benefits in Western Desert quickly. The use of the Feathermen was starting to show. But Fang Yuan was still experimenting for now, he did not send out all of these tens of thousands of Feathermen. In this aspect, he had a long-term plan, he wanted to use these current Feathermen to increase the population of Feathermen, he might be able to implement slave trade of Feathermen in the future. In terms of slave trade, even though Feathermen were inferior to hairy men, they were much better than rockmen. Especially in Western Desert forces, they sacrificed a large number of Feathermen yearly, the demand for Feathermen slaves was always high and unceasing. Fang Yuan developed patiently, while he accumulated immortal essence stones, he did not forget to accumulate GU refinement immortal materials. Time passed quickly, Langya Blessed Land was attacked by strong foes once again. Langya Land Spirit knew that the enemy was powerful, he had to seek help, sending emergency support letters to Fang Yuan and Tai Bai Yun Sheng. In this life, Fang Yuan had planned meticulously, Bai Yunsheng's immortal aperture did not suffer much losses. After receiving the letters, the two of them went to Langya Blessed Land. In Langya Blessed Land, there was a thick fog of clouds that shrouded everyone's vision. They could not see anything, not the sky, the ground, or even their own fingers. This is the 12-wave cloud confusion formation. Langya Land Spirit explained in a deep and low tone, and these are the invaders. The Land Spirit waved his sleeves, as several images appeared in front of Fang Yuan and Bai Yunsheng. Qin Bai Sheng, Zhang Yu, He Cheng, Shui Song Zi, He Lang Zi, and Wei Feng Zi, as well as the blazing glory lightning brilliance immortal zombie, they were all present. It's them. Fang Yuan pretended to be surprised. You recognize these people? Langya Land Spirit quickly asked. Fang Yuan nodded with a serious expression. These people are extremely strong. The leader, Qin Bai Sheng, might only have rank 7 cultivation level, but he can fight with a rank 8 GU immortal. Langya Land Spirit was shocked. So powerful. Fang Yuan pointed at the others. This is Fairy Zhang Yu, she has dark limit immortal GU. This is the Supreme Elder handling public affairs of a super force in Northern Plains, He Tribes He Cheng, he has an immortal GU house in his possession. There is also Shui Song Zi, he might be only rank 6, but he is a member of Snowy Mountain Blessed Land, he is backed by the rank 8 old ancestor Shui Hu. And this He Lang Zi, he is a transformation path GU immortal with high battle strength. In the past, he rejected a recruitment offer by old ancestor Shui Hu. This is Wei Feng Zi, a wind path expert. His wind path attainment level is very deep. He is the publicly recognized fastest person in Northern Plains GU immortal world. He had once escaped from many rank 8 GU immortals. As Fang Yuan spoke, Langya Land Spirit's expression turned grimmer and grimmer. When Fang Yuan finished his words, Langya Land Spirit's expression was extremely grave. He pointed at the mysterious black-robed GU immortal. To think that the enemies are so powerful. Then who in the world is this GU immortal? Fang Yuan knew who he was, of course, but at this moment, he pretended to show a confused and suspicious expression. He hesitated before saying, this person is covering his face and has an immortal killer move protecting him, he is very mysterious. Let me make a deduction. Saying so, he pinched his fingers and deduced, his body was covered in starlight as immortal GU aura surged around him, as if he was working hard. Seeing this, Langya Land Spirit was deceived, he thought. Even though I had approached Fang Yuan many times in the past and asked him to deduce immortal GU recipes for me, this is the first time I am seeing him make a deduction. I do not know what immortal GU he is using, but looking at this, his wisdom path attainment level is not low. The starlight on Fang Yuan's body faded gradually, his expression was grim as his eyes shined brightly. My goodness, this mysterious GU immortal is extremely special, he is an immortal zombie, and one of the 10 extreme physiques, blazing glory lightning brilliance physique. You deduced it so quickly. Langya Land Spirit was surprised. Beside him, Bai Yunsheng chuckled, that is only natural. Fang Yuan is a Wisdom Path Grandmaster. Wisdom Path Grandmaster. Langya Land Spirit was shocked, he assessed Fang Yuan again, looking at him in a different light. Fang Yuan's expression was calm, his voice was heavy as he spoke to Langya Land Spirit, the enemy is so powerful, we are in danger now. Langya Land Spirit chuckled. No need to worry, as long as we persevere for a period of time, I can capture any GU immortal no matter how strong they are. Oh, Fang Yuan's eyebrows rose, he probed Langya Land Spirit while pretending to be curious, it seems you still have additional assistants. Langya Land Spirit smiled with a smug expression, he did not want to say much, but he changed his mind suddenly and probed Fang Yuan instead, you are a Wisdom Path Grandmaster at such a young age. Honestly speaking, I am quite surprised. Why don't you deduce where my confidence lies in dealing with the enemies? Fang Yuan naturally knew that Langya Land Spirit's confidence was in the rank 8 immortal GU house refinement cauldron. But afterwards, he pretended to deduce and acted like he was met with difficulty. Eventually, he admitted his failure. I cannot deduce it, honestly speaking, in the past, I have tried to deduce Langya Blessed Land, but I had no gains. Now is no exception. Ha ha ha, Langya Land Spirit laughed loudly, he patted Fang Yuan's shoulder proudly, but did not say much. An immortal GU house could attack and defend, so could the rank 8 refinement cauldron. Defensive methods were not just against attacks, they could also defend against the deductions of others. Fang Yuan pretended to fail, this was within Langya Land Spirit's expectations. From his point of view, this was natural. No matter how outstanding Fang Yuan was, he only had rank 6 cultivation level, no matter how mystical his immortal GU were, they could not match the rank 8 immortal GU house, refinement cauldron. It is normal for me to fail in deducing it. If I succeed, it would cause Lang Yalan's spirit to become very wary. Fang Yuan smiled coldly internally. Land's spirit were obsessed and pure, but that did not mean they were stupid. Especially when Lang Yalan's spirit's original form was long-hair ancestor, this legendary person had a good friend when he was alive, Immortal Yi Yan, a wisdom path Gu Immortal that created the prophecy of 3 Venerables. He was also a famous person throughout history. Thus, Lang Yalan's spirit was clear about the capabilities of a wisdom path Gu Immortal to a great extent. If Fang Yuan deduced something, it was evidently out of the scope of ability that a rank 6 Gu Immortal had. This would cause Lang Yalan's spirit to become very wary and suspicious. He would think, how could Fang Yuan alone deduce anything? Evidently, he has someone behind him. And this great expert is very powerful. He can breach the defense of my refinement cauldron and deduce my arrangements in the blessed land. Once he thought of that, Lang Yalan's spirit would be very vigilant. He would be on guard against Fang Yuan. After all, Lang Yalan's spirit was the obsession of long-hair ancestor. And long-hair ancestor was a hairy man. Towards humans and other variant humans, he had deep wariness. This could be shown from the transformation in personality and manner of speech in Lang Yalan's spirit in Fang Yuan's previous life. The reason why Fang Yuan could get close to Lang Yalan's spirit was mainly because he had obtained a certain inheritance of Thieving Heaven Demon Venerable. Because of his agreement with Thieving Heaven Demon Venerable, Lang Yalan's spirit had to help Fang Yuan refine Gu 3 times. If not for that, how could Fang Yuan, as a human, get so close to Lang Yalan's spirit? Even though Fang Yuan had to refine Star Thought Immortal Gu and all-out effort Immortal Gu, all along, he did not want to waste this final opportunity to refine Gu. That was because he wanted to remain close to Lang Yalan's spirit. Lang Yalan's spirit had lived countless years in this blessed land. His interactions with the outside world, other than the transactions inside Treasure Yellow Heaven, were limited to only Mo Tan Sang. He understood that great wealth would attract the greed of others, thus he had been keeping a low profile. At the same time, he had a natural form of distrust towards other individuals. Fang Yuan was not strong back then, thus Lang Yalan's spirit was not too wary or suspicious of him, but now that he was starting to show extraordinary abilities, Lang Yalan's spirit would naturally be alert and uneasy. How can an outsider be allowed to sleep beside his bed? In the past, Fang Yuan was a white rabbit, but the Fang Yuan who displayed Wisdom Path Grand Master attainment was considered a poisonous snake. Matters developed just like in his previous life. Fang Yuan was arranged to guard a cloud building by Lang Yalan's spirit. But before that, Fang Yuan suggested that they should allow He Lulan and Fairy Li Shan to join the battle. Tai Bai Yun Sheng gave his assurance as well. But Lang Yalan's spirit rejected them. Fang Yuan used a different method to deal with Shui Songzi this time. He did not sneak attack Shui Songzi, instead, he fought him openly. Even though it was a more impressive fight, the result was less of a victory. Fang Yuan only fought with Shui Songzi for a while before Shadow Sect's reinforcements came, and Fang Yuan took the initiative to retreat. There was no benefit in killing Shui Songzi. He had Immortal Gu and Lifespan Gu, but they could not be taken. He might as well let him go, so that he could deal with the Central Continent Gu Immortals next. Fang Yuan had thought of reminding Lang Yalan's spirit and making arrangements earlier, so that Refinement Cauldron could take down the group from Shadow Sect in advance, but after considering it thoroughly, Fang Yuan rejected this idea. First, there was a great risk in dealing with Shadow Sect. Qin Bai Sheng was very powerful. Fang Yuan had no confidence against him. Shadow Sect and Zombie Alliance also had some kind of secret connection. There was more than met the eye. Second, even if Shadow Sect was dealt with, Fang Yuan's gains would not be ideal. Refinement Cauldron would hold the biggest use. If they won, Lang Yalan's spirit would gain most of the loot. Shadow Sect's base, Luopo Valley, would end up in the hands of the Central Continent Gu Immortals. Fang Yuan would get nothing. Third, Fang Yuan needed the Northern Plains Shadow Sect members to resist the Central Continent Gu Immortals. Even though he did not know how the Central Continent Gu Immortals found Shadow Sect while investigating Fang Yuan, this was something he wanted to see. If Shadow Sect was eliminated, Central Continent would have no obstacles. If they found Fang Yuan, what would he do? Finally, Fang Yuan could guess that the mastermind behind the Battle of Yitian Mountain was Shadow Sect because of the Blazing Glory Lightning Brilliance zombie. If they were killed, the influence would be huge. During the Battle of Yitian Mountain, unexpected mishaps would occur. With many mishaps, Fang Yuan's plans would be disrupted, his preparations would be in vain. Thus, Fang Yuan decided to go with the flow for the battle to defend Langya Blessed Land. Altering the result of this battle not only carried big risks, the disadvantages outweighed the advantages. A wise person would not do this. Chapter 980. Joining Langya sect. Damn it, it had to be at this time. Qin Baisheng clenched his fists, looking at the battlefield in front of him. He was filled with discontent and reluctance. Retreat. A moment later, he sighed as he ordered. Why are we retreating? Fairy Zhongyu was shocked. Luopo Valley is being attacked. It's the Central Continent GU Immortals who are investigating the collapse of 88 Truyong building. Qin Baisheng transmitted. How could their investigation lead to us? Unless Heaven's will. Fairy Zhongyu's body shuddered. Heaven's will is vast and grand, that is likely the case, but our action earlier caused too much of a commotion. While making preparations for our ultimate plan, Heaven's will obstructed us. Later, on Yitian Mountain, I wonder how terrifying Heaven's will's obstruction will be. Qin Baisheng sighed. The two conversed at lightning speed. They transmitted their words to each other. No one else heard them. Soon, Qin Baisheng ordered the Shadow Sect members to retreat from Langya Blessed Land. They have retreated. Tai Bai Yunsheng let out a breath. Damn it, he escaped again. He Lulan clenched her fists, gritting her teeth. Fairy Li Shan was silent. She was deeply frowning, her expression of worry. The hairy man GU Immortals first cheered before feeling great sorrow. In this battle, they had made a bloody sacrifice, and even found traitors. Life was hard to predict. With the sad state of life and death in front of them, these hairy man GU Immortals who normally only thought of refining GU were greatly incited. Langya Land Spirit dismantled the ancient battle formation Heavenly Giant Seller. His eyes were bright red. He looked at the direction where Qin Baisheng and the others were leaving harshly. These people really think us hairy men are easy to bully. I will return today's humiliation with bloodshed one day in the future. In this battle, because Fang Yuan did not do much, it was quite similar to his previous life. First, Fang Yuan and the others defended the mortal GU House Cloud buildings, but they were destroyed by Shadow Sect easily, breaking the 12-wave Cloud Confusion formation. Once again, the Inkman GU Immortal was killed by Qin Baisheng rapidly, losing his life. Langya Land Spirit's plan to stall for time was severely disrupted. He had no way out and was pacing around anxiously. In his previous life, during this crucial moment, the Land Spirit transformed. But now, during this period, Fang Yuan gave a suggestion and advised Langya Land Spirit to use an ancient battle formation. When Langya Land Spirit was desperate and at his wit's end, he heard this suggestion and quickly used it. Ancient battle formations were quite different from the currently mainstream battlefield killer moves. The Dao marks in an ancient battle formation were much less harmful to the Blessed Land than battlefield killer moves. Langya Land Spirit was desperate. He could only use Heavenly Giant Seller. At this moment, Fang Yuan suggested again, just the few of us, how can we resist them? We need more people. But Langya Land Spirit was hesitant. He had more than 10 hairy man GU Immortals, but they were hidden and manipulating the rank 8 Immortal GU House Refinement Cauldron. Especially when he somewhat sensed that there were traitors among them. Fang Yuan had anticipated Langya Land Spirit's response. He suggested that he had reliable aid. Langya Land Spirit frowned immediately. He was very wary of outsiders. The less people who knew about the Blessed Land, the better. Fang Yuan smiled and said, Land Spirit, rest assured, how good is our relationship? I can definitely keep a secret for you. We will not expose any information regarding the Blessed Land. You just need to summon them directly into Heavenly Giant Seller, and let them fight. Afterwards, give them appropriate remuneration. Langya Land Spirit did not want to agree, but Qin Baisheng and the others were attacking more fiercely. Even though they used Heavenly Giant Seller, they were still losing slowly. Langya Land Spirit had no choice. He could only accept Fang Yuan's suggestion. This way, Fang Yuan brought He Lulan and Fairy Li Shan into Heavenly Giant Seller and caused this ancient battle formation's power to rise. However, He Cheng controlled the Immortal GU House Dark Prison. He could resist Heavenly Giant Seller. Qin Baisheng's 5-finger fist heart sword was extraordinarily sharp. It caused great harm to Heavenly Giant Seller. The situation was only suppressed for a moment before it turned bad again. Langya Land Spirit was forced to move the hairy man GU Immortals in Refinement Cauldron into Heavenly Giant Seller in batches. In the intense battle, Langya Land Spirit's other self was finally summoned. After sending 3 batches, Qin Baisheng finally got a chance and had the traitors take action, starting to take away Refinement Cauldron. Eventually, he obtained many core Immortal GU from Refinement Cauldron and hurriedly retreated, bringing Shui Songzi as well as the 2 exposed hairy man GU Immortal traitors. After the battle, Fang Yuan handed fixed immortal travel to Tai Bai Yunsheng. asking him to bring He Lulan and Fairy Li Shan away, without staying. This way, he completed a part of the new alliance agreement that they had made earlier. He had provided a chance for He Lulan to kill He Chang. But she did not grasp the opportunity. This did not mean that Fang Yuan failed on his side of the agreement. After the battle, He Lulan and Fairy Li Shan were very curious and suspicious towards this Langya blessed land. But Fang Yuan did not answer them. The alliance agreement did not state that all information had to be shared openly. Since Fang Yuan knew everything now, why would he create problems for himself? He Lulan and Fairy Li Shan felt that Fang Yuan was shrouded in mystery and had a deep background. He could actually be related to such an incredible existence. They could not help but think, was this related to Fang Yuan's master Purple Mountain True Monarch? First, he borrowed attitude Gu, then now, using Langya blessed land, he dealt several blows towards the confidence of He Lulan's side. This made Fang Yuan very confident in dealing with Blazing Heaven Demoness. At the same time, he was slightly setting up for the future, where he might cooperate with He Lulan and the others to capture Langya blessed land. If possible, Fang Yuan wanted to have sole possession over Langya blessed land. But many times, ideas were beautiful, while reality was cruel. This was minor preparation for the future in case Fang Yuan needed it. Langya land spirit turned into his second personality. Like in the previous life, he immediately decided to relocate Langya blessed land after the battle. At the same time, he changed the social system in the blessed land and created Langya sect, inviting Fang Yuan to be an external supreme elder. Fang Yuan agreed. Speaking about the remuneration of joining this battle, Fang Yuan did not ask for the rank 6 Immortal GU recipe of all-out effort GU, instead he sought a request for reinforcements from Langya land spirit. In the future, if Fang Yuan got into a dangerous situation, Langya sect would need to dispatch GU Immortals to save him. This way, Fang Yuan roped all of the Langya blessed land hairy man GU Immortals onto his side. Langya land spirit handed Fang Yuan a sect mission, asking him to go deep into the icy plain and contact the super tribes that the rockmen and snowmen who were deep underground had created. As long as you complete this mission, I will release some Immortal GU recipes to you. As long as you have enough sect contributions, you can use the points to exchange for the Immortal GU recipes that you want. Langya land spirit tempted Fang Yuan. Fang Yuan's thoughts shifted. Can I take a look at these Immortal GU recipes first? Of course. After seeing them, even with Fang Yuan's broad knowledge and experiences, he was tempted. Langya blessed land had dozens of Immortal GU, but the quantity of Immortal GU recipes was something even Fang Yuan couldn't expect. At the very least, Langya land spirit gave Fang Yuan more than 200 recipes to view. Fang Yuan quickly saw some Immortal GU recipes that suited him. He asked, can I choose other missions? But Langya land spirit rejected him. My Langya sect has just been established, there are many things waiting to be done, of course many missions are available. But this mission is the most dangerous, thus it is given to you. If you die, so be it, I will not feel any heartache. The hairy man GU Immortals cannot die so easily, they are one of our true members. Langya land spirit only spoke the truth. Fang Yuan did not know whether to laugh or cry, but he feel at ease internally. But don't you worry, I aim to create an era of hairy men, the assistance of you and other species are needed. I have a transformation path method to turn your human body into a hairy man. When you become a true hairy man, I will open up the Immortal GU storage and allow you to exchange for Immortal GU or borrow Immortal GU using contribution points. Ha ha ha. Langya land spirit patted Fang Yuan's shoulder, encouraging him. This encouragement was extremely straightforward. But Fang Yuan did not care. The first question he had considered was whether he could use familiar face to turn into a hairy man and deceive Langya land spirit. But soon, he gave up on that idea. Not only was the familiar face that he had now an incomplete copy, the original familiar face came from Langya land spirit himself. Even though he was straightforward, he was not stupid. As for turning into a real hairy man, I will not consider it. Humans are the true masters of this world. It has been like this since the remote antiquity era. This is the direction the world is going, how can it be easily turned around? Back then, even long-hair ancestor had to hide and conceal his own identity. Right now, he is only a land spirit, what can he accomplish? HMPH, simply wishful thinking. Fang Yuan did not think well of Langya sect's prospects. In the 500 years of his previous life, Langya sect was taken down by Heavenly Court, this was the eventual outcome of Langya blessed land. Even if the future changes, and it is not Heavenly Court, it could also be other GU Immortal forces. Humans were the rulers, the status of variant humans would not change. Fang Yuan's plan, from start to finish, was to extract benefits from Langya land spirit. Langya land spirit turning into his second personality carried greater benefits for Fang Yuan than losses. At least right now, for Fang Yuan, there were greater gains. The original Langya land spirit was conservative, he would not create Langya sect, or invite Fang Yuan to be an external supreme elder, he would also not agree to assist Fang Yuan when he was in danger. After the battle to defend Langya blessed land ended, the 100 days battle in Luopo Valley commenced gradually. Fang Yuan returned to Immortal blessed land, resting as he created a large number of Dream Path Mortal GU. At the same time, he amassed a huge amount of GU refinement Immortal materials to make preparations for refining Immortal GU. A month later, he collected all of the spring dream fruits, refining a large number of Dream Path Mortal GU, the number was higher than in his previous life. 2 months later, Tai Bai Yunsheng had settled the relationships on the other side as Fang Yuan used the Earth Tide as an opportunity to enter Eastern Sea.